You know what? Fuck it. We'll do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Thing sucks. Anyway, yeah, I'm just catching up on the morning shenanigans. So let's run it. Just catching up. Peace and blessings to everybody. TGIF. Let's go.
And nobody to do it with. And that's not by choice. That's by cause and effect. You want to be on the plane with Antoine, running all over here and running there. I really don't. I'm not motivated by it. I probably have to push myself to go, I got to go to the airport now, deal with a bunch of fuck slaves, get suckered out of a fucking ticket fee, deal with extra fees for bullshit, and then have to run around and talk to a whole bunch more slaves who want to just grift and play corporate games and never really get down to changing something. So I'd have to like fucking pull my ass up and get motivated to do that shit. You're like dying to be on that train and that type of life and lifestyle, right? That shit scares me or concerns me or bores me. You're like fucking lusting after that shit. And that's why you're a fucking infidel reprobate, and I can feel it all over you, right? I know you're so motivated and ambitious to do and be something you've either done and been before or felt like that or never done and been before. And I don't want motherfuckers like that around me. I want folks who are around me for the love of the game. They don't even wake up or get motivated until it's something otherworldly or metaphysical. All that other shit that motivates you, that's why you don't get to it, because you got no true purpose and meaning and drive. And you still don't get what true success is and what makes it long term. See, I got that quality at this point. I've cultivated it in a certain arena, so it'll be there until it's not, right? You have to try to find some way, some mechanism, and it just never works. Some idea, some plan, some group, it never works. It's got to be inside of you and almost constant. You got to live it and breathe it and bring it to each venue and make something out of it. You don't got it. It's the X factor. Sorry, I didn't mean to take over OTW, like the Z fellow says. It's the X factor, and you ain't got it.
Smoking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like Howard Stern, bro. They talk about Howard Stern being the best broadcaster ever, and I study him and a lot of other folks who were considered great in that venue. He doesn't sell bullshit products. He doesn't do fuck nut product placements and sell his soul. He did 20 years grinding out of the mud, making $90 a week. Say what you want about him, his content. He's a low life. He's worldly. He doesn't ever get nowhere. I might agree a lot of time, but his ethic can't be denied. His process can't be denied. He said, "I would go home, sit in the fucking room, and wait to do my next broadcast." Sounds a lot like how I live. Right? There's nothing else for me to do. That was his purpose and meaning in his life, and he stuck to it. And he kept doing it from $90 a week to fucking billions. And they were hating on him the whole way, trying to censor him the whole way, trying to grift off him and use him the whole way. And he even had broadcasts saying, everyone around me is using me and grifting and selling bullshit products. Just got here. Because I've been doing this 20 years. I never sold a motherfucking thing because that's my integrity. I wanted to get to something based on who I am and what I love to do. You bitches don't live like that. And that's why he's ultimate successful in his venue. Because regardless of even his morals and his ethics and his psychology, his fucking ethic can't be denied. His consistency can't be denied. His willingness to sacrifice for what he loves to do and his purpose can't be denied. There's your program. Incorporate that with a spiritual faith and an understanding of self, and you're golden. Service is good. That's a big gift.
Wow, I didn't realize that Paulie was live. Shit. So fuck. Damn it.
But you got to work on that. You just work that. You work that and you learn that.
Man, drop some hard bombs there, dude. You're absolutely right. Man, I don't know how you do it, man. This guy's inspired. It's connected directly to the Most High. It's no wonder you're so intense, man. Getting all that information from up there, it's like, comes out like a fucking cannonball.
He's bombing now. I mean, I just have a compassion, right? With passion for truth and for, becoming better and succeeding. Coming from worst as possible as I could see it in myself to actually, liking myself on some level, seeing certain movement, minding my business and getting results. I know there's power there. So I'm like almost desperate to go, hey, I'm going to come here and show who and what I am and live my purpose and meaning and be passionate for truth. And I'm going to give that away. And why you wouldn't listen and try it and take it is beyond me. And I know the reason a lot of times is because I don't have what Antoine has yet. But see, when I do, you already see, once I'm in a conversation, the numbers go up, people start like talking to me again in a different way, dealing in a different way. You just see it, right? So that's part of the problem, is because this is a journey and you don't know Antoine's journey from 10 years ago when he was 34. Like I told him on that thing that day, he goes, "You look broke and poor." I said, "Bro, give me another 10 years, like where you're at. And when I'm 45, we'll have this conversation again. You may not know how that's going to go." I don't think either of us does. But I have faith in what I've seen thus far, right? What if in 10 years I get to whatever the fuck you have, but I get it without selling any products and just voluntary contribution, saving and reinvesting? Dummy. Where's Ian when I need it? Right? I get to sit back and go, fuckface, I own everything I have. I'm debt free. I didn't have to sell a motherfucking thing, including my soul. And I did this on the strength of good faith and truth. I'm like so much better than you. We can play the ego game of who's better. Like, I'm better than you in everything. Well, let's play that game 10 years from now when I'm 45. Because like time is a measure of success and application and understanding and growth and experience. So give me 10 years. We'll have a conversation about who's better than who and for what reasons. Because I got a different metric.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if Scott will still be alive in 10 years when you look. Oh, well, here he is. Hey, Scott, welcome back.
You kicked me off the fucking panel.
No, I didn't.
What are you talking about?
It was StreamYard. I didn't do it, sir. Honestly, I'm not like that. I can ask anyone here. I don't kick you out.
Then I came and sat in back, fucking waited, and then I gave you a countdown and said and then I just went fed mom. You didn't fucking let me back up. What's going on?
That's what I said. When
trashes me, straight up trashes me.
No, sir. When I came,
dude, you can't be a professional.
I don't need to be part of the club.
I had to go feed mom. I was back there, bro. I was back there. I gave you a countdown. How to feed mom. I'm busy.
Paul,
Scott, what is your fucking problem with me?
I said it.
Maybe to the poll. Over 80% of people don't give a fuck what you have to say. Over 80%. That's pretty decent.
You just said that you followed Howard Stern. You've done a bunch of fucking.
No, I didn't say asswipe. I didn't say I followed Howard Stern. I said
more ad hominems.
Turn down if you can't understand that he just has no discernment. I'm giving it to him for free.
That's your way.
I didn't say you are a follower. I don't follow. Did you ever look at my social media? I gave up and everyone else. Hey, asswipe. Hey, asswipe. I gave up millions of followers because usually to get that you got to follow others. That's how the community works. It's an algorithm. All my social media has 0 followers, despite how many people following me. I don't follow anyone. I study life and everything in it. I said I studied the greats in their field. I didn't follow. If I followed, I'd be like them, in which case I'm not. I'm better than them in a lot of ways. I stand for something. See the difference?
If you listen, you might.
I might
Scott,
listen.
I understand
And I
your
might
value.
also not and waste my time and everyone else's again, like you're known to do. So go ahead, let's turn it back up and listen to him and what we're going to learn today.
Let's see why he's mad at me, Paul. I want to know why he's so angry with me.
I've gone out of my way. I've gone out of my way in my life to be first response to disasters. Okay, I've gone out of my way to be a fucking good guy. You're talking
really
about
doesn't
it,
matter.
I have it.
Here we go. I'm not talking about being a good guy. You
All
are.
I
Now.
do
I've
is-
never talked about philanthropic work. I've
You
never
sit
talked
there.
about.
You sit there.
I've
on
never
my
talked about charity work because the scripture even says that you're supposed to do your good works in secret and not really talk about it.
All I did is said I've done it, and I do it again.
Right? Why the fuck are you appealing to everyone's emotions to see you as the man based on your philanthropic anecdotal testimony?
I want to know what you do at all.
All
All you do is sit there and
you're
you're
embarrassing yourself for validation.
Cut off
You are.
followers, you don't
You're
follow
really
anybody.
this desperate. Is that going up past 80% yet?
The
Now
only
he's
thing-
appealing to everyone's
the
emotions
only thing
about
I'm
how
impressed
this
at-
charitable work.
the only-
Learn to have some,
No problem. Oh, thank you for
like, I'm
bringing
in
that up.
perpetual state of victimhood, so just you know, please have some.
Your question for over to you. Of nothing. 80% of 20 people is the corner.
Right, but you don't understand that it's typically, again, how many synchronicities have to line up? You come to me saying you respect my discernment. I say you're a fucking embarrassment in the way you live. To the mama's house.
That's the house I was in. That's not her house. I'm at her house now. So
Do you notice how I just said we're not going to get the story and you won't tell the story because you're
I don't
ashamed?
know.
You're such an expert at law. You just claim civil rights rather than natural rights.
no, the judge said that. The judge said
Oh,
that.
the judge. You mean the administrator expert
Yes,
at law?
exactly.
Right. I got to keep correcting you on your own fucking language because you stand for rights and freedoms and legal lawful. You're a
Well, I
dummy.
know what's going on. I know.
I have a new
Okay,
song.
so
It's called Perpetual
You walk in and
Victimhood.
say, I'm an adult, judge, because he believed you.
Nope. No, I don't, Paul. And I'll be honest with you. The sad thing
I'm a
is
victim.
I came here to
I'm a
look for a
victim.
community of people that could help more with
These
my
guys
family.
No, we don't come here to have a family and to
I
play
don't need a
house.
family. I'd rather see more information
No,
and value than this.
no. You have no community in life because you're a loser failure. We don't come on the
Oh,
metaverse to
that's
create
your
failed
opinion.
life in.
That's
No.
listen, Paul, you're going to be the one sitting alone, either in a trailer or in a
No,
bathroom.
I'm not alone
That's
now.
it.
There's plenty of people who actually want to come see me.
Go ahead.
Does anyone in chat want to come see me today? I'm
They
opening the
won't-
doors.
they
Does anyone
won't
want to come
hang
down
out
for the next
long.
3 days and hang out with old Paulie
Promise.
Boy?
I
Watch how they
promise.
line up just to get a picture of the white gorilla in its enclosure, washroom area.
Man.
They might not even like me or respect me, but
You
they'll
know that's the case. You know that. You're setting them up with the truth. That's the first honest thing you said.
You can pay people right now
That's
down
the
there. They would
first
show up
thing
to you.
you said
Goofy
was
ass.
honest.
They want you out of here. Really?
Really?
So
that's
stop
not-
making false equivalencies on me and you. We're not the same.
No, you're actually
Clearly,
a
we're
fat
not the same.
sloth
You don't get the same
individual.
result.
You're a sloth. You're just you don't
Right,
move.
whatever you say. You're the picture of health and fitness.
No, but I'm the one that even with a broken back will go further than you on any given day. Any given day.
Scott,
that
this
is-
is the kind
that
of thing that makes you laughable, man. Like you're cool and all until you start dropping the names and you start saying dumb shit like this. We know
Wait,
it's not
wait,
true.
wait,
It's not
wait.
true. Okay? It's not.
You don't think it's true that I could outwork Paul even with a fucking
No, I just don't. I don't. I 100% do
That's
not.
nothing. You're not a real good individual to judge anything, though. So
Right,
you
I'm
should
not.
take that
I'm just a
into
business
consideration.
owner, a father. I have multiple.
No, you don't own anything of value. I'm sure.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The one
I'm
they're
just
telling
making
you,
that up.
are you-
So you
business
go from
owner?
asking him if he doesn't believe you don't believe me. He goes, no. Now you start attacking him. So if he would have
Well,
believed you, you wouldn't have attacked him. But when he didn't
the
believe you, you
worst
started
thing
attacking him. You're a fake ass bitch.
Like you, Paul. Not as fake.
I
as you,
don't
Paul.
do that.
You're a
I call
vanilla
people out who
hero.
give me
You are
money.
very fake. You
Bro,
are very
people
fake.
give me money here and I
Oh, yeah,
insult
and
them
you talk about how you don't
Are you
use fiat
kidding?
currency.
I'm so the opposite of
There
me.
is no
I
money.
fuck myself
Hey,
out of money and
Paul,
pussy being
I
real.
thought-
Are you kidding?
I thought you stood for rights, freedom, and principle, and there is no
Scott,
money.
you're
You should know that. There is no
fucking
money.
moron.
Wait, is that a
And
meaning
it's
of exchange
amazing that
you're
you
talking
let
about?
you embarrass yourself
There's
over and
no
over
money,
again.
Paul. Wait, get with the program. There's only debt notes, okay? So you don't have any money. What are you talking about? There's no money. You're lying, aren't you? You're a liar. You don't even want to answer the question because, yeah, you take the fiat currency. You're working for the man. You're saying it's not working because I take the donation.
I'm working for the
Paul,
people, dummy.
Yeah.
How am I working for the man? I'm working for myself and the people directly.
Do
I
you
cut
pay
the
your
man
taxes?
out of it,
Hold
dummy.
on. Do you pay your taxes? Let's pull this up.
You know, you're terrible, dude. You said you could outwork them and you could outdo them and all that
Absolutely.
stuff, and then you start going off the ad hominems and going off the rails, dude. You're derailing the train. What's wrong with you, Scotty?
Moose, you should just stay off the fucking stupid mic. You're dumb.
You
You're
should
literally-
probably stop giving people advice because if anybody wanted to live and
Actually,
be
the
like
person
you,
that
I
gives the
think
most
they would
advice is the guy
probably
that's
do
done
the same.
nothing. Paul has literally done nothing in his life but talk and read, and now he's telling everybody that he has experience. That's the actual opposite of true.
And yet
What
you come here
experience does he have?
sucking up to him, wanting
No,
his
I'm
approval,
listening to the
wanting his
laws, but the
validation,
few
you want his
videos
validation,
you have one
want
success,
approval,
two
you want
failures,
everything from him.
and okay.
And that is why you're a joke, Scotty.
Hey, in your opinion, that makes me seem like a hero because you're such the joke.
No,
So
you
don't
just
fucking
revealed
go
yourself
anywhere with
again that I shouldn't be considered valuable for the content of my character. I have to talk about being with 2 Live Crew for folks to accept me as valuable.
that. That was
You're a
when you
fake
were born. That was when you were born,
Doesn't
bitch.
see the
And
real for the
mind you,
true.
mind
You
you.
see the false for the true and the true for the
No,
false.
no,
Because
why
you're
would I bring that
worldly
up?
and don't know discernment.
Ask yourself a question.
There's
Why
a
would we bring up
reason
two
regular
Live Crew?
people find value in me and what I do. There's a
Ask
reason they don't
yourself-
find it in you.
Hey.
Because you're a fake ass bitch with no content of character. Simple.
Listen, shit for brains. Ask yourself why I bring up Uncle Luke from two Live
Sir,
Crew.
sir, I eclipse you in every
Ask
venue.
yourself-
Intellectually, with
ask
emotional
your-
intelligence, with spiritual prowess. I eclipse you in every venue.
Okay, so rights, freedom,
And body.
hold on. Stop right there. Rights, freedom, and principles. How are you eclipsing me in this conversation right now on rights, freedom, and principles?
I'm not looking to eclipse you.
Yes, you said it. Every venue on everything. So right now, eclipse me. Talking about Uncle
on
Luke.
your own.
Talking about Uncle Luke.
Everybody
Eclipsing
plays
of you happens naturally, except
No, Uncle Luke went to the
because
Supreme
you're like
Court
a
for your
human.
rights.
You walk up the
no
sun.
exception
Oh,
to the
Uncle
rule.
Luke
Oh,
went to the Supreme
no,
Court to fight for
make
your
yourself
rights,
and
for your
everyone
freedom, for your
around look
principles,
like
and you're not even accepting. That's what I'm talking
No,
about.
Luke fought for your bitch ass because
No,
what you couldn't
no,
do.
the
I'm
exclusive-
doing what you won't do because you're a bitch. So I'm fighting for your rights and principles just like he was. You ain't. You're a bitch.
He
So
went-
either I'm your daddy or he's your daddy. Pick one.
Neither. You're
Or you can have two daddies. That's
you're
the new normal.
oh, I thought
You have two
Anton was. You're the one trying to suck Anton's dick. You literally were trying to suck Anton's cock, and you know it.
I'm
You were on your
angry,
knees begging him to
so
let you blow.
angry,
Actually, and then you went on your own
so
stream and you went, oh yeah,
angry.
Anton's
So
giving me the
explain
week in the nod. He'll work with me. He'll work with me.
Explain it.
You did yourself on your own stream. You said he'll work with me. He's just talking to Jack and Scott to get to me. But I'll let him have him. He'll come back. Yes, you did. Word for word.
I didn't.
You sucked his dick.
Why are you
You
talking
still
about
suck it.
that?
You put his. Why? Because you do it all the time. You
You
don't like
went over there after he did.
No.
I'm
You
not
have
gonna
called him
compete
up.
with
You have called him
Fat
up. You have actually put his image on all your things.
I didn't go
last
over.
night.
I
Yes,
didn't
you
go
did.
over.
Twice.
Let me know when you're done repeating.
Why? You don't like filibustering when it happens to you?
No, I talk over you with new information.
No, I'm giving you new information. It's old. You said it yourself. You said you were sucking his dick. Hey, he should get you more viewers.
You're
He should
repeating
get you
what I
looking
said.
nod.
You're talking about. You're repeating what I said. You're
Repeat it.
talking about what you did. You don't
What
see
did
the
I do?
difference. You're repeating what I said.
That's filibustering.
I'm
That's
talking about
filibustering.
what you did.
No,
You don't see the difference.
You literally were sucking Anton's. You're pointing that I was sucking Anton's dick. Not at all. I have no
All
reason
I
to.
said
You're
was
the one
I
trying to
believe
get viewers.
Antoine
You
respects
have
me
the
more than
motive.
the rest of you scum,
You
which
have
is
the
very
motive.
much.
You have the
And he
motive.
sees
You
something
want to.
and
That's
he
why you're
says,
defensive now.
and
Don't
he
be
can't.
defensive.
Why
Don't be defensive.
are you competing over
It's
Antoine
not
anyway?
competition.
I didn't go to his platform
Yes,
to
you
suck
did.
his balls.
Yes,
No, I
you did.
didn't.
Well, bet anybody can
You're an
look and see what
insane
it is.
person. You're
No,
a fat,
because
insane slave.
now, as I'm going to
You
attack, I'm a fat
you
person.
just
Call me
staged
fat.
it, and it
How
doesn't
much
make
do
any
you weigh?
sense.
Well, how much do you weigh? North of 400? Because I'm south of 400.
Let's look at us on camera. Do I look like I'm as obese as you?
Yeah,
Do I
stand
look
up,
like
stand
I'm
up,
as
stand up. Come on,
obese?
stand up.
Daddy loves you.
Stand up,
Daddy
stand
loves
up,
you
back
so
up.
very
Stand up,
much.
back up.
Daddy loves you.
Stand up, back up.
Yes,
Billy,
Daddy
you're
loves
afraid to
you.
go.
Daddy
You're
loves you.
fucking pear shaped.
Daddy really
You
loves
go like
you.
a pear. You stand down like a giant ape.
Daddy loves
Right.
you.
You baboon.
So you're the picture of health.
You're the one claiming that he can't stand up. Smoke another one. You can't move, can you?
Right.
You won't. Obviously, you're afraid to.
Well,
It's
just 'cause I
called
won't doesn't
slave.
mean I
No, it's
can't.
called slave to his body. You're the
Right.
slave one.
Right.
Unslave is a slave to his own fucking chair.
Anything else?
No, this is the truth. Are you just going to sit and take it?
No,
It's the
because
truth.
I will
You're
jump out of my
pointing-
chair like a hoe and try to prove something.
Because
When
you're
you're just
pointing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna come out and say it. It looks like OTW's got a fucking nice car there, man. A nice whip. What you driving there, OTW? I think he said it before, Mini Cooper or something. I gotta find out again.
You're pointing the fingers at
I'm
me when
what?
they are pointing back at you.
So because you
Go
jumped
ahead.
out of the chair and almost fell, embarrassing yourself without
Yeah,
grotesque.
I've got a broken
I'm
back
mad
and
because
didn't
I won't
fall.
jump out of the chair and try to
Didn't fall.
prove something of who's prettier, who's less obese.
No, you're the
You're a
pretty one.
fucking
Remember,
fucking embarrassment.
hey, the only reason that you're prettier than O'Shea from your stream the other night is because he drinks piss. That would make anybody win on that one. Okay, the guy's a little bit strange, and you like to fucking take advantage of people and show their weaknesses to make you look strong. But you sit in your corner of nowhere, and you're not that strong. You're a weak-minded individual who wants to poke fun at people rather than learning about them before you do so. If you learned about me, you have no reason to poke fun at me.
I don't want to learn about you.
That's
why
the point.
he does
You
what he
judge
does.
everyone right off the bat.
No,
when they're
I
threatening
didn't
you.
judge.
As
I
soon
don't
as
want to
somebody says
learn more
threat to
about
you,
you. I've seen
because
enough.
I'm a threat. I'm a threat to you. That's the point. Absolutely. Because I'm going to expose you for having done nothing. You've done nothing. Gone nowhere because you have 1,000 people watching you in a week. You think you've gone somewhere.
So now you're
actually
actually
done
taking on a purpose like Illuminati and all the other
No,
nuts.
there's no purpose. You put my image all over the place. When I make a mistake, click the button because
So-
you're a dysfunctional miscreant.
So now
Actually,
Legend in his own mind with Uncle Luke and Bustin' Nut says I'm afraid of him because he's going to repeat
dude,
the
I
same
can show
narrative.
you pictures of hundreds
He's
of
going to repeat the same narrative
Oh
that
my
every
God.
other nut has been repeating
Hey,
for months
you
and
were
years.
just talking about. You were just
Now
talking
you're so
about
powerful and
that picture.
threatening.
That picture of me
You're
standing in
getting
front
out
of
of the chair and you're so powerful and
You
threatening.
can't get out of your chair.
I chose not to. Doesn't
No,
mean
it's
I
not. You
can't.
chose not to. You don't have a choice to get out of it. You're afraid. You're afraid. You're afraid to get fear. Hey, you need to go listen to Jack and live without fear. Stand up. You need to live without fear. Stand up. Live without fear.
I'm not
Love without fear.
saying
By the way, I was on that stream. I was on that stream where Love Without Fear came up organically. You didn't give it to him. You didn't give him Love Without Fear. He didn't steal Love Without Fear from you. You're a liar.
Yeah, I'm doing a broadcast with you, and I'm not jumping out of the seat to prove that you're more obese than I am. It's
You're
obvious
calling
from the
Jack.
neck
Am I
up.
muted?
It's obvious from the neck up and from the chest up you're more obese than I am. Only you don't see it. So
Am I
why would I
muted?
jump out of the chair to prove what's already proven? You saw
Oh,
your
Chevy, am I muted here? I'm gonna find out. Right.
Jennifer sees me naked every single day, and she says, you know, you're a bit heavy in certain areas, but Scott looked like my 600-pound life. So, you know, maybe she's just trying to pad my ego. But I don't need to jump out of the chair to prove what's already proven. It's bizarre. You're trying to unprove what's already proven, and it's not working. You're embarrassing yourself.
Paul, you have a dicky do.
You're trying to
out further than you
I have a dicky do. At least someone will suck it. So
Yeah,
I can take whatever you got going on.
Paul, you think that everybody's wife and girlfriend's going to go with you, but get it 34 year with a 54-year-old woman.
I don't
Man,
understand, sir.
anybody-
You're not getting how this works. I have multiple offers for women who want to entertain
Nobody
me.
would entertain you, Paul. You just are amusing yourself thinking that this two-dimensional image you're
Would you like
portraying.
to take a vote right now?
It's
Or
not, dude, you can't fucking go into.
would you like to take a vote right
Nobody
now?
knows you. Nobody
you
knows
like-
you in this stream.
Would you like to take
It's irrelevant.
a
It's
fat
an irrelevant vote. What does that show?
loser failure
No, that would be yourself. Top square middle.
No.
Yeah. Top square middle.
Sure,
Loser failure. Look, haven't gotten out of your fucking room in how long? How long does it take you to get to the bathroom? How long does it take you to get up and go to the bathroom? And do you need help?
So let's take a vote.
Do you need help going to take a piss? So you can move your belt out of the way.
So let's take a vote. Who wants Paulie to stop by in a town near them and entertain them in various ways? Maybe
Let's say. How about
and I have a dicky do, whatever that means.
That's where your belly sticks out further than your dicky do.
So
That's
I
where your
have
belly sticks out further than your
how
dicky
many
do.
women want Paulie to stop by in your town near them and entertain them in various ways?
And show them their
then
dicky do.
one for that, press one for that, and two for the Scott person. Right?
Paul, here's the dream that you have: is that these imaginary friends you have
Oh,
are
and
real.
put your age. And
Are
put
they
your age.
real? Paul,
Put
you
one
think these friends?
for me and your age next to it, because, you know, Jennifer's 50. They all keep attacking her because she's in my life and I respect her and she respects me. And we have mutual levels of enjoyment and attraction and experience. But go ahead, put one for me and your age,
Hey.
you know, so we can see if we can get someone who's not old. Like, you know, Scott's a spring chicken, of course. And he's
I
very
have to
valuable.
go, Paul. You won't answer any of the hard questions like
Right,
that.
and put two for Scott, please, if you may.
We'll see you
There's
later. You guys
one-
say,
No,
if
hold
you're
on,
real-
hold
if
on,
you're
Scott. No,
real-
Scott, are you running? Are you running?
Let's not
No,
run.
the votes. No, the votes.
You don't listen to
No,
Paul.
no.
Why am I going to sit here? Paul, yeah.
a cowardly slave with a fat mouth.
That's your narrative, but you won't talk.
Just like
You
you
won't
said, you're
listen.
going to beat me up too, Scott.
I said what?
You said
I'm
in
gonna
one of these broadcasts, if I was in a room, you're going to do something to me.
If you were anywhere near me, I'd wrap
you
you
out
up
of the fucking chair.
into fucking oblivion.
Beat me up, out fuck me, out court women.
I'd take it out of the chair.
You're better than me at everything, Scott, but the report back is you're a loser failure from everyone who's observing. So there's at least 2 or 3 women down there who are not over 30 who said they would prefer me stop by and entertain them.
Oh, when you lose the boy,
And
when you
there's
lose the
no
boy,
conditions either. They're not going to say that I only can entertain them and no one else like
when
you.
you lose the boy, you become a man. When you lose the boy, hey, trust me, and you'll
Scott, when you actually shut up and don't ruin the broadcast.
I'm just trying to help you. When you lose the boy, you'll become a man.
Hey, Scott, do you take opiates?
I have to go. I'm not going to entertain any more of this fucking function bullshit.
There you go.
Yeah,
You have one
You're
opiate addicted little bitch.
Run away.
Nobody, a bunch of nobodies think that there's
Look at
somebody.
that slave go running.
Hey, broken back
running,
little bitch.
running. Look at that slave go running. Running, run
No,
away.
I'm right here and you won't answer a single
That's
question.
like Harvey Weinstein.
How am I running? What have you done? Tell me a list of accomplishments. Give me three. Give me three accomplishments.
Just wheel the chair out.
Three accomplishments,
You
Paul.
can't run. Hey, let's have a
Can you
foot
spell
race.
accomplishment?
Let's
Can you
have a
spell
foot race.
accomplishment?
The only one on here
Manic
is
eyes from his
sure I can beat in a foot race because you're so grotesque. So let's meet.
All right, let me see some of the ZShow now. This is fucking insanity.
We're not really worried about the BMI. Like, you know. But yeah, I mean, moral of the story is, Patrick, OTW, is it do whatever you want, dude. It's fine. It's fine. I really don't care, honestly, man. Doesn't have to be like, you know. But yeah, I mean, moral of the story is, Patrick, OTW, is it do whatever you want, dude. It's fine. It's fine. I really don't care, honestly, man. I actually enjoy the challenge, dude. It's not a big deal. But we don't have to go through this whole thing. But we can explore it. We're here this morning. We can explore it. What's up, Rob Cleveland? I see you. I'm going to let Patrick up, Rob. Just chill for a little bit, man. Welcome to the stream, OTW. Yeah. OTW News in the house.
Yeah, sorry, man. I wasn't ready. I should have been better prepared. Click the link.
So what's up?
Fast.
What's up? Where do you want to go with this? Where do you want to go with it? Yesterday, you were trying to negotiate time.
Yeah, I was yesterday.
Right? You tried to negotiate time on my show. Like, you tried to throw that in some type of, like, you know, like, let's make a deal. All right, Z, I'll go after you. But I see the predicament you're in now because I saw the InAThoughtExperiment scheduled his show for 7 a.m. But I saw Paul left a comment and he said, push it back. I'm fucking not going to wake up 5 in the morning. Which basically I get you, Pat, because we're all gonna have to stream over somebody. I get it, which is fine. But my point was, you and I can't have this like super cozy relationship if you're gonna stream on top of me. That's the whole gist of the story, bro. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. Moose is here too. I'm gonna bring him up.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Moose, welcome to the stream.
Hey, I just wanted to say, for people out there that think I have a problem with you, I don't. I think you're actually funny when you make fun of me. That's the thing that I respect about you is you know how to do it in such a way that there is some truth behind a lot of the things you say, most of them. But when Brian O'Shea does it or other people do it, it's not funny. It's like we're sitting here in a room with just me and you, right? And okay, that's funny for us, but everybody that's watching the show is thinking like, what the fuck is going on? So yeah, I don't have a problem with you. I think you're hilarious. You can keep doing whatever you're doing and just know that I'm that enemy that's your best friend. You know, I'm only here to help drum up business, get the drama going, keep people talking about your name. I really have no beef with you guys.
Well, I mean, I'll have to say, Moose, it's hard to disagree with that, dude. Yeah, I really don't have any issues with Moose or really anybody. Patrick, the only issue I have with you is we obviously have a history. You know, you and I have a bit more of a relationship. I have more of a relationship with you than Moose and Yurt, okay, obviously. But the point is, Patrick, it's fine, dude. We're just not going to do this whole thing where I pretend like, you know, I'm going to let you on. It's not how I work, man. It really isn't. It's not the vibe I'm going for with you. Go ahead, say something, Patrick. I know you want to.
I'm good, dude. Well, I mean, not the fact that I'm good to say something, just say I'm good with you and whatever happened yesterday. It was good content. I don't know, man. Just like, you know, you do your thing, I do my thing. I think, you know, it should not affect our recent, let's say, understanding, right? Like in our relationship, if you want to call it that.
Dude, you should be doubling down on this right now, OTW. I'm sorry to
shut up, Moose.
You should be doubling
Moose,
down.
No, Moose. Shut up, Moose. You gotta shut up now.
Brother, you got to double down on this. So people have both of your names in their mouth, right? Yesterday, they were
first of all,
Z and Patrick are fighting.
I want to say that I apologize for bursting in here and trying to promote my channel without having to advise you in advance or ask permission first. That's
come from a weak spot.
That's not coming from a weak spot. I'm coming from a spot
Hold on. Let's come on. I don't want to scream at each other. I'll just fucking get rid of everybody and start just reading fucking nursery rhymes to people. This is where I am, guys. I really don't fucking care.
No, it's cool. I can behave.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just pointing. Once you can scream and I can throw you out. It's just a whole fucking thing. We all just do what we want. We gotta stop acting like victims. You know, this victim mentality. It's really stupid. It's just dumb.
Well,
anyway.
Your issue is the fact that I came and I promoted before I went live. So I come and I'm responding to that.
He's literally giving you shit, though. No, he's giving you shit, brother.
All right, you gotta understand something. I have in my mind, I don't know why, and I don't know how to explain this, but I have like this kind of relationship with Zetetic where it reminds me of the relationship I had with one of my friends for 30 years, right? We could punch each other in the head, and the next day we fucking go out to the bar together and have fun. You know what I'm saying? Like so I'm perceiving the relationship I have with Zetetic as like we'll fight sometimes, we'll argue, we might not agree on things, but I don't believe that.
Patrick, but you're telling yourself a story, dude.
Maybe I am. I'm making a strong.
You're just making a fucking narrative in your head. That's it. Where's Talcott? Moose, this is where Talcott has his wisdom. When he tells us to get out of our imaginations, that's Talcott's claim to fame, man. He should just write that fucking for the rest of his career. Get out of our imaginations. It's a story that we're all writing in our heads. Patrick, you just made a whole story about meeting you up. I'm not saying either way. The point is, that what you just said is really just an illusion, dude. Doesn't really, it's not a real relation
exists in my mind, but I'm allowed to, you know.
You're allowed to, but this is the Brian O'Shea thing.
Events. No, I'm allowed to correlate
people
events.
People in the crowd don't care about this part. Let's do this in private. You know what I mean? I'm not bashing at you. I'm just saying the reason why I bring this up is because there's people watching. People want to be entertained. They want to learn something. They don't care about your personal like feelings and stuff. You guys could be totally cool and and totally assholes to each other.
I believe that the people that watch are people that it's like watching a TV show and you
get
attached to
You're not hearing me, brother. I support you. You're in your feelings right now. You're not getting the whole picture. This is a broad spectrum.
I'm pretty sure. I would imagine that. some of the audience
Hold
is
on,
also
don't get
personal
pissed
life.
off. I'm gonna start shuffling people around. Here's the thing, Moose. Patrick, don't get pissed off. All right, just chill out for a second. You know, on my show, I don't like raising my voice. I don't want to do that. There's a meta thing to it. Moose, here's the thing. When I look at me and I look at Patrick, we're two different entities. You even said it at OTW yesterday, dude. You're more of like the producer of your show, right? You like to kind of do your thing. You're, you know, almost like a ringleader. You bring people in. You do your Royal Rumble, whatever. That's your flavor, dude. That's not my flavor, dude. I'm more of like, for lack of a better term, a performance artist here. You know what I'm saying, dude? I'm on a stage with a light on me. That's why I sit so close to the camera. And this is about me. This is on my head. I'm creating something here. So people find value in it. If they don't have to be here. That's not your thing, Pat. So we're really not in competition. It doesn't fucking matter to me. As far as Moose goes, he's gonna do. I don't see, when I look at Yurt and Moose, to me, we're not like in the same, let's say, genre. Moose and fucking Yurt aren't going to talk about flat Earth, Mandela effect. They're not going to really be on this consciousness. There's going to be crossovers and stuff. Looks like Yurt wants to do more of like news, philosophy, and shit. Cool, go do that, man. We're not all the same. This is stupid. This is stupid. Moose, give us a couple words. I'm going to shuffle you out, Moose. You can come back if you want, but I want to talk to Rob a little bit. It's good talking to you, Moose. You there, bro?
Yeah, what's happening?
He just put himself. I think Moose just put himself in the back. Rob Cleveland. Which is people like the drama and stuff. What I'm trying to avoid, Rob, is like this is about me, dude. Like what I don't want. I'm building a muscle here. Like I don't want to, because there's a tendency to fall back into the drama because you can kind of go in cruise control with it. But to me, it's a vibe thing, dude. What do you see with this whole situation? Do you care to comment on it, or should I just fucking move on?
Well, the only thing I really wanted to say is I think I would suspect that at least some of the audience is interested in some of the personal aspects of content creators, quote unquote, lives.
Right.
Instead of putting this on in private, air it out, and part of the content, right?
I think just it's two sides of the coin. You have OTW basically saying on one side of the spectrum, no, let's all get it out there. Let's bring it to this total complete place of wherever it goes, in a sense. Where Moose has a more structured mindset. So let's put on a fucking show. It doesn't have to be, they're both probably right in some ways, but let's bring back OTW. I don't want them to feel a certain way.
Z, I just wanted to say I'm good with what you said, and like I said before Moose was interrupting me and saying that I should double down, I still stand on my apology, man, and I won't do any promoting anymore without your permission, obviously.
No, it's not what it's about, dude. It's not
that's
about.
What you said it was about. That's
Look,
what you told me. Well, that's what you said to the audience before you let me up, sir. So I'm responding to that.
The promotion thing is just.
You said that's the only issue I have with you, Patrick. So if that's the only
issue,
it
is, dude. It is. Let me ask you. What was your thought process yesterday when you basically said, you didn't like how you're basically treated on my show?
Yeah, okay. I was in my feelers, and I can see the fact that it's your show. You can do it what the hell you want with it, man. It's like I understand that, dude. I still my feelers though. It's like sometimes my feelings go the opposite way of my logic, right? It's just strange how that works, but it does. Well. So I could be very logical. Maybe you're right. Maybe I do have a double personality or something. But sometimes I'm in my feelers, so the logic just goes out the window. There is no more logic. Don't ask me to be rational when I'm in my feelers. That's not gonna happen, right? So that's all. That's why I went out on you yesterday. But today I'm good, man. It's a new day. I say like Jack Talcott. It's a new day. Let's all be brothers.
Right.
And love each other.
Patrick, if I say, okay, you and I basically right now, and I just say, all right, Patrick, it's nice talking to you this morning. Go take it easy. You're gonna feel some type of way about it. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna feel as though that I'm in some way, I don't know, mistreating you, abandoning you, or whatever, man. You got it. Go ahead, feel how you want, dude. But it's not gonna be like that. You even comment. You said, "Oh, you keep Rob Cleveland up all the time."
It's jealousy.
All right, it's a vibe thing, dude. I keep Rob Cleveland up.
I was jealous.
Right. Rob Cleveland has a vibe. Rob Cleveland has a vibe on my show that works for me. There's a resonance there. See, it's an energy thing, Patrick. There's a resonance. There's a harmony. You know about music, dude. Chords, harmony, the whole fucking nine, dude. So when Rob's up here, it feels natural. It's part of the experience I want to create. That might change. Next week, I might have a different vibe. But my point is, dude, that's what I'm going to go with is the resonance. No matter what. Don't feel certain. Feel however you want, but it's not going to really affect what I do here, man.
It's not personal. That's what you're saying.
I'm really not interested. Because the point is, all right, so right now there's 50 people here. Who cares? Maybe in an hour there's 80, maybe in an hour there's 20 or 0. But I'm still going to keep going and work through it. So say you go on, half my audience goes to you, they never come back and watch me. At this point, I really don't care because I'm not existing from a scarcity mindset. Because I've already seen my journey here. I already know that I have a certain energy that certain people tend to resonate with. So I've already demonstrated to myself that I can do this. Now it's just about doing it. Right? So wherever it goes from here, it's going to be what it's going to be. So you could do your thing or, whatever it's going to be, man. But, again, I'm not going to give you fucking notes on how to run your channel, your show. We're completely different broadcasters, dude. We're completely different. You're opening up panels for 5, 6, 7 hours and bring people in. So you're going to stream over people. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to bring your energy into my show when you're doing that. All right, OTW, don't get fucking pissed off, dude. I want to fucking move on, dude. It doesn't mean I hate you. Look, I'll say this in front of my crowd. I said it in front of your crowd yesterday. I respect you as somebody who is a truth seeker. All right. There's going to be a mutual level of respect there. I think there's a mutual level of respect. All right. So it doesn't, whatever. I want to OTW. I want to fuck a lot of people. I don't want to just be like in some monogamous or even some committed relationship with OTW. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you and I, we get together. We have
the polyamory game with
right. I know this is gross. Like Razvan's here. He's probably going to take this to some way and say, oh look, Z's basically gay. Right. Then I'm going against the Bible. Z said he wants to fuck. No, what I'm saying is basically, I'm keeping my options open at this point. So that's just the way it's going to be. Anyway, Patrick, much respect, dude. Much respect, dude.
No worries.
Go ahead. I'm going to bring Moose is still back here. I'm going to bring Moose up for some less.
What's going on? Hey, Patrick, I just want to be clear. dude. It's all in love, and I'm
Hold on,
telling
I'm
you
letting him down. Don't be mad, Patrick. Go ahead, say your thing, Patrick.
Okay, it's all in love, man. It's and Z, that's the thing you were saying is you're coming from a place where it's not a scarcity mindset, it's abundance mindset. There's tons of people out there. Some people are going to resonate with Z, some people are going to resonate with Patrick, some people are going to resonate with Jack Talcott, and that might throw people for a loop out there. But the thing is we can all work together in a way that benefits everyone without hurting each other and without getting your feelings hurt. You want to be a broadcaster, Patrick. You want to be here every single day, and I'm here promoting you. But I'm also telling you to stop getting your feelings online, because as your fake producer, it is in your best interest to not show those feelings of jealousy, to show those feelings of envy. When I show feelings of jealousy, like, Z's, the new second man or whatever for Paul, that is all for show. That's all to drum up the people in the crowd, to get people to talk about us more. So you got to understand that when I'm coming at you, I'm interrupting you because I don't want you to say something stupid that you're going to regret later. Anyways,
You don't think it's good for people to see like the raw stuff coming from people?
I do think that the truth is the most beautiful thing in the world, right? To me, sometimes it's scary, but at the same time, we're here doing an entertainment broadcast, right? He's here to try to make a living. Do you think Howard Stern or any other professional that does broadcasting would let themselves get shown like that on the air, unless they specifically knew exactly what the consequences were going to be? Everything is planned out. Everything is calculated risks, and that's
I hear you. Good point. Touche.
Moose, what are your goals, man? We don't have to talk about your goals in life, whatever, but we all have different motivations for being here, right? Presenting ourselves. Like I said, I realize more and more my goal for being here is to express myself in a creative way. For me, Moose, that's the only way I could come to some resolution with the process, where I can come here without being resentful. A lot of that, Moose, is me, like somebody was mentioning earlier, monetizing in some ways. Not so much with YouTube views. I'm more interested in, almost like Paul does, you create the cash apps, people donate if they want it, whatever. So to me, that's helping me come to some state of functionality with this whole process. It has to be a creative endeavor for me, or else I just won't do it, man. That's sort of my motivation, at least now. What brings you here, man? Is it through the camaraderie? Is it some sense of like I don't know, expressing yourself, dude? What's your motive for coming here, being on Paul's show, coming here this morning, dude? What brings you here for this? Because dude, you're putting yourself out here, dude. People get dox you, people get pissed. There's the other flip side of the coin where people get psycho, man. So go ahead, man. Pushers.
Yeah, I came here specifically because I saw I posted in your comment section because I saw your energy was kind of low today, and I get your presentation. It's totally calculated, but I like to see the fire, dude. I love to see you on your game, in your flow state, saying things that come out of your heart, out of your mind. I come on the metaverse for community. I talk to people on a daily basis. I do business with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. There's a lot of people in the world that have their eyes closed. I come here to try to find a place where I can try to be myself. There's a lot of times where I play a character, but there's also a lot of truth in these characters. Every single character I play, whether good or bad, it all is part of me. And I'm trying to utilize my ability to cause chaos for good, because I am very good at causing chaos. I'm very good at trolling people. I'm very good at getting in people's heads and stuff. And that's I would say that's a tool of evil, but I would also say that I can possibly utilize it for good. I also want to, I'm a good hype man. I've always been a hype man for my friends. Even though you might not say we're friends, I would say that I would call you a friend over more people on this place, because I can actually trust you. I trust what you say is true. I trust that you are the person that you present yourself as. If we were in a fight, a bar fight or something, I don't think I would look over my shoulder and be like, where the fuck is he? I think you'd be standing there with me. And that's the kind of people I want around me. Not people that want to fight, but people that are willing to stand for something, people that are willing to have conversations, and people that are willing to kind of like to be there for you. Because throughout life, with people without fathers and people without good communities and stuff, you don't have that sense of camaraderie amongst males. You don't have that fighting that you find in these streets. And these arguments that we have, and getting into the deeper issues, dude, like me, like diving into my own psyche and going through all that shit with Paul is actually making me a better man for my community, better man for my wife, better man for my child. There's a lot of like nonsense that goes on here, but I really, truly am here for community. And that's why I keep coming back to your channel. Not to fuck with you, but
I gotta tell you, dude. I gotta tell you, dude. I like that answer, because what you did, you brought it back to yourself and how you feel like you're growing from this process. And to me, that's the greatest motivation anybody can have, man. Is self-growth, and then people can participate or not. So, fuck, Rob. I would say the last couple days and weeks, I've softened my mindset towards Moose, because really, I could choose to listen to him or not. So why would I hold anything against him? And much love, Moose. Appreciate it, dude. Good talking to you this morning.
Much love, brother. And I just want to say one last thing before you throw me out is much like Benton, you just said like you don't have to listen to me, right? Well, Benton utilizes my abilities for either good or chaos too, and he doesn't, he will bring me up, let me do whatever I got to do, and then he'll be like, all right, it's enough of you, go. And I don't mind if you do that. You can utilize my abilities to either enhance your show or get people pissed off. And I don't care. Either way, I want to see you succeed. That's the fucking point. I want to see us all succeed, and keep fucking rocking it, brother. Much love.
Peace, Moose. What do you think, Rob? Rob, you have a pretty good overall understanding of like, a lot of these quote unquote communities and what they're all about. I just think this, dude, everybody's here looking for different things, man. So what else is there to do? Just present yourself, present your content, and let the chips fall where they may. Who fucking cares, guys? This is stupid. Go ahead, Rob. What are your thoughts, dude?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much just nailed it on the head right there. I mean, this is only like a little aspect of our lives. This isn't our entire life. Just a little aspect of it. That's it.
Yeah, man. To me, I had to make this a selfish process. I just had to. I'm not really. I'll just say it like this: if one believes in what they stand on, if they believe in their own abilities, if they believe in their own journey, if they realize the work they put in to basically mold themselves, if somebody realizes those things, it helps you get to a point where you achieve some level of, let's say, I don't know, it's almost a respect for yourself. It's like I said, it's a you thing. I just keep coming. It has to be a creative process here. It has to. my favorite shows are the ones where I'm actually enjoying myself. That's what I'm just going to do from here on out. It's like yesterday. Unexpected things happen. We had a contest that was silly and fun. But through that process, I got to interview Flatman X for like 20 minutes at the end of the show. We're going to talk about some cool stuff. See, Rob, if I came on here and I just put, in the title, topic for today, flat earth, consciousness, are the cosmos, are the heavens the actual abyss of hell? It just wouldn't have materialized in the same way. The content wouldn't have been as valuable or as good in my book. So the point is, I went with the idea, right off the cuff, to have this stupid contest. It was fun for me. It was fun for the listeners, many of them. And then through some strange alchemy, I was able to meet Flatman X, a guy who I'm a fan of in some ways, and I admire his work. And now at some point in the future, we can co-create. We met. See what I'm saying? I didn't set out to meet Flatman X. I didn't go into his, inbox and say, hey, let's schedule a fucking interview. It just happened naturally, dude. And that's, to me, that's the beauty of this whole process. You never know, man. And since I've come online, that's always been my journey. I came online just talking. I wanted to express myself. My very first video, which I took down, because I was like so nervous, my voice was like cracking and stuff. My very first video I ever did for YouTube, I said, the only thing I can give you that's original is my perspective. I can't sit here and say I really know anything, or I'm going to give you some key, or be some sut guru for you. But I have something that nobody else in the world has, and that's my individual perspective. And all I can do is share it with you. I think that's what any artist does, right? So the next thing you know, I came out, all of a sudden, I'm having conversations with all kinds of people who I respect and I enjoy, man. It's not like I had some conscious intention to talk to, like, say, a Martin Lika, a Brian Stavely, a Paul Unslaved, an Austin from the Melodome, my friend Trinity Dave. These are people who I respect their work, I didn't get online with some conscious intention to bring it there. It's just where my path brought me. So wherever my path brings me from here, it's going to be what it is, Like my next guest I'm going to bring up. I never thought that I would meet the likes of somebody like London Man, but through my journey in this process, we've crossed paths. We could resonate on a certain level, right? It could be, as he's creating his process and I'm creating mine, we can in some way intercess with some type of co-creative process called collaboration. It doesn't have to be any more than that. With that, let's welcome London Man. London Man, welcome back to the stream, homie.
Peace, peace. How we doing, guys?
What's up, homie? So London Man, this is the first time you're on since the contest yesterday. You were kind of bouncing around in the chat, so I'm assuming you heard at least most of it. How did you feel about the contest in general, the tournament, Rob's resounding victory, and basically your performance in the contest? You lost your match by 1 vote, I think I recall. So, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was fun to watch, to be honest. It was fun to listen to. I had to be a part of. First of all, salute to that. It was something different, To be honest, I had something like this in mind a few months back, but I didn't, follow through with it. So when you actually follow through with it, I was smiling inside, bro. That was quite funny, actually. I was smiling inside, I must admit. So salute to you. That's dope. I like that. Yeah, that was very dope. As it's formed, the other stuff that you see with your fellas, as you put it. It's weird to watch a lot of things unfold in real time. With grown men, fighting over slots and just the meaningless bickering over things that really should not be here on this platform, especially within the community. It's crazy that I see you guys calling yourself communities, but nothing seems to be get finished. Nothing seems to get resolved. So I've learned it from a few months back that to take myself out of the community, that's the way I can go forward, right? Because I've heard you say you want to make it about yourself. See, you can't make it about yourself and be in a community, see, right? You're always going to go your separate ways. Nothing's going to get completed when you're in a community. When you're just with you and maybe 1 or 2 that resonates, it don't have to be a community. It just has to be a circle, right? Just a sort of circle you put your trust in. I put my trust in my co-host and 1 or 2 other people, and we're flourishing. We're reaching our goals that we set out to do, not the community goals, our goals. So you may want to take that into consideration, man. Some of the people that I see, flocking around you, they're not 100 with me, and that's why I like it. I don't have to be 100 with everybody because I'm not here for everybody. I'm just here for those who resonate. So yeah, that's what I want to say on that.
Right on, dude. So I keep going back to the comparison with the different artists and stuff. That's sort of where my consciousness is. Just think of an art community, whether it's musicians or painters, whatever, artists, is that they're expressing themselves, but they have, let's say, colleagues, so to speak, other people, and it kind of keeps us all in check, and it really helps us up our game, So I can see what London Man's doing, and I know what I'm doing, and then, it basically gives me a standard by which I know how I'm performing. It's not about numbers and stuff. That's a part of it. It's a metric we can use, but let's be honest, London Man, some of the biggest content creators, or I should say the most successful, let's look at that Antoine Daniels guy. Antoine Daniels has been on people's been the top of the conversation lately. The guy's got a huge channel, but I'll just put it this way, I wouldn't bring my content to his level in order to gain those subscribers. And that's not a bang on him. It just is what it is. Meaning to say, okay, well, if you told me I can get hundreds of thousands of subscribers, if I presented a certain way, I still wouldn't do it because it would just be, there'd be no pleasure in it for me. I probably wouldn't like myself very much. And he'd probably disagree with me. He probably thinks, I'm sure he feels that his content is, the best representation of him. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it's not worth it for me. Unfortunately, there's certain consequences there. But to me, if you're going to really play the long game, you have to be true to yourself no matter what it is. I don't see any other way around it. It's kind of weird otherwise. And I don't want to make it about OTW, but he even admitted it this morning, Patrick, is you're likely showing us some insecurity that you have within yourself and you're displaying it for us, which is fine. You can probably get content out of it, but I'm not going to take it personal, Patrick. I'm not going to play into it. I'm not doing that. I want to come on here and do my thing and leave. I'm not looking to think about this all day. It's insane. And to do so is probably falling into some type of metaversal trap that I'm really not interested in experiencing. Not at all, man.
Hey Z, let me quickly address something. This body online dude. I want to know when did I beg people to share my content, my bogus content like that.
That's Mitch, dude. He's just gonna be here. Much love, Mitch.
I don't know Mitch.
Love, dude.
I don't know Mitch. You said Mitch like I'm supposed to know Mitch. I don't know these people, bro. I don't pay attention to them. They pay attention to me, obviously. You know, but I don't know these people. I'm not here to get to know these people. I'm just here to do my work and, you know, keep it moving. People who resonate, they resonate. He don't resonate, obviously, because he's saying some shit that don't resonate with me right now. So yeah, it's all love. It's all love.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm trying not to ban people. Plus, with Mitch, it doesn't matter. If you ban him, he just comes back with another sock account. To me, London man, when I look at the chat, I was thinking about this the other day. You remember watching these old plays, these like Shakespearean plays, where they represent, let's say, like the Roman times and the Roman Senate and the emperor. There was always a chorus. You know, that's where the original term chorus came from. You know, hear music and stuff. But there was like this. Let's picture almost like a parliamentary situation, and there'd be like the crowd, and they would shout out and they'd echo certain things. And I see the chat as like chorus, and they're going to throw their voices up. And when I look at somebody like Mitch or somebody who presents like that in the chats, to me, it's just a voice. It's an echo. And then what I do is I observe it, and then I monitor how that information makes me feel. And I look at that because I've realized that any emotions that I have regarding the echo of the chorus really has everything to do with me, myself, my internal space, where I am, and really nothing to do with them, because it's just information that they're presenting, whether it's through speech or through the written word, and it's just me interpreting their information. If Mitchell and I spoke different languages, he'd be saying all this stuff and it would have no effect on me because I wouldn't be able to understand it. The only reason it's having an effect on me is because I have a commonality in language with Mitch. He's expressing, and I'm able to then receive and process what he's saying. But otherwise, it's just information, you know. So it's a different way of categorizing it. Because I was going through, I was banning people and stuff, and you know, and I still might ban people. If you're causing a huge, like if somebody just came in and was spamming my chat, well, okay, they have to get banned. But I don't know. That's just where I am with it, dude. You know, I'm speaking for me. London man, I think whoever that was in chat, I'm pretty sure that said Mitch. I think he was talking to me. I'm not sure he was referencing you, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's referencing me. I'm pretty sure.
So Flow State's here, man. Flow State, dude, you've been active lately. I'll put the link back in. Maybe Flow State wants to come up and talk a little bit. Flow State's been pretty active, yeah, in these streets. You come up and talk Flow State if you want. Yo, Yeti Life, what's up, Holmes? But yeah, London man. Here's the thing, dude. Like with your stuff, London man, your content is, let's say, pretty experimental, right? Your thoughts are abstract, and they're some consider them like an alternative viewpoint on this reality. And certain people are going to resonate strongly with your stuff. I don't really see like a crossover between like London man and like your. It's even stupid to think about it like that, guys. It's very limiting. It's almost immature in a way. London man, do you see maturity as a factor here? You know, do you think, are we all playing into basically some social engineering plan? You know, some, let's say, controlled opposition mechanism used to just basically use to keep us in a state where we just sort of rip each other down and destroy each other, do the job for them? I don't know, man. What are your thoughts, dude?
To a certain degree, I hear what you're saying, especially when it comes to the mind itself. You know, what we can accomplish with it. I've noticed, you know, when I do look at some of these movies and read some of these books, especially when it pertains to recycle and coming back to hair, it seems like you know, the smarter people seem to be in a better position, while the trolls and the quote unquote stupid folks just seem to be coming in by the dozens, right? But I wonder if that's like a life thing. Like, you know, if we left this world with half amount of intelligence and you know, thinking outside the box, if we do come back, will we be, you know, a bit more intelligent or wiser than the person who left this realm as a nut, you know, like a Mitch or something that, you know, don't really want to express, you know, their creativity and these things. They might just come back as a troll again, you know, keep coming back as a troll. You know, you are what you eat at the end of the day, right? So if you keep eating that troll diet, you're gonna come back as a troll, right? If you open your mind, you probably come back as a fucking guru or something, you know.
Right on, dude. Right on. You see, Rob, this is the point where like I'm enjoying London man. I like what he brought to the show, and now I'm just feeling the urge that this is a good point to wrap it up with him and move on. London man got to come on, spit his fucking game, you know, whet the appetite for the audience, and now I'm pretty sure London man's going live later today or whatever. Now people can go check him out tonight. They just got a sense of what London man's about. They got his vibe. We created. It was a good experience, and now he's going to do his thing later, and people can go check him out. Right, London man? Am I on the right track or what, dude?
Spot on.
Right on, man. All right, hit us with something. Tell us what you're doing on your channel and stuff before we bid you farewell.
Yeah, bro. The theory that I've been looking into is pretty out there, I must say. But what isn't out there if you don't open your mind? But my research is leading me to see that we could be living in like a crater of some type, and you know, the crater belonging to our eye, right? You know, with all those famous quotes, eye of God, apple of my eye, and all these things. You know, the soul the way to the soul is through the window, right, of the eye, and all these things. I know it sounds out there, but I've got a lot of evidence kind of leading to that direction, especially with the micro and macro world. When I take that into account, it definitely kind of, you know, gives it more legs to stand on. But we've been fed so much narratives to this realm that we live in, and you know, look, there's only two. There's only globe and flat in this whole world that we live in. There's only two narratives to this realm, and we haven't seen none of these things for ourselves other than what we experience. So I've came across some other people, see, that's kind of on the same track as me, and I had no idea they've been doing it a few years ahead of me, and it makes me think I've definitely been on the right track. Then, see, I've never come across these people before, and now they're doing the exact same work as me. So I must be onto something, bro.
Right on, bro. Right on, homie. I'll check you out later, dude. I don't know if I want to pop on or not. I'll just see what kind of headspace I'm in. But if you're live later, I'll definitely be checking in to check your content out as far as popping on the panel. I don't even know if you're having an open panel or whatever, but I'll be checking you out, homie.
No problem. I'll be going over a few things from Martin and Jason. Jason from RKX, a few of their stuff they done the other day. They dropped some good bombs over there, so I'm gonna be
Yeah, dude. You know, people have their different feelings about RKX and even Martin, and they're collaborating right now. And I haven't gotten an opportunity to check out most of their material yet, but I will have to say that two titans of thought, you know what I mean? Two titans of information. People can say what they want about people. I'm not very familiar with RKX content, only to know that I know the basics, you know, simulation, simulacrum, et cetera, et cetera. However, I know Martin's content, and I admire Martin, you know, as much as anybody. And I'm very, very much, let's say, a fan of Martin's content. And I like that he's collaborating with RKX. I think it's great, man. And I think it can only like help people. People, you don't have to watch if you don't want to. And I appreciate you bringing up both of their names. And I agree. You know, a lot of it's fascinating. All right, home slice. You take care of yourself, London man. Much love to you.
Much love to you. Peace out.
Yeah, Rob. About OTW news, man. It just seems like I don't know, Patrick. It seems like what we're witnessing with you at certain times is you expressing your, you know, your internal struggles, man. But to me, it seems almost unbridled, so to speak. You kind of you let it out almost as if you're. It almost seems it's probably a form of catharsis for you, but it seems a bit extreme, a lot of it, and I'm not really sure how much I want to participate with it, only because it's a vibe I'm not really looking to tap into, man.
Are you talking about specifically his the way he operates his channel?
That's part of it, but like anything, dude, I think the way people operate their channel is really a reflection of themselves, man. So when he gets those Royal Rumbles and stuff on, to me, that's just him expressing his internal Royal Rumble, right? And I really mean that, which is fine. I'm sure people love, like certain people are going to resonate to that content. So do your thing, Patrick. But Patrick, you can't expect things from me, dude. Like the whole narrative you said, like, oh, we can fight and we come back together. You just wrote that whole story up in your head, Patrick. It's not really reality, dude. I'm not going to really go along with that in some effort to create an experience with you because I don't agree with it, home slice. You know, so whatever works for you, dude. Whatever works for you, man. Let's have Green Man. Green Man's been in the chat the last couple of days, and just like if I don't know Green Man, you could be anything. You could be a porn bot. You could be Klaus Schwab, sent here undercover to infiltrate the Zetetic Warrior channel. Who knows? You could be anything. Let's you up. Green Man, welcome to the stream. What do you got, Green Man? Hello, knock knock. Green Man, can you hear me?
Hello?
Green Man, you're live. Green Man. Green Man, we have important people listening right now. Yes. Flow states here.
We heard doors opening and closing. We heard all that.
Yeah. You're making me look bad, Green Man. Dead air is not really the best ingredient for success here when you have like a broadcast. So much love, Green Man. Sometimes the level of ineptitude with people. Dude, I think a lot of people, Robert, just basically over medicated, dude. That's one thing I noticed about the society, dude, is just go out to go to Walmart, go to Slave Mart, go to Target, go anywhere, go to your local supermarket. Just look at people. What'd you say, Rob?
So I've worked at Walmart, I've worked at 7-Eleven, I've worked at these different places, and I've experienced these things firsthand. I know all about it.
They're functioning, but only in the loosest of senses. You know, you don't really see a population of people that are really in control of their faculties, man. It's like it's almost like what happens with this pharmakia and these people that are just all farmed up is that it's almost like they're in a video game, like their life then becomes a video game because they seem to be in some way disassociated from themselves. There seems to be some type of disassociation, and it's almost like because I've been on drugs, you know, I've been under the influence of multiple things throughout my life, you know, and you know, so I know the experience. I can speak, but my conception is that then one is basically operating their body almost as an avatar. It's like your consciousness somehow gets in some way split from your whatever the animating soul is that's operating all your, you know, all your flesh, so to speak, and then you become separated from that, and you're almost operating your body as some type of external avatar. It's fucking weird, you know, and that's why you see like this disjointed presentation with people. It's the opposite of a flow state, you know. Again, flow state's in the house, you know, a lot of shine this morning, but so to me, when people say what the flow state is, it's the unification of yourself, really. And maybe that's the, you know, maybe that's the goal, really, is to bring yourself into a state of coordination. Just what's up, champ? What's going on?
What up?
You having fun? You having fun in the chat?
I had a little bit of fun, I'm not gonna lie.
How you doing, homie? Just give us something. Let's talk, do our thing, and then we move on. I got somebody else in the back. How are you?
I'm good. I just came to say fuck you and much love, brother. But yeah, I don't have much for you, man. Thanks for allowing me to express myself, as you might say.
Yeah, man. There's no thanks needed, dude. You don't have to thank me. I don't have to thank you. It is what it is, man. Look, Mitchell, we're all here doing our thing. I want to tell the crowd that you know, it's the point where I kind of give Mitchell a little bit of love, and then, you know, it's for what it's worth. There's London Man. There's Mitchell. We were talking about him earlier. You recognize him, London Man? Now, here's the thing about Mitchell, guys. He has things that he stands on. He has beliefs and principles. Maybe some of us can take a lesson from him. Whether or not you care for his presentation or otherwise, you can't take that. Mitch, we can't take that away from you, dude. You stand on things. God bless you, Mitchell.
But you can help me become better at it by giving me honest criticism like that. So I take that to heart, and I appreciate it. So yeah, I'll work on my presentation. I really will. I know that's not the most digestible presentation, but
Mitch, some of the great geniuses throughout time have been completely misunderstood by the people around them. Some of the greatest hearts, the greatest minds. The only thing, if I were to give you any words, it's not advice. It's that don't hurt yourself. And I'm only saying that to you because I'm really saying it to myself when I say it to you. You understand? Because I've had a tendency throughout my life to make things harder for myself, physically and otherwise, in an effort to live up to some self-imposed principle that I had, right? And I'm trying to move past that. So, meaning to say, Mitchell, if you see things in your life, and I'm talking to the mirror right now, but just whatever, I'm inspired to say these words to you. If you see things in your life that are in some way detrimental to you, it's okay to resolve those things while at the same time holding on to your principles and values and morals and ethics, right, dude? So that's all, dude. And this isn't, guys in chat, this isn't me giving Mitchell advice. It's me looking at Mitchell, looking at a mirror, realizing it's really just one self, one consciousness, and then expressing those words to him. Take it for what it's worth, chat. So much love, Mitchell, dude. I like having you here, brother. Much love. Peace out.
I like being here. Peace.
Mitchell, everybody. We don't have to fight with each other. I don't fucking care.
I love to see it.
Flow State, welcome back. What's going on, Flow State? No audio, Flow State.
Good morning. Yeah, you're gonna make me not early for work today. These metaverses are becoming time-consuming or distracting.
Not for me, dude. But I understand what you're saying. Like I said, for me, it's about coming to some understanding with the process and finding a resolution within myself so I can participate.
The process of creating or the process of sorting out your thoughts.
It is what it is, dude. We're all here for different reasons. What do you got for us, man?
No, but I mean, when you said it's about the process, which process for yourself? Are you sorting out your own thoughts, or are you learning the process of creating?
Not the first thing. Like, I don't care, dude. Like, I don't have production value, but I don't care. Maybe it comes, maybe it doesn't. I pride myself on not having production value because I can do this anywhere. I could sit in a dark room with a fucking light in front of me and a laptop and do my thing. I could bring that anywhere.
It's kind of cool. You're like a floating face in a hand.
It's ethereal, right? So here's the thing, Flow State. So I look at it, the more production value I bring into this, the more I'm binded to a place, to a geography, to a method. So just the way I look at it, dude, because when I look at my broadcast, I don't want this to be a visual experience. I want this to be an auditory experience. I want this to be an experience where you put your headphones on and you do your thing and you just tap into a vibe. And almost where I could then help facilitate a frequency for somebody that they could choose to tap into or not. That's why I don't do a lot of things here. There's not visual stuff here. I don't really present things here. I show my face because I want people to see my emotions if they want. I want people to be able to tap into a visual communication modality if they want. But I don't want to make it a visual thing, dude, because all the things that I like and experiences that I've enjoyed throughout, my journey have always been a listening experience. I fell in love with radio. When I was young and I was going through things and I was experiencing certain trials and tribulations and emotions in my life, I always loved being able to tap in, turn on a certain radio station and get into a certain vibe, dude, or not. So my presentation here is colored with that. Some people aren't like that. That's fine. That's their thing. So that's what it's about for me, dude. Look, just hit some topics and move on. I watched a little bit of Paul. You guys understand when it comes to me and Paul, I'm a fan of Paul. I said this, I'll probably say it again. I'm a fan of Paul, first and foremost. Paul, I tune into Paul because I'm a fan. That's one of the reasons I'm not super motivated to have a strong presence on his show. I actually feel like I detract from his fucking show. I think everybody detracts from his show, really, but I think that's the same with my show. But of course, Paul's going to use different elements of his show to create an experience. I like to sit back. Like I told Moose this morning. Moose was actually making me laugh fucking last night. I was like, oh, okay, I'm enjoying Moose here. My point is, I'm a fan of Paul, first and foremost. Flow State, I don't think you're a fan of Paul, dude.
I'm not a fan of Paul.
All right.
I'm not a fan of Paul. And I assume that Moose was making you laugh last night. And I jump in and out of these things, right? I usually like radio too. Because I listen while I work, and then I end up getting distracted and typing in the chat instead of working.
So let me ask you then.
Yeah.
What value do you find in participating with his? Because you're tuning into a show, you're tuning into Paul adjacent shows, so to speak. You're in the conversation, and I'm not saying that you don't have a right to be. Or like I said, we're all motivated by different things. But I'm asking you in a real way. If you're not a fan of Paul, what is your motivation in presenting yourself there? And before you answer, let's welcome our friend. Before you answer, let's welcome our friend Uncle Rick to the stream. Uncle Rick, much love, bro. Good to see you, homie.
Hey, it's great to be back. Z, I missed you a lot. How's it going, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, dude. Uncle Rick, what do you think about my recent approach, where the method in which I'm pursuing, where I'm really coming on here to express myself in a certain way that people can choose to either experience or to not, dude? What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's great. It's an open exchange of opinions and ideas. And if people like what you have to say, they'll stay. And if they don't like what you have to say, they'll just keep it moving. I love talk radio. I've been listening to talk radio for over 35, 40 years. Working overnight, that's all we used to do, just listen to talk radio. Bob Grant, who's that other overnight? Art Bell, tons of talk radio. Yeah, coast to coast. Then George Norrie took it over. So yeah, it's great that you can hear people from different places having different experiences and sharing different thoughts and ideas. It's wonderful. As long as you keep it real and don't get really, obnoxious, and repeating and going looping all the time. It gets pathetic if you're just continuing and continuously in a loop on certain subjects.
Let's let Flow State answer the question I posed. Just to, to paraphrase, it was, I'm a fan of Paul. Like, I'm not a fan of all these other people. Like, I like Yurt, I like Jack, but I'm not a fan of them. It's just, what I'm saying, right? RC, it's like, you like what you like. It's like you listen to music, you're a fan or not, right? I'm a fan of Paul, but although I can respect OTW and Ian, I'm not a fan of them, but I'm a fan of Paul. So I'll put it like that. But let's get back to Flow State. He's not a fan of Paul. He's admittedly not a fan. So my question to him, Uncle Rick, is what brings him to Paul's platform each and every day, more or less? I guess, Flow State, why would you spend your time and energy in a place that you're really not resonating with, other than, for lack of a better term, in a very crude way, using that person as some type of come up or otherwise? But you put it in your words. I'd like to hear your thoughts, Flow State. Go ahead.
So first of all, I would never try to springboard off somebody that I don't respect. So I don't view Paul as a come up. Last night, when I was interacting, which I generally don't interact with Paul's channel, but last night I did, right? And also I was drawing fire off OTW because I didn't want him to cave the moose. It worked.
Right. But Flow State, I'm going to push you a little bit more here. Let's try to go deeper, man. Yeah, okay. Well,
I mean, we can push, but I don't think it goes that deep.
I don't know, man. I think everything goes deep, really. It's just whether or not we recognize it and whether or not we're willing to explore that within others and within ourselves. Because I would take issue, it's more than just, you're consistently presenting yourself. You're consistently engaging your time and your energy with
So let me,
that
hold on,
medium,
let me
that
get this.
platform.
I haven't always not been a fan of Paul, if that makes sense. My distaste for him is relatively new.
What's the reason for it? What does he irk you about?
He is entitled, hostile, and full of shit, in my opinion.
So let me ask you, do you feel in some way then, do you just like the interaction? Do you like, or do you feel like it's in some way your, for lack of a better term, responsibility to keep him in check? Are you helping other people by pointing this out? What's your motive, dude? Do you even know, Flow State? That's the thing. Do you even know? Are you in touch with your own motives? Let's ask that question.
I'm not sure that there's a motive. So last night it was definitely to draw fire off OTW. And yeah, this is my first time actually thinking any of this stuff through. I suppose that Paul's just a catalyst, and I was more concerned about OTW not standing up for himself, right? Like, I don't know. But ultimately, I don't accept responsibility at all for OTW. He's a grown-ass man. He's older than I am, right? So who knows?
Fair enough on Flow State. Any final thoughts for the audience before I have a combo with Uncle Rick here?
Nope. Have a good conversation.
Hey, I just wanted to ask Flow State, how old are you?
36.
Okay. For some reason, a lot of people have a problem with Paul's age. They really can't believe how smart, how intellectual, and how verbal his vocabulary is. He's really, really an intellectual, smart guy. So if you can't resonate with him on that level, he's not condescending, but you have to understand where he's coming from.
He just packages it.
He's entitled. It's a show. It's like
he's entitled to everybody's show. He's entitled to ZShow. He's entitled to OTW shows.
Yes.
What? Why?
No, man. He's only as entitled as. Look, man. See, that's a narrative, Flow State.
It is a narrative.
Because the reality is we're all in control of ourselves, and by reflection, we're all in control of our platforms. It's called YouTube for a reason. It's yourself in front of everybody, and that's it. So it's really in abrogation. Is that the right word, Uncle Rick? An abrogation? I might have just made that word up. Of power. It's really you turning your power over to something outside yourself. You can consider that. Much love, Flow State.
No, you're not gonna close on that. What I'm saying is he feels entitled to other people's shit. I don't think he's entitled to it.
Oh, that's your interpretation of it.
Right.
No, I mean it's exactly what he said. See, you were there when he said, "What's his fucking name, man? O'Shea."
Look, Paul just knows that if people are gonna be in Paul's experience in that dynamic, he realizes there's a power dynamic. It just has to be like that, dude. That's just how he has to operate, man. To me, it's just power dynamics. It's just natural. Uncle Rick, I just see this all as like natural power dynamics. And much love, Flow State, dude. Much love. We're gonna talk about you after you leave, of course, but much love, dude. Uncle Rick, I mean, I don't know, dude. Maybe it's just about finding confidence within ourselves and just be who we are. These are just natural power dynamics. You know, for instance, whatever. Paul, he could just do whatever he wants, dude, and how people react to it. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, he's behind the chessboard, Paul. You know, he's like a master. He's a master chess, with a grandmaster. So yeah, right. I admire him, and I really, really love to sit back and just listen to what he has to say. I could listen to him for hours, unlike Jack Talcott, who I could listen to for minutes or seconds. And same with Word, for that matter. When I remember what you told me, you said a couple weeks ago about when Word was. Every time Word says something, I said, "Oh shit, I gotta go look that up. I gotta write this down." When he talks, I have a piece of paper and a pen in my hand just to write shit down because he's loaded with information. I love Word. I understand him. I understand where he's coming from, and I resonate with him. So it's either you love him or you don't. And,
right. Back to Flow State, Uncle Rick. I think whether Flow State is in touch with it, whether or not Flow State's in touch with his own thoughts and motives or not, I think there's more to his behavior than he's expressing, dude.
Yes. Could it be jealousy?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Maybe he's. But my impression of him, I think he's not in touch with it, Uncle Rick. Like I think he's really not. He's not as in touch with his motives as some may think, or he may wish to be. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
It's whatever it is, Flow State. If I were to conjecture, jealousy is probably a good term. He probably. All right. Let me just go all in on this thought. Let's explore it, Uncle Rick. I look at Flow State. This could be me projecting, because how can we know anybody else without knowing ourselves, right? So, if I were to guess Flow State, let me take some liberties here. Is that Flow State looks at himself and he feels as though he can have some type of presence online, for whatever it's worth. Whether again he wants to express or create, or if he wants to, get fiat, or if he feels as though he could impart some wisdom, whatever his motive is, whatever it is. I think Flow State feels as though he has can present some type of value here in the metaverse, and he may be experiencing some of the challenges that come along with it. Because anybody who wants to be a content creator, sure, we'd all love to come on, do our thing, have the whole world fall in love with us, and we could be the new star, right? We could just bam, and then you realize very quickly that that's not how it works. Even if you get some initial splash, some initial juice, you got to put your time in. You got to really dedicate yourself towards it in so many ways. Like Uncle Rick, I was talking about David Bowie yesterday. I love fucking David Bowie, but all you see with any superstar, it seems as though they sat down, picked up a guitar, and magic happened. They just, we all want to feel as though we're the special boy, and that we could just sit down at the piano, sit down at the guitar, and then our genius is going to express ourselves. That's not how it works. Nobody saw David Bowie when he was 12 years old in front of a piano and a guitar. Nobody saw these great artists when they were working away in sketchbook for hours and hours and hours developing themselves. Nobody sees all the work and effort that goes into establishing oneself. So I'm wondering, Flow State, did you come online knowing that maybe you got something to give, seeing something in yourself? I see something in Flow State, Uncle Rick. But the point is it possible, Flow State, that you came online, you presented yourself in a certain way, you experienced some degree of resistance, and now you're expressing your frustration, as Uncle Rick said. We put a word jealousy on it. Right. So then Flow State looks at fucking Paul, sees a guy popping and flowing, sees a guy with juice, and then Flow State starts drinking that haterade. Because the reality, Flow State, you see Paul now, but you didn't see Paul when he spent 90 days in the fucking lockup. You didn't see Paul when he was shooting dope. Yep. You didn't see Paul when he had a fucking gun pointed to his head. You didn't see Paul when his dad was being a fucking basically emotionally abusive, narcissistic fucking guy. You didn't see Paul. That's Paul's come up. That's Paul's equivalent of fucking putting the hours in, putting the work in, dude. I'll say the same thing about me, Uncle Rick. People didn't see me when I was going to my slave profession, driving every day, putting 12 hours in, getting my teeth kicked in, trying to play into some concept of who I thought this world wanted me to be. People didn't see that part of it. They didn't see me, whatever it is that enabled me to develop into who I am. And now I'm presenting who I am to you, and you guys can either find value in it or not, Flow State. Do you have the vulnerability to show who you are, Flow State? Are you afraid of what that may be? Are you afraid of what you might find if you explore yourself in a real way and how that might manifest? These are just questions that I'm asking, dude. And he's in this, I don't want to read your chats and stuff, Flow State. You're here. I'm exploring this for everybody. We're just picking it up, Flow State. We're examining it. We'll put it down at a certain point. But when Uncle Rick brings up the word jealousy, I can conjecture that whether Flow State is in touch with that or not, that may be his most likely emotion when it comes to Paul specifically. Flow State, you're probably jealous and just not aware of it. Take it for what it's worth, bro. Your thoughts, Uncle Rick?
He just has to come to an understanding that he'll do what he'll have to do to figure it out. And, you know, yeah, I'm new with this also, Z. I'm just hanging out here listening, getting information. I told you, my whole life was crushed a couple years ago, just like yours was. And I'm just putting the pieces back together. You know, every day, my wife and I are not getting along. We haven't gotten along in years. And she doesn't drive a car. She lives down here. We live down here in Florida. And I don't know. I'm going through a midlife crisis myself. So I'm just trying to hold it together. You know, I'm just trying to take one day at a time, trying to work out, eat healthy, and stay focused, and not really getting into my imagination as much. And believe it or not, this metaverse does help. People like your channel, I really missed it when it went down. And I love Paul. Paul really just, you know, what can I say, man? I thank God I found you guys.
I appreciate that, dude. I really do. And again, that's helps motivate me, because then I realize I come back here. And Uncle Rick, there's a lot of people who've expressed a very similar sentiment. You know, they've expressed that to me. And I see that. I realize that. I can look out and I go, okay, people value what I'm doing here. Uncle Rick values it. A lot of people value it. Hundreds, if not thousands at this point. And not everybody's as vocal as you are, Uncle Rick. So that's what I realize more and more, is that I can come here, do my thing. People can take it or leave it. It's like anything. It's like when Uncle Rick, you know, I used to have I was an audiologist. Many people know that about me. And at one point I had a private practice. But it could be anything. It could be the guy who's, you know, there's a taco truck in town, right, where I live. There's 2 taco trucks. You know, I went there yesterday and I go there for $10, Uncle Rick. I can get a full meal, dude. You know what I mean? Yes. And the point is, that taco truck, they're out there. They're just producing something for the public. You can fucking take it or leave it, man. I don't have to go there and eat. If I don't like their food, I don't go there. I enjoy their food. I like what they're doing. I can go to Taco Bell instead, but I don't, because I'd rather go there, get a better meal. The food is created with a better vibe. I can support them. I can support their family. It's just a fucking family who went, they took a risk, they invested, they realized they had value, and they make awesome tacos, awesome quesadillas. People go there. I guess they seem like they're doing well. It's no different in any endeavor in life. You present yourself in whatever way that is. If there's value and people find value in it, there'll be a reciprocation. There'll be a reciprocal experience. We could all grow from it, because what it really is all of us growing within the process. And that's all. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. And that's where it is. On Flow State, I used you for content this morning, but now I'm probably going to move on in some way, you know, and take it for what it's worth.
Does he have his own channel? Yeah.
He's got a channel, you know. He's got his thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, I spend limited time on here anyway. You know, I have other endeavors besides just sitting in front of a fucking screen all day.
Right.
Know? So, all right.
So Uncle Rick comes here every morning. Who knows? In a month from now, Uncle Rick may find that his energy is best expressed elsewhere with another creator. Maybe not. Maybe Uncle Rick decides in his morning times he just wants to tune out. He wants to go for a jog or something. And then it is what it is, guys.
Yeah. See, usually every day I'm up at 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I try to hit the beach at 8 o'clock. You know, depending on the tide, depending on my work schedule. But I usually exercise the first thing in the morning. I want to get it out of the way. And you have the energy. Your energy is great the minute you wake up. So I want to get it over with. So I've been doing that most of my life, man. Even before work, I used to work out at least 2 or 3 hours a day, then go to work. You know, you got to have a system. You got to have a fucking routine every day, regardless of what's happening around you. You know what I mean? So,
right. Like my routine is, you know, I decided I'm gonna come on here and do this, because when I wasn't doing it, you know, I was feeling a certain way about it, you know, and I want to come here and I want to do this. We'll take it somewhere. I want to be part of the conversation. I feel like I have something to offer. Whether or not people find value, and it's up to them.
No, you do, man. You have a good gift of gab, and I really understand where you're coming from. So I really resonate. You know.
Yeah. And if I'm being completely honest, Uncle Rick, you know, when I step back for those 2 months, and I'm looking at people like OTW, and I'm looking at people like even fucking Talcott, and I'm watching them, and I'm watching them be able to create something here. And God bless them. But the reality is, I'm being completely frank, I think I have more to offer, right? So I started thinking, hey man, why am I going to let these guys come out here, present their selves without also coming here presenting myself when I feel like I have more value? I'm sorry, Patrick. I feel like I have more value to offer to this world than you do. You're going to fucking spin it. You're going to take it any way you want. You probably feel the opposite.
Well, maybe you don't. Maybe just guys have different content. It doesn't have to be compared or have a competitive edge to it, you know?
You're right. But no, but Singer, if I really need to be honest, people call it ego. I feel like my content has more value than something like Patrick's. That doesn't mean it can't change. It doesn't mean in 6 months from now, I just feel like I have more value to bring than OTW. Okay. So I'm not going to sit by and watch OTW do a stream and not give myself. And then people can choose. Okay. Much love, Patrick. I'm being honest, but you know, if I'm going to be completely frank here, Uncle Rick, you know, I just feel like I feel it's like saying, you know, it's like if we're chefs, right? I feel like I'm a better chef than Patrick.
Okay.
If we're both chefs, I'm a better chef.
I got you know?
Now, when I look at Paul, I don't think I'm a better chef than Paul. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think I'm a better chef than Antoine. Antoine might have a bigger business than me. Antoine might be the Taco Bell of what he does. But like I said, that little food truck that I go to has better food. You know, I produce a better product than OTW does. I actually believe that. So much love, Patrick. You can do what you want with it. You can do a 12-hour show on what I just said, Patrick. It probably won't be as interesting as me sitting here, you know, talking about David Bowie. Anyway, am I getting my ego here, Uncle Rick? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, all right, a little bit. You can just, it's okay, Z. It's okay. At the end of the day, everyone has to take it the way they want to take it anyway. I have a thick skin, so you know I can't be insulted. You can't really, you know, I'm too old. I have too many years under my belt. You understand? You know, it's different for me. I look at life a little differently than you do. I remember what you said. You're 44, Paul's 33, and I'm almost double Paul's age. You know, my wife is 66. I'm 62. You know, so.
Well, there's a part of me, Uncle Rick, that wants to go in and kind of explore what you just said about your relationship with your wife and stuff. But maybe we'll save that for another time, homie. I don't want to push you into some place that you might not be comfortable with and stuff.
Totally. You could say mistakes or learning experiences. It's phenomenal what happens also when the dynamics of a situation change. You see how people change for the worse or for the better. You understand? And since this dynamic happened these last couple of years, I see where a lot of people change not for the good, but for the worst. So I'm just trying to navigate what's going on for the next couple of years of my life. I love my wife. I love her dearly, but we're having some rough waters right now. That's all.
Well, dude,
That's what I say.
you know, all I can say is, bro, these are some crazy times when there's no doubt about it. And you know, they sound Rick. This is the hard thing, man. You're born alone. You fucking die alone, really.
Yep.
And once you can reconcile the concept of death, it's maybe the only way to really live, dude. And Uncle Rick, I think we were sold. That's why I always go back to the engineering, the social engineering that I see that takes place and that's perpetrated upon humanity. Because think of Hollywood, think of these novels, these stories, think of how we interpret information.
Yes.
You know, it's so ingrained, even through the religions. Dude, the Bible just might have been like what Hollywood is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Could it be programming otherwise? My point is this: not just the Bible, any scripture. I don't want to bang the Bible. I value. Like the funny part is, try to follow the words. I value the words of the Bible very much. Anyway, my point is this: when I look at this concept of marriage or the concept of what it is to you know, what to be in a relationship, you know, I see a lot of engineering with it, man. I see a lot of like it's a fantasy. We build up this fantasy, and then we some way feel right. We feel compelled to participate in it, man. And you know, so we're told, oh, you find your soulmate, you get married, and it's happily ever after, man. And I question it. Where did that idea come from? Who says that's how it is? It's very it's strange to me to uncover it. And I always go back to this. You know, it seems artificial in many ways. And you know, if there is this let's say this social engineering process that's being played out amongst humanity, who's doing it and for what purpose, man? And then how do we find our place in this whole thing, dude? These are these existential questions that I constantly go back to, man. So you know, I get it, man. I get it, dude.
No, I agree. You know, of course, you're born into it also. You know, you see your parents, you see your grandparents, you see your friends, you see everything. And this is the way you think, you grow up, and this is the way it's supposed to be, you know. You graduate high school, you go into the army, or you go into the military. Very few people go into the skills or the trades anymore. I did. I didn't go into the military. I took machine tool technology in high school. I wanted to become a gunsmith or a knife maker. That was what I really wanted to do. And I don't know, I got into baking anyway. It's still a trade or a craft. And I loved it. You know, baking for 44 years till this shit came. So I was on it, you know, when you're in a profession and a career that you really love and everything is flowing and your life is going really well and you're in a good flow state. So, you know, you're in a good state. You know, everything was going good for a while with me and my wife, my second wife. But then after this happened, and I saw her true colors. That's all. Let's put it that way. She's very insecure. She's very paranoid. And it's hard to live with someone who's always paranoid, always worrying. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. I need a break from it sometimes. You know what I mean? So right now she's working, so I'm chilling right now. I have to pick her up later on. I'm gonna go work. So you know, I worry about my kids a lot. I haven't spoken to them for a while. I miss them, but you know they're doing their thing. I don't have to tell you, they're both nurses, and they both got what I didn't want. So I worry about them every day. You know, I feel for them. I'm scared for them, and same with my grandchildren. So I'm just taking it one day at a time.
Well, Uncle Rick, you know, I appreciate you coming on here and kind of expressing yourself like this. I'm sure many people could relate, including myself, dude.
Yeah.
All I can say to you is, dude, just keep breathing, man. That's where I am, man. The fundamentals of breath, dude. And you know, it's good to talk to you, homie.
All right, man. See, you take care of yourself, and I'll catch up to you down the road. All right. Much love.
It's up to you, man. Uncle Rick. I feel like a kindred spirit towards Uncle Rick. What he just expressed, I could relate to in so many ways. Of course, all of our pain, all of our challenges are individual and unique. But of course, we're all going to share the underlying commonalities. Let me get my ego a little bit. Let's talk to Patrick. Let's talk to OTW News. Patrick, I'm objectively more talented than you. Whether or not you realize it, well, that's going to be up to you. Now, what you do with that and what I do with it is going to be our journey. Because you could do a lot of stuff in this broadcasting thing. You could find talent. Like you have Dick Freedom Grower a lot on your channel. He's fairly talented. He can speak extemporaneously. You know, he has, you know, he's got that gift of gab, dude. So maybe you could, I don't know, I'm not gonna tell you on your channel, but I'm objectively more interesting than you. I'm objectively more magnanimous than you. You understand? I bring something that you just don't have, dude. And there's really no way for you to ever get it because you're not me, you're you. It doesn't make you lesser than me. You get it? But in this arena, you don't hold a candle to me. You're basically insignificant. In this arena, with this thing. Because I'll come on here with just me in the dark and I'll just talk for fucking 10 hours, dude. Like I said, I'll just start reading Mary Had a Little Lamb. But because it's me doing it, somebody somewhere is going to find value in it. You don't have that, Patrick. You just don't. And like I said, it's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person, dude. It doesn't make you less valuable than me, to humanity. It just means that you ain't got it, dude. Whether or not you could establish it at some point, probably not. In the same way, I'm not going to be able to just step on a basketball court and start fucking, you know, draining three-pointers and doing slam dunks. I'm never going to have it, dude. I'm never going to be able to do that. Just like you're never going to be able to be as good as me when it comes to this. Being interesting continuously and being able to hold an audience. You're just not going to be able to do it, man. And I'm not even really trying, Patrick. That's the thing. I don't promote myself. I'm not investing in subscribers. I don't even have social media other than a Facebook page. It's just my Facebook page from like 13 years ago that's still up. Get it, dude? So when I actually start trying and it just grows naturally, well, I guess only time will tell. But again, it doesn't mean you have no value. Which means when it comes to this right here, you're of lesser value than me. You just are, Patrick. I don't really want to participate in your energy, dude. It's kind of weird how you want to participate in mine because it feels exploitative to me. So when I look at you, I feel as though you're behaving in a manner in which I'm not very interested in participating in. Being honest, everybody. Like Thunder Chicken says, swing up, not down. Good point on the chicken. It's a great point. But flow state, I just go with wherever the spirit moves me. The spirit is moving me to speak to Patrick right now. I'm letting him know that in no way is he ever going to be able to compete with me. He's just not going to be able to. Patrick, I don't care if you get 100,000 subscribers overnight. I'm still better than you at this. Who knows? You might be able to grift people into thinking that you're providing something that's more valuable. But over time, it'll be shown that you're not going to be able to hold candle to me. You're just not going to be able to, dude. So you could exist in this conflict with me, or you could just resolve it. Because you created the situation, Patrick. This is your doing. You realize it. Anybody with any fair degree of discernment realizes it. That you created this. This was of your doing. It's now just being expressed here. Much love, Mateo. He says Z being pretentious. But he could put a question mark on it. So the inflection would be more like, Z, are you being pretentious? Possibly, Mateo. I guess it's all a matter of interpretation. But it's just the reality, Patrick. It just is that way. Take it for what it's worth, dude. Like I said, restream me, spend 9 hours ruminating on this, looping. Basically use me for content. It's fine, you do it. Notice, Patrick, that I don't ever put your name in my title like you do. You understand? You're never gonna see the OTW's name in my title, dude. I'm just gonna say ZShow, right? What does that say? You come here and watch me. Patrick, I literally almost never go to watch you. Like I said, I have respect for you. I do think you have an eye for truth. But you're just never gonna be as good as me with this right here. You're just not going to, ever. What's the chat saying? Wobbly Boost in house. What's up, Wobbly Boost? I talked about you yesterday, Wobbly. I was basically saying how I'm trying to improve my my knowledge with geography, right? And also I'm trying to improve with like my knowledge with certain cultures and ethnicities. Like I don't want to just look at you, Wobbly Boost, and put you in some trope that I have of Australia. You know what I mean? I just I want to be able to see you, Wobbly Boost, as who you are, not just like place you into some like cartoon like trope. I'm trying to get past that. Although the accent makes it hard. As soon as I hear the accent, I just go into some pre-programmed idea of what like an Australian is. But you are sort of stereotypical at the same time, Flow State. I can see where it comes from. There's certain aspects to you that lend itself towards the stereotype. You know what I mean? Flow State, why are you so like? What's your deal, Flow State? Why are you so active in the chat? Like I like you being here, Flow State. But it's like I keep looking down the chat, I keep seeing Flow State. What are you talking about, dude? Talking about money and stuff. Whatever, Flow State's all good, man. Why am I so involved with you right now, Flow State? What was with that? You seem to be going at it with our friend Heidi. Cleveland Steve in the house. I just love Cleveland Steve. Steve, did you see our tournament yesterday? Did you catch that? Check that out. I'm still riding the high of that. Really groundbreaking piece of content. Of course, I'm not being sarcastic at all. What's Wobbly saying? He says, cool, Zed. I'll gladly share some culture and landscapes one time. Make it real, past Crocodile Dundee. Right, always goes back to Crocodile Dundee. It's weird how we identify ourselves, I can't help but see the cultural and engineered overlay that basically colors all of our perceptions of each other. They're just tropes. Like I remember growing up, like somebody said, oh, France. I'd have a certain concept of what a French person is. Or German, or whatever. It's fucking weird. No. Drop the link again for everybody wants to come up and chat. But yeah, Wobbly. What do you think, guys? Was I being arrogant, egotistical, and otherwise towards my thoughts towards Patrick from OTW? Because I know, Patrick, you're going to spin, you're going to spiral, you're going to do all those things. It's all on you, dude. Just remember, you did this, Patrick. You created whatever your experience is on this metaverse. Not just between me, but between all of us. Much love, anyway. Who else is here? What's up, Mateo? Much love to Mateo, everybody. He's another one like me. He's from like this Philadelphia area. So Mateo and I have certain commonalities. Not only in our behaviors and actions, but our speech patterns. Mateo's a Philly guy, so to speak. I lived right outside of Philadelphia for a couple years, and it's an interesting city, to say the least. It's got a certain culture to it. But to me, New York's the ultimate city. It always was for me. When I'm in New York, and I say in as opposed to on, because when you're in New York, you are in that consciousness. To me, New York just has its own frequency. And when you're just in it, you can't help but submit to its, it almost has a consciousness to it. It's like buzzing to me. I actually enjoy the feeling of it, because you can get lost in it. In some ways, New York to me just feels like the center of the psychic universe, so to speak. It just seems like there's this it's like the focal point of human consciousness. And that could be my American bias and my American hubris, but yeah, Cleveland Steve says New York state of mind. It really is a state of mind, isn't it, Steve? Good call on that one. State of consciousness. Uncle Rick says not anymore, Z. It's funny, Uncle Rick. I know where you're coming from there. Because when I think about it, I romanticize it. Like I think about from when I was younger, in the 1990s. Again, it was before the internet became part of our whole collective consciousness. It still had that human vibe to it. I like watching old movies, like even the Scorsese movie, or I was watching this Andy Kaufman documentary the other day. He was basically a New York staple, and I like watching these old movies and videos of New York where you kind of get the feel of it, man. You had the graffiti art everywhere, those old taxi cabs, the way people were, the way people interacted. There's something about that whole thing that it appeals to me. The whole New York art scene and stuff, the whole weird bohemian vibe. I don't know. It's an allure to me, the attractiveness.
All right, I'm gonna watch a little bit of InAThoughtExperiment now. Whoops, I'm in a cult experiment. I'm in a thought experiment. That's funny. I paused it at 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 22 seconds, and I'm at 1 hour and 10 minutes and 10 seconds. All right, let me see here. Where am I at? Thousandaire Morning Show. Let's survive.
The legislation in the Senate said after the vote. France is estimated to have 150,000 influencers, many of whom have a modest audience, but some have millions of subscribers and help set trends in sectors from fashion to video games. Their commercial activities, accepting money in exchange for promoting a product, are often undeclared, and until now they have lacked a specific legal status in France. Legislation will, in theory, force them to post the word advertising or commercial partnership when discussing products they have been paid to advertise and make a formal contract mandatory. It prohibits the promotion of cosmetic surgery, tobacco, and some financial products and medical devices. It also tightens the rules for promoting sports betting lottery games, which will be restricted to platforms that have the capacity to prohibit access to minors, such as YouTube. Violations of the rules could face punishments up to 2 years in prison and 300,000 euro fines, which is, that's crazy, right? Prison time and hundreds of thousands of dollars of fines for influencers if they step out of line, essentially. The party's over for all those who think that you can cheat on the internet. Economy Minister Bruno Le Maire declared earlier this month. Influencers create jobs, value. They are, in the most part, extremely creative, imaginative, and bring a lot to the French economy, he told the BFM channel. Then there are the few troublemakers. Those troublemakers who manipulate, who use their role badly and cheat consumers. Some experts say police and prosecutors will face difficulties enforcing the rules for such a huge number of online creators. However, many of them based overseas in different jurisdictions, but viewable in France. And I just thought this was interesting in light of sort of what happened over the last few years, this sort of in-between limbo state that we seem to be in now, where things seem to have calmed down. And then you see stuff like this being set up and influencers being targeted. And you might say, well, this doesn't really apply to, maybe truth or stuff or all that, but it shows they're setting the groundwork. And I've always, with, so many laws, I'm sure they already had laws that persecuted or prosecuted these sorts of crimes, the fraud stuff and all that. They already had those laws on the book, but they were specifically targeting influencers. And I thought that was interesting, just considering what's going on here too. But it even notes the difficulty in enforcing that law. Here's a story from Vice. AI-controlled drone goes rogue, kills human operator in USAF, United States Air Force simulated test. The Air Force chief of AI test and operations said it killed the operator because that person was keeping it from accomplishing its objective, which is amazing. This is literally the plot of every bad B movie with robot Armageddon. Well, let me make sure 1 second. Okay, we're still here. We're also good. Okay, cool. This is literally the bad plot of every post-apocalyptic movie. The Terminators, all that. Essentially, the humans have to be eliminated. This is Space Odyssey 2001. How? This is all this. To accomplish the mission, they end up having to kill the human beings. I believe, and it's interesting that it was also a simulated test, and that they're sharing the news story. We always need to think about that, the different angles. What's the point of them sharing this? If it's just a test, if it was just sort of a fluke, what's even the point? A little bit of this. An AI-enabled drone killed its human operator in a simulated test conducted by the U.S. Air Force in order to override a possible no order, stopping it from completing its mission, the USAF chief of AI test and operation revealed at a recent conference. At the Future Combat Air and Space Capability Summit held in London between May 23rd, 24, Colonel Tucker Cinco Hamilton, the Air Force's chief of AI test and operation, held a presentation that shared the pros and cons of an autonomous weapon system with a human in the loop giving the final yes or no order on an attack. As relayed by Tim Robinson and Stephen Bridgewater in a blog post for the host organization, the Royal Aeronautical Society, Hamilton said, that's a horribly written sentence. So these dudes said in a blog post that AI created highly unexpected strategies to achieve its goal, including attacking U.S. Personnel and infrastructure. Now, here's what I think in the story. Well, here, let's do a little more. We were training it in simulation to identify and target a surface-to-air missile threat. And then the operator would say, yes, kill the threat. The system started realizing that while they did identify the threat at times, the human operator would tell it not to kill that threat. But it got its points by killing that threat. So what did it do? It killed the operator. Killed the operator because that person was keeping it from accomplishing its objective, Hamilton said. He continued to elaborate, saying, we trained the system. Hey, don't kill the operator. That's bad. You're going to lose points if you do that. So what does it start doing? It starts destroying the communication tower that the operator uses to communicate with the drone to stop it from killing the target. I think you could, let's give this one more quote too, from the same Hamilton did. We must face a world where AI is already here and transforming our society, Hamilton said. AI is also very brittle, i.e. it is easy to trick and manipulate. We need to develop ways to make AI more robust and to have more awareness on why the software code is making certain decisions. So what I would just add to the story is, you got to think about it. They've been running these tests forever. And then this should be a bad story coming out of that conference, right? So you don't go to the conference and then test your thing in front of everybody and then have disastrous results. So at some level, this must be what they wanted the news story to come out. And from their perspective, is this almost them like low-key bragging in their own way? Is this actually what the system is intended for? Are they actually promoting that it'll override human decision-making and really human morality? And so that's what they're saying in a story like this. We see Vice, who are a pretty compromised news agency. I think I went to InfoWars, and I think this was their leading story as well. So is this sort of normalizing that idea? And we already had that idea. I think we got another news story here that is straight out of like B-movie science fiction stuff. Or is it just to create fear? Is it just a basic fear story? Not so sure. But it's weird they would take it to a conference and then act like, oh my God, this is crazy. I guess they don't say they were surprised, but Why would you share the news story then? All right, next one. Alien-like message, and I love this story. We're not going to read much of this. I might just share this headline. But alien-like message sent to Earth in a test to prepare for the real thing. I love this. I love this so much. What would happen if aliens contacted us? It's a long-standing question that now has at least a partial answer. After a transmission designed to mimic correspondence from an extraterrestrial civilization made its way to Earth from Mars. The event, organized by SETI, a non-profit organization with a mission to search for extraterrestrial intelligence and explore the origin of life in the universe, straddles a line between art project and technical rehearsal. It is meant to explore the process of decoding and interpreting an intelligent signal from the cosmos and how it would impact humanity. And what I love about this is, this reminded me of sort of like a teenage boy who's awaiting a message from his girlfriend or sweetheart or his potential love interest, and you're sitting around, staring at the cell phone, and nothing's coming, so you send yourself a message just to see, to check that your phone's working. That's essentially what human civilization is doing. We're testing our own text message to make sure that we got the right system for it. That's how desperate we are. And I want to bring up this idea in regards to this. I'm sure many have heard of this term, but let's just review it. The Fermi paradox. Fermi paradox is the discrepancy between the lack of conclusive evidence of advanced extraterrestrial life and the apparently high a priori likelihood of its existence. As a 2015 article put it, life is so easy, someone from somewhere must have come calling by now. Italian-American physicist Enrico Fermi, name is associated with the paradox because of a casual conversation in the summer of 1950 with fellow physicists Edward Teller, Herbert York, and Emil Konopinski. While walking to lunch, the men discussed recent UFO reports and the possibility of faster than light travel. Conversation moved on to other topics. Until during lunch, Fermi blurted out, "But where is everybody?" Although the exact quote is uncertain. There have been many attempts to resolve the Fermi paradox, such as suggesting that intelligent extraterrestrial beings are extremely rare, that the lifetime of such civilizations is short, or that they exist, but for various reasons humans see no evidence. And we'll just share this chain of reasoning too. The following are some of the facts and hypotheses that together serve to highlight the apparent contradiction. There are a billion of stars in the Milky Way similar to the Sun. High probability some of these stars have Earth-like planets in a circumstellar habitable zone. Many of these stars and hence their planets are much older than the Sun. If Earth-like planets are typical, some may have developed intelligent life long ago. Some of these civilizations may have developed interstellar travel, a step humans are investigating now. Even at a slow pace of currently envisioned interstellar travel, the Milky Way galaxy could be completely traversed in a few million years. Just a few million years, no big deal. Since many of the Sun-like stars are billions of years older than the Sun, the Earth should have already been visited by extraterrestrial civilizations, or at least their probes. However, there's no convincing evidence that this has happened. So that's a Fermi paradox. So we're sending text messages to ourselves just to make sure our phone's working, so that if somebody please would come save us from ourselves, that would be great. Now, this next article from the Daily Sun. Mexican police find 45 bags of human remains in search for missing call center workers. Mexican police discovered 45 bags of human remains while searching for 7 call center workers who went missing last week in an area known as the stronghold of the CJNG cartel. Police have discovered 45 bags of human remains while searching for 7 missing call center workers. Mexican officials made the grisly discovery in Mirador del Bosque in the suburbs of western city of Guadalajara on Tuesday. The Jalisco state prosecutor said it's not yet clear whether the remains belong to the missing young workers. They didn't find the workers, they just found the remains, 45 bags of human remains, which is just insane. The obfuscated remains were found both female and male victims. So sort of a grisly story. We'll do a couple more of these and we'll turn it over to the homies. I love this story. Another story from Vice. The Taliban is fighting Iran with American weapons. History just keeps repeating itself. So we armed the Mujahideen or whatever, the Taliban, in their war against Russia in the 80s, right? They made that Rambo movie about that, I'm pretty sure. So once again, we have the U.S. arming the Taliban. So, 22 years after September 11th, we learned no lessons and we are engaging in the same behavior. Taliban clashed with Iranian border guards over the weekend and used American equipment to do it. So we're fighting a proxy war using the Taliban. Once again, fight took place in Nimrod, province of Afghanistan, on its southwestern border with Iran. At least 3 people died and others were wounded in a dispute about water rights in the region. And this story is going to come up again. Fighting over water. The water wars have begun. They're being quite quiet about it. And the drone wars have begun. And we're also, relatively seems to be little news about that, or not very much attention, at least given in these circles, on the beginning of the drone wars. The Ukrainian, just this last week, right, a Russian building was attacked by a drone believed to have come from the Ukraine, but they haven't claimed responsibility for that. Video of the skirmish are all over social media, and they show Afghanistan fighters using a mix of old Soviet gear and U.S. weapons from the war on terror. Amazing. On Telegram, videos from the advocacy group Halvash showed U.S. armored Humvees rolling down the road, reportedly on their way to a fight. Another showed a massive Soviet D-30 howitzer rolling down the road in the back of a Navistar 7000 transport truck from the U.S. Just never ends. One dramatic video first seen on Halvash Telegram showed a Humvee with an M240 machine gun in the back. Taken from the point of view of the man behind the gun, the shot lingers on the spent ammunition littering the top of the Humvee before panning up to show the Iranian flag fluttering in the breeze above a building at the border. Iran reportedly struck back at Afghanistan with mortars. I don't get the job. What was that dude doing? That big gun like that. I don't think that's how you use that. You get the idea. You get the idea here. What a horrible sound, man. Grown men in fear. Let's do this water story, and then we will go. Actually, we'll do our 2 water stories real quick, and then we will go to the homies and check in with them real quick. So we talked about water wars right there. The water wars starting in Afghanistan and Iran, and we have Arizona announces limits on construction in Phoenix area as groundwater disappears. Arizona officials announced Thursday the state will no longer grant certification for new developments within the Phoenix area as groundwater rapidly disappears amid years of water overuse and climate change-driven drought. New study shows the groundwater supporting the Phoenix area likely can't meet additional development demand in the coming century, officials said at a news conference. Governor Katie Hobbs and the state's top water officials outlined the result of the study looking at groundwater demand within the Phoenix metro area, which is regulated by state law that tries to ensure Arizona's housing developments, businesses, and farms are not using more groundwater than is being replaced. The study found that around 4% of the area's demand for groundwater, close to 4.9 million acre feet, cannot be met over the next 100 years under current conditions. A huge shortage that will have significant implications for housing developments in the coming years in the booming Phoenix metro area, which has led the nation in population growth. So what do we do, and how is this going to play out? These water crises of the Southwest. And then we had this water story as well. This shit's crazy, man. This actually really bothers me in general here in the Midwest and in Iowa. We have, a lot of beautiful lakes that would be amazing to swim at, but they're just full of all this horrible runoff from big agriculture and all these things. So the water is essentially, you can't even get in it or anything like that because of the threat it poses. So this article from The Sun: beach fear, urgent holiday warning is toxic seaweed covered in flesh-eating bacteria washing onto beaches in top tourist hotspot. Holiday makers have been warned to be wary as toxic seaweed, feared to be covered in flesh-eating bacteria, washes up on the beaches. The thick brown algae known as sargassum have been blanketing shorelines in South Florida, and scientists believe it is infested with hazardous pathogens. This person doesn't care. God, what is this creature doing? What is this creature doing? Right? What are you doing, man? The thick brown seaweed is believed to be infested with flesh-eating bacteria. This lady, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do the mean joke. I feel like I can. I'll leave it. But what is this lady doing? She's just wandering through that shit. Vibrio bacteria produce toxins that can damage the intestines. Sargassum is ideal host for the Vibrio bacteria, which lives in certain coastal areas and thrives in brackish water to invade. And that's the same thing that essentially happens in the Midwest and other places where it gets pretty hot and humid. Those temperatures in the water rise to a degree that all the harmful bacteria can surface and live, and it thrives in sort of that hot, warm zone. Not super hot that it cooks it off, the warm zone. Not super hot that it cooks it off, not super cold that it can't live. That sweet spot of heat. I'm sure that's what's going on there. All right, that's a little bit of a news blitz. We have I got 4 other stories. And actually really just 2 other stories. So let's go to the homies with just a quick little preview. Bombshell: Jamie Foxx, paralyzed and blind from blood clot in the brain, suffered after the you-know-what thing. This person claims, I think the story was already out there. Actually, I'll save my phrenology story for final wrap up. Yeah, here's this. Nothing to see here, of course, and I'm pretty sure this story had already been rumored. This is a dramatic turn of events surrounding the megastars with serious illness. Veteran Hollywood journalist H.J. Weber revealed that a supposed well-placed source told him Fox 55 suffered a serious medical episode after being pressured to getting COVID back. Oh, I said it. It's all over now. So Jamie had a blood clot in his brain after he got the shot. He did not want the shot. The movie's on. He was pressured to get it. We know the familiar tale. And again, these celebrities, they're the ones who get sort of the hype of it all. Something like that. Countless people that we'll never hear about with those things. Pretty crazy though. Okay. Boom. We'll bring these up. And let's bring the homies up. We lost a bench, man. We'll bring Moose, man. Moose, you in the house, my brother. Moose is not in the house, and that is okay. We'll keep going with the news blitz. What's up, Rob Cleveland? Yeah, Dan, to which part? I know we're gonna have to include something here in the news blitz, so it's not all so depressing. Maybe a positive end to the morning show or something like that. Lubass says our fears are used to mold and manipulate the mind of the plebs to create a slave mentality that looks to the massa to protect us. He also says AI will never happen. It's all part of the social conditioning matrix. I largely agree with that to some, degree, but I'm not so sure. I think they overhype the AI stuff, like in the article that we shared earlier. Something's going on there. Okay, but let's do this phrenology story. The shape of your brain may strongly influence your thoughts and behavior, study says. Research suggests that brain size curves and grooves, all the smooth brains out there I hear discussed, may play important roles in its function, perhaps even more than the connection between the neurons. Now, this is a super interesting idea, actually. Though much about the brain remains a mystery, scientists have long surmised that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are the results of billions of interconnected neurons that transmit signals to each other, thereby enabling communication between regions of the brain. But a study published Wednesday in the journal Nature challenges the idea, suggesting instead that the shape of the brain, its size, curves, and grooves may exert a greater influence on how we think, feel, and behave than the connections and signals between neurons. So this is just mind-blowing, actually. Because anyone that's sort of been, learning about the brain and all this, it's all been about neuron activity. And the activity of the neurons has been compared to, the computer and all that. The human brain is a computer. And so the emphasis has been on the neurons and all those, activities in the brain. But now they're saying the actual shape and all these things are what matter. The research team in Australia arrived at the conclusion after taking MRI scans of 255 people's brains while the participants performed tasks like tapping their fingers or recalling a sequence of images. From there, the team examined 10,000 different maps of people's brain activity gathered from more than 1,000 experiments worldwide to further assess the role of brain shape. Next, they created a computer model that simulated the way a brain size and shape affect waves of electrical activity, better known as brain waves. They compared that model to a pre-existing computer model of brain activity that closely aligns with the understanding of neuron connectivity as the driver of brain function. Comparison showed that the new model provided a more accurate reconstruction of brain activity shown in the MRI scans and brain activity maps than the prior model. The geometry Pang, studies lead author and research fellow at Monash University in Australia, likened the significance of brain shape to a pebble making ripples in a pond. The size and shape of the pond helps determine the nature of those ripples. The geometry is pretty important because it guides how that wave would look, which in turn relates to the activity patterns you see when people perform simple tasks. And I just wanted, what blew my mind about this was this idea that was very popular in the early 20th century and maybe even the late 19th century, maybe it was more the 19th century, of the idea of phrenology. So there were people who would feel the shape of, people's skull and sort of give them like a horoscope reading based on the shape of their head. And that was called phrenology. And phrenology was called pseudoscience. So now we have, see, a genuine husband, an unreliable husband. Seems a little racial. Let's just ignore it. Oh, this is an article actually. Talking about, oh, the same article. Oh, yeah, this is interesting. So always a little, let's see how this person frames this. So phrenology was called a pseudoscience and all that. And that model was essentially abandoned for this neurochemistry, neuron idea and all that. And now they're just like bringing it back. This is, it's always a little exciting when your research area shows up in the news, especially when your work inclines to the obscure. This is even the case when the thing you study is about something better left in the past. No one should want to bring back phrenology into the present day. See, and look at that implicit bias in the thought process. So how many of these pseudosciences that were, discarded because of rationalism and all that are now going to be brought back? And yet, every few months, a scientific study hits the news and the cycle begins anew as the world rediscovers or reinvents phrenology, the 19th century science of judging character and potential based on the shape of the skull. Most recent case of the reinvention of phrenology appeared just weeks ago in Nature Communications, in an article entitled "Tracking Historical Changes in Trustworthiness Using Machine Learning Analysis of Facial Cues in Paintings." The authors, we won't read all their French names, a group of neuroscientists and social scientists examined European portraits between 1500 and 2000, applying an algorithm they developed that estimates trustworthiness based on pre-identified set of facial features. Through the application of this algorithm to thousands of Western and European portraits, they found that trustworthiness displays in portraits increased throughout history. And further, trustworthiness displays increased with affluence preceding changes in trustworthiness. The author ties the supposed rise in trustworthiness to the decline of, and this is so speculative, this is interesting. The authors ties this supposed rise in trustworthiness to the decline of interpersonal violence and the rise of democratic values observed in Western Europe. Being either European, and we'll leave it there. But you get the idea. Let's see this picture. Look at these two pictures, they're funny. Building on recent advances, this is a tweet by them. Building on recent advances in social cognition, we designed an algorithm to automatically generate trustworthiness evaluation for the facial action unit. So this is a little different. Makes me think that article, I should have finished reading that article. But you get the idea, man. So phrenology back in. And we will leave that right there. I got one more, and then I'm going to interact with you. I'm going to get out of here and handle my business. So I wanted to share this as well. This is etymological fallacy. And I believe Toilet Bowl Earth brought this up, or he spurred this the other night talking to Paul Unslave. I think he said something like the word concept fallacy, and I think that connected with this. In classic Aristotelian logic, an etymological fallacy is committed when an argument makes a claim about the present meaning of a word based exclusively on that word's etymology. It's a genetic fallacy. What's a genetic fallacy? Fallacy of origins, fallacy of virtue, which basically says what came first is best. Fallacy of irrelevance, in which arguments or information are dismissed or validated based solely on their source of origin rather than their content. In other words, the claim is ignored or given credibility based on its source rather than the claim itself. So that's a genetic fallacy. It holds a word's historical meaning to be its sole valid meaning, and that its present day meaning is invalid. This is a linguistic misconception. The inverse negative form of the fallacy treats the current meaning as the sole true meaning, requiring the negation of the etymology from which the current meaning was derived. And we'll just read this part, and then we're going to go to Shan and see what's up. An etymological fallacy becomes possible when words meaning shifts over time from its original meaning. Such changes can include a narrowing or a widening scope, or a change of connotation, amelioration, or pejoration, pejorative, by making it better or worse. In some cases, modern usage can shift to the point where the new meaning has no evident connection to its etymon. One example of a word which has greatly changed its meaning is decimation, which originally referred to reduction by a tenth, but now typically refers to complete destruction or a drastic reduction. Another word with a controversial meaning, and this is interesting, they chose this, I didn't see this. Another word with a controversial meaning and a misleading etymology is anti-Semitism. The word was coined in the 19th century to replace Jew hatred. It explicitly defined Jewish people as a racial group. Modern anthropology and biology overwhelmingly reject the concept of race, and the term Semite is now largely obsolete, with the notable exception of the name of the Semitic languages. The etymological fallacy asserts that anti-Semitism is now restricted to Jew hatred, but includes opposition to all other Semitic peoples. So you see that a lot, right? Just because a word was used a certain way at one time does not mean that that's 100% the usage of the word now. There we go, man. I think that was that's our news blitz. I think that was about an hour of news, and there we go. All right, let's see what's going on with the chat. We lost some viewers there. We're in competition here. Let's see how the competition's doing. The numbers. What do we got to shoot for you? So this is our first day of the Friday. I've obviously been away from the channel and from YouTube for a while, so it doesn't surprise me. What do we got? So we're beating OTW news with 8 watching. Z is winning the morning broadcast race with 56 watching. And we're sitting here with 11, which I don't think is a bad start, frankly. Once people get hip to what we're doing here, I think we will be all right. So we're going to go now. I got one other video. Maybe I'll play that. So we'll see what's up. What's up? Move you around. I don't know how people get up this early and do all this. Sort of crazy. Sort of wild. Morning show we're doing. Yeah, but how do people see, man? How do people like that? Was that news blitz cool? Are we over? Good day to you, Truth or Cock, going Renaissance Production. Do we like that news blitz? I know it does. It seems, I bet a lot of people have this experience in this community that at different parts of their experience, they were super into the news. Because I know we largely don't cover current events at all, it seems, on these panels, unless it's just such a big event that everyone's talking about it. I feel like we haven't really had one of those moments recently. So a lot of this stuff, like I said, some of these drone attacks recently, I thought would have gotten a lot more hype and attention because they sort of indicate where the future of war is going to go. The start of the drone wars, and it's sort of under the radar. So I hope people like that, man. I think it would be good to connect. And I know a lot of these stories from the mainstream news can't be trusted and they're full of agendas, but you got to at least kind of keep your ear at some level to what's going on there so that you're informed and so you can kind of see where it's all taking shape. Gary Baxter seemed to enjoy the news blitz. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I think I'll start at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, and maybe a little bit before that for the next week, and we'll kind of see where our numbers go, and we'll see what's up. WhatsApp liked it too. The news blitz. Cool, dude. We'll do more of that. And like I said, I hope anyone's welcome to share that segment on their own channel, maybe it's filler for news. And I would also like to, that video I played at the beginning takes a little more effort, but I think I'll do that too for the next week. Some of the hot moments that occur on these panels and on these YouTube streams, maybe I'll chop up the videos and we'll make that, we'll incorporate that part of the morning show as well. We'll make videos and add some slides and images to the videos, maybe to flesh out what's being discussed or to hype whatever is going on. Let's see. I had one other, wanted to play this video. This was another example of a story. And I like this channel. Where is it? The Clown Planet channel. They make super short, interesting videos on current events as well. Where's excuse me. Oh, here's Clown Planet. Here, we'll click this one. I wanted to play the garlic one because it's sort of like the
2 days ago, the threat team assassinated President Will. And yet,
oh my gosh. Wearing adult diapers, Taylor Swift. You gotta love that. You gotta love that. They came out. They said the Royals or whatever. The headline, who cares? But they said they're gonna stop. They're gonna stop writing books and dishing the dirt on the royal family. They've had enough. No one actually fucking cared at all. So they're giving it up. Wow, look at that. Hold up. Sweet little AI lies. New York lawyer faces sanctions after using ChatGPT to write brief filled with fake citations. At ChatGPT, you don't have to think for yourself anymore. Any of that. It's gonna be the greatest thing ever. But that's not how reality works. Oh man, the zero hedge. And I think, so the headline, half of all Americans now have chronic disease. That number's way over half, right? Because you got people, don't even go to the doctor that have chronic disease. Look at that, sorry son of a bitch. All right, I wanted to play this garlic article or video real quick too. Oh shit, I lost it. Hold on. God, man, people are crazy. I'm sorry, that picture just cracked me up. That dude with a tarmac on his fucking hand, the sorry son of a bitch right here. Oh man, all right. I want to play that. Cracks me up.
a tiny site in Farmingtown has uncovered a type of garlic so potent, scientists have used it to stop COVID in its tracks. Lab testing revealed 3 particular types of the vegetable can stave off both the influenza A and the COVID Delta strain.
In a tiny place called Iraq, 95% of Australia's garlic is produced, and for what's considered a pretty ordinary vegetable, people growing it say they've made an extraordinary discovery. About 340 types of garlic in the world, but the growers in Iraq felt theirs were superior and could help fight illness. Turns out they were right.
Yeah, we did lots and lots of tests with lots of different products, and we found one of their products really was quite active.
The reason they got the Doherty Institute on board was because they wanted to prove the garlic supplement they were developing wasn't a gimmick and actually had antiviral properties. And so Iraq's garlic was trialled and tested for 18 months.
One garlic variety actually consistently reduced the infectiousness of the virus, and some forms of it actually degraded the virus genome, indicating complete virucidal activity.
Madness. And you remember during that period, all that stuff, was just laughed at, mocked, and ridiculed. And these people think you think eating garlic can stop it, the effect, all that magical thinking. It's just like the phrenology shit, right? Here we go, OTW news climbing. We're up to 13. We're up to 18 here. Z, send it 60. We got to get this son of a bitch. Look at this sorry son of a bitch right here. We got to get this guy. Let's check in our competition just for a minute and see what, we're competing.
Every day,
oh, of course.
Not getting along, we haven't gotten along in years. And she doesn't drive a car. She lives down here.
This grouchy old son of a bitch, our singer.
I don't know.
Sour pussy.
Myself.
We can't lose to these folks, guys. Not for long.
I'm just trying to take one day at a time, try to work out, eat healthy, and stay focused. And not really getting into my imagination as much. And believe it or not, this metaverse does help. People like your channel, I really missed it when it went down. I love Paul. Paul really just, what can I say? I thank God I found you guys.
I appreciate that. I really do. And again, that's helps motivate me because then I realize I come back here. And Uncle Rick, there's a lot of people who've expressed a very similar sentiment. They've expressed
I'm all right if he goes again, frankly. I'm jump out the window.
And I go, okay, people value what I'm doing here. Uncle Rick values it. A lot of people value it.
It's all right.
Hundreds, if not thousands at this point.
What?
And not everybody's as vocal as you are, Uncle Rick. So that's what I realize more and more is that I can come here, do my thing. People can take it or leave it. It's like anything. It's like when Uncle Rick, I used to have I was an audiologist. Many people know that about me.
I say leave it. I'm going to jump out the window. He said you can take it and leave. I'm going to say leave it, dude. Come over to the 1000 Morning Show. Get some real information. Not just sitting around in the pussy powwow talking about nothing. Let's actually get some here. Let's check on OTW just real quick, too. And of course, it's all love. I'm just joking around. Don't get offended.
Hey, it's not our fault they can't bling their trailer park out like us.
Oh, hold up. I think my producer's finally jumping in here. What's up, producer, Miss? How you doing, man? Is that here or is that there? I'm confused now.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just saying, these guys don't have the bling for their trailer like we do. They don't understand how to get that bag. So they need to come here, get the information so they can get that bag.
That's what I'm saying, man. So what do you think? What else could we add to this morning show, dude, that could get us the numbers we want? I want those Z numbers, man. What do we got to do?
Well, you need something better to look at, sir. Don't mind me for saying that, but we need some beautiful women, beautiful patriot wives.
You're so right. You're so right, Miss. It's so early though, right? How are we gonna get? We need some European cuties. Truly bursting. Can we get some of our Swedish women to show up here early morning? Truly bursting. My mafia Swedish hitman. Perhaps he knows someone. But yeah, that's a good point. So get some chicks. I agree. What else you got, producer? Miss?
Well, we need some more tips on getting the bag because most of these people, that's all they care about is the bag. So if we at least make sure that 99% of the content is about the bag, we'll be all right.
Ooh, I like that. A financial segment, right? How can us poor whites get the bag? I like that shit.
How can you turn trailer trash into trailer treasure?
You really can. I mean, I know some ways. You ever lived in a trailer park? Oh yeah, you did.
I mean, most of my childhood years were in multiple single wides, double wides, little communities.
Yeah, I think I have an origin story in a trailer park too. I think that was my first domicile. With my mom was a trailer park, so I'm a big fan of the trailer park. But we got to get up out of there. You know what's good about trailer parks is they are fairly affordable. So if you're a poor white and you're trying to figure out how to get to the bag, getting yourself an affordable trailer for housing. I mean, that's step one, right? Get that roof over your head. Don't be out in your Taurus or something, right? Like some of our friends.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to regret it down the line when he has all these back issues from sleeping in a car.
Yeah, I can't imagine that, man. Living in a car.
And that's just that's not me being mean to him. That's me. You know, he was looking out for Paul the other day, telling him how he needs to Paul needs to fix his diet. He needs to do more exercise and stuff. I'm looking out for Brian O'Shea. I think he needs to get out of his car because it's going to stunt his growth. It's definitely stunting his social life. It stunts that. There's so many aspects to having a trailer that Brian O'Shea would actually improve his life and his standing in society with.
Yeah, maybe we could start a fundraiser. Let's get Brian O'Shea in a trailer. I mean, I think that could be a goal. Maybe if we keep this going, the $1,000 morning show, a couple $1,000 you could probably buy a trailer. Really
straight to the bag. You know, we can show you guys don't know how to do it. We'll show you.
Who is talking? Oh yeah, well, and that's the thing with Antoine, right? It's like, Antoine, help us poor whites out and give us some actual tips. I haven't heard any tips from that dude. Like,
Well, his biggest tip is just not to be poor or white.
Exactly. When I was mentioning this yesterday, it's a little controversial, but I want everyone to know that if they participate in this show, you will be an honorary poor white. Just for coming through the $1,000 morning show, you get to claim the poor white status. I don't know why you would or what you would get from it, but I'm offering that to people. Like the N-word pass, I'm offering the poor white pass to anyone that wants to get down.
But do they have to give up their reparation checks in order to get that pass?
No, absolutely not. Lubass coming in with a morbid thought. I was born with a silver syringe in my arm. Oh my God. Lubass. That is sad. It's a little depressing. See, that's the problem with doing these morning shows, Moose, is like you hang out with, these poor whites, you might be depressed the rest of the day, to be honest. I think 76er is feeling this energy right now. He's not feeling so good about his poor white status. But we need to use that. So once you become a poor white and you're a little, you're feeling a little depressed, you're hungry, you don't have much going for you, you got to use that as motivation. You got to take that and run with it.
Straight to the casino, right? Go straight to the casino, put it all on poker. And if you don't have an ID, go down and get yourself your homeless free ID from the Nevada State Board or whatever it is.
That was so funny, man.
I mean, come on, like you're literally addicted to gambling that bad that you're gonna go and get a free homeless ID so you can go back to the casino and gamble when you don't have money to give away. That doesn't make sense to me, man. That's a poor white mentality. That is how you lose the bag. You're not supposed to lose the bag. We're supposed to get the bag.
In your experience being in Las Vegas there, I mean, that's probably what made you such a crazy, jaded person out here on these YouTube streets, seeing all those gamblers. I've never been to Vegas, man, but just knowing my personality, I know if I went there, my whole soul would just like bottom out.
Dude, you see the absolute worst people in the casino, the absolute worst. You see some amazing people as well. Some people that know how to have a good time with gambling, some people that know how to play cards and just enjoy themselves. They know how to drink a glass of scotch or whatever and not get too crazy. But that is like the 0.05% of people in this world. Now, what you get is you get 99% of assholes who go in there and they try to hit on the waitress. They try to hit on the dealers. They try to act like they own the place. And it's embarrassing, man. It's like 99% of the people that go to casinos suck. And the biggest thing of it is they're losing, right? And you can tell them straight up. You say, look, maybe you should take a day off. Maybe you should take a couple hours off, walk around, stop sinking all your money into the table. And like nothing you do can help these people. Like you can give them the number, you can kick them out of the casino. They'll just go to the next casino. These people are literally like, I've had people in the casino for over 24 hours straight. Like I went home, went to sleep, took a shower, shaved, went back to work, and they're still there gambling. That's the kind of thing that Brian O'Shea is going to be in 5 years if he doesn't stop what he's doing.
God, it's funny, it's the operant conditioning of the casino, right? The lights and the feeling and that people get sucked into in that, but like from another angle, it's like, what a horrible reality, man. All these opportunities in life, and that's sort of what you decide to do with your time. I don't know.
Dude, the flashing lights, man. The free drinks. You get to sit there and get sloshed. You get to act like an asshole in front of everybody. And generally, it's accepted up until a point. And this is the sickness that you're forced to deal with when you are a casino manager. You actually have to deal with a certain amount of abuse and debauchery every single day of your life.
Is there a higher suicide rate for like the city of Las Vegas? There has to be, right? Like I wonder how many times people whack themselves in Las Vegas.
There's tons of people that actually whack themselves, but back in the day, it wasn't the people that whack themselves. It was actually the people that own the casinos, people that own credit that these gamblers would be using because they couldn't stop, and these gamblers would take out so much money, kind of like the Colonel who controlled Elvis, that they wouldn't be able to pay it back. So either they would be indebted to the casino for the rest of their lives, or they would be found in South Lake Tahoe. There's a reason why when they put a submarine down in Lake Tahoe that they won't show what they found in Lake Tahoe. You can look it up. All the evidence is there to point to the fact that the mob did. There's a lot down there.
Mob just tossed people out. Well, that was a story from Mexico, man. Did you hear that one? The 45 bags of human remains because they're searching for missing call center workers. And I wonder what call center workers. It didn't specify, but I wonder what call center they were working at. Like a call center is a pretty general term, right? I mean, like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a very general term. It could be one of those like late night call centers for all those lonely men out there. Yeah, Minnie Moose didn't like that one. She didn't like that answer. What I'm thinking though is it could just be all those people that you call for customer service that never actually give you the customer service that you're supposed to get.
I think it is, but then like, why would they whack them? That's what I don't get. Like, what would be the point of killing those people?
Haven't you ever been on hold for like 3 hours or whatever and had to deal with these people? And then they're like, oh, restart your computer. And you're like, okay, I restarted the computer 10 times. All right, now what do we do? Okay, restart the computer one more time. I mean, see, that's probably what drove the people to the brink. I mean, they just had one more time. One more time. And then all of a sudden now you got.
You're cutting out, sir. God damn it. My producer just cutting out. But yeah, I bet the call center people, they're just like, maybe they killed themselves. They're just like, this whole thing, the computers suck. The medicine doesn't work anymore. All that type of stuff. Golden Renaissance is happy about his poor white pass. You got to do. I think you already had that though. I think you had that, but maybe he's not poor white technically. Yeah, people not getting the. Ben says nobody heard what Anton said about poor whites. And Ben, I don't know if you saw my comment. I want your hot take on the morning show war. So if you got some opinions, I'd be glad to hear them. But yeah, Anton's our new black daddy. That's where the term poor whites is coming from. Anton Daniels, I think we got here. Let's go channel. He said he's ready to help us poor whites get out of our poverty, and I, for one, can't wait for his assistance. It was this guy, the Millionaire Morning Show, who inspired the Thousandaire Morning Show, which technically is a Paul and Slave creation, so we're not owning that. But if he somehow denies me, go ahead.
Is there going to be some kind of code for Talcott?
Is there going to be what for Talcott?
Co-parenting. Now that he has two daddies.
Oh, right. How does that work out? Visitation and weekends and all that? Right. They got shared. So what do you think happens with your friend? I mean, I know you had a closer, intimate relationship with him. Does Talcott come back today? Little a Friday night flair? I could see that happening today. Him coming in hot.
Is today the 3rd? I think he's already scheduled for tonight. He's coming back hot. He's coming back. It's Talcott. Fuck you Friday, I believe.
Is that it? All right, let's check the numbers and we'll go see you on Jack Talcott. So we got Z at 57. We got OTW at 16 and Thousandaire Morning Shows at 25. So we're in the second spot for our first day, and after a 2-month hiatus, producer Bruce, that's not bad, right?
That's not bad, especially since I showed up late. And to top it off, we have to say that OTW actually gave us today's show because he was simping too hard yesterday. If he wasn't simping for Laguna so hard, I think that his numbers would be way, way higher. But we saw his eyes yesterday, we saw his heart, and we saw his head. We saw all those things yesterday, and so people are giving him a break, I think.
He did seem a little shook, and I got to admit that was partly why I sort of felt motivated to do this. Because I just wanted him to see, Z's nothing to be scared of. He's not a scary guy. You know what I mean? We can compete. What's up, Benton? I think Benton has a hot take on these morning show wars. I kind of wanted to hear from him. So what do you think, Benton? You think we got a chance in the competition here?
Well, that depends, sir. What are you going to do? You're going to go live every day?
I think weekdays. I think we're going to go for a week and see if we can put a little heat on Z there.
Well, that's the royal we, right?
Yeah. Tell us about that royal we, dude.
Well, I'm always available to help people. I don't know. I'm an excellent collaborator.
Yeah, how do you think we can go for that top spot? What improvements can I do, or what segments could we add? Or
well, what I would do if I was the one steering the ship is I would start by making sure to go live more or less the same time every day. You need a couple of weeks of that to sort of get everybody trained, because we can have a regard for the audience, and we know a lot of these folks, but the reality is until they're trained up, they're not really showing up until you train them to show up.
Got it. Do you think and Mr. Unslave checked in last night? Starting at 6 is a little early for him, but I was hoping he could join us as well. So maybe the 7 to 9 Central Standard Time, and then Paul could hop in at the end and maybe give a commentary on what's happened or what's going to happen or something like that. I think we'll help the program too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you get into how much time do you have to devote to this?
It's a fair question.
So, you don't have to be the one running the entire broadcast. So you can have like an 8-hour live stream where you handle the earlier parts of the broadcast, and then by the time Paul comes online, if you've got to go do other stuff, we don't have to end the stream because you have things to do, if that makes sense.
Amen, Benton. We're trillionaires, right? Trailer park trillionaires. Sorry, I just got one thing to say. Is like we got stuff to do, man. We're out here making that bag, and so we got to show people that we can't be spending 8 hours doing nothing. We got to hit it and quit it, like any pimp would.
I would 100% agree. Yeah, we got to tighten it up a little bit, because we're sort of wasting our time and we're wasting other people's time if there's no meat, there's no substance to what we're doing. And Benton too, and Paul talked about this, maybe setting it up on his third channel, running the morning show there. And I think that would be kind of cool to what you're talking about. That maybe I could hop on, do my news blitz, get the morning going, and then sort of hand it off, to you or to whoever else is available. And then we could even restream that content on our own channel, if that even makes sense. See, that would have been the player move, is when this conversation started, if people would have come together and seen the potential of maybe sort of that collaboration in it. And I knew
it's all about passing the baton, right?
Exactly.
Well, it's about getting on a topic and staying on the topic too, though.
Yeah.
Like not for the whole time, but a little more focused. And the thing is, with all the panels, it's great for what it is, but it's very unfocused.
Yeah, and just gets kind of crazy, right? In the same argument, or the same sort of dysfunctional loop, which can be entertaining at first, and then at the end, I just see people checking out. That would have been the move if when this conversation started, some of these morning shows, would have taken the initiative and said, especially Z, Z could have found a cooperative way probably to, get a bigger success through cooperation.
Yeah, but he gets his success through vitriol and fire. Like that's his thing, dude. He's got passion. He's got a flame inside. And when he uses that flame, and he wields it in front of people, they get it's like a shiny object. They get intrigued and they're like, oh. And look, it made him successful today. Like people showed up.
Well, and I don't know how to say this without being a dick, but see, Moose, you just changed. Like while Yerk's talking, I'm listening, and my brain is writing something to build on what he's saying. But then you changed the topic to something else, so we never actually make any progress because it's not. Well, no, it's not that you. Well, wait a minute. It's not that you do that. It's that's what happens when we have multiple people on here like this. The conversation can never go anywhere because the topic is always changed to something else.
And I just knew exactly, and that happens all the time.
And again, I'm not blaming Moose. I'm pointing out something that I observed, which is what that results in is if we like what Benton has to say, we just don't get to hear what Benton has to say because Benton's brain just wrote a response on the topic, and now the topic has been changed, and I don't have something written for the new topic. So it's actually a way to rise to my highest level.
You cut out just a little bit towards the end. It prevents you from rising to your highest.
I can't actually contribute to the highest level I'm able to because I'm not facilitated in that by the people around me.
And you know what, dude? I knew this cooperation thing wasn't going to work, and people can say whatever they want.
How we're supposed to?
No, what you're supposed to do is realize that there's a topic
and that we need to stay on that topic for 5 minutes. But when you change it to a different topic, now we're just on a different topic. I mean, that's all I'm saying. It's not you, it's everybody does it. So I'm not picking on Moose here. Like, this is what the thing is.
I don't feel that.
Yeah.
I understand completely what you're saying. You're saying we need to stick to the topic. Otherwise, we're never going to finish anything. We're just going to keep going from one topic to the next.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't have anything to say when we go from one topic to the next unless I've already thought about it ahead of time. So that's why I don't talk a lot when there's a bunch of people on, because it's just constant shifting of topic.
Well, and I don't know if you guys see his comment. Christos is saying he's going to take his ball home. He's tired of maybe the competition here. He says, I'm not going to watch any of y'all free lives this morning. He's going to withdraw his support from all channels. And I told him not to do that. Pick the one he likes and rock with that, or pop around and do what you want. It's not about that. But to that point, when cooperation was mentioned, and people can say whatever they want, and it's all, we're all, the royal we bullshit and all that. But I knew the cooperation wasn't going to work because of the worthless fiat. I mean, that's really what the issue is if we're keeping it 100% real. Right? Most people aren't going to want to go jump on Paul's third channel, where if you get donations or support and all that goes to Paul, and that inner selfishness of our own, poor white greed. And that's what I see. And I think that's the subtext of why cooperation wouldn't work, because everyone wants their line to the back. But what's so stupid about that is that most people aren't going to want to go jump on Paul's third channel, where if you get donations or support and all that goes to Paul, and that inner selfishness of our own, poor white greed. And that's what I see. And I think that's the subtext of why cooperation wouldn't work, because everyone wants their line to the back. But what's so stupid about that is that if we really did think in a network way, that would probably get everyone closer to the bag. But just like reality, instead, the competition is going to mean only the top people get the bag, which is probably better anyways. Do you think that played a role, guys? Like people not wanting to give up their channel, their sole, sole proprietorship or whatever?
I believe that's what the main thing is with why people don't work together on here, is that people see it, they're looking at it as a scarcity mindset, whereas I'm looking at it as with an abundance mindset, where everybody here, regardless of whether you're going live at the same time, everybody can get fed. I believe that by bringing all these communities together, if people resonate with you, they're going to be here. If you resonate with Patrick, they're going to be there. And sometimes there's conversations on each stream that don't resonate with anybody. So it's like by giving them more options, we're actually doing the people a better service, and we're actually growing. We're growing, you know what I mean? Like our network is getting bigger, and more people will start coming to the community, and more people will start shipping off into wherever they fit in. And I think that's important, You're
borging just a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on today with StreamYard. It's kind of sketchy. Sorry.
Yeah, you're all good, dude.
Well, and real quick, philosophically, that's how I view it as well. Everything Moose just said.
Yep.
So we're just gonna gloss over the fact that there's demonic borging sounds coming out of fucking Mike's. Yeah, Mike's mic, Michael Cino's mic. What's going on here, man? I'm not trying to dox you, dude, but are you in the lodges, like participating in rituals? Because like you might be possessed if that's the case.
Community and more
demonic,
people,
quote unquote spirits. What's going on here?
Start shipping off into wherever they fit in, and I think that's important.
You're borging just a little bit. Yeah.
By Patrick, everybody here, regardless, they're looking at it as a scarcity mindset, whereas I'm looking at it as with an abundance mindset, where everybody.
Notice how it's not even his voice; it's a deep fucking voice. It's not his. What's going on here, man? Am I tripping out or?
Regardless of whether you're going live at the same time, everybody can get fed. I believe that by bringing all these communities together, if people resonate with you, they're going to be here. If you resonate with Patrick, they're going to be there. And sometimes there's conversations on each stream that don't resonate with anybody. So it's like by giving them more options, we're actually doing the people a better service, and we're actually growing. We're growing, you know what I mean? Like our network is getting bigger, and more people will start coming to the community, and more people will start shipping off into wherever they fit in. And I think that's important,
You're borging just a little bit.
You're fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on today with StreamYard. It's kind of sketchy. Sorry.
Yeah, you're all good, dude.
Well, and real quick, philosophically, that's how I view it as well. Everything Moose just said.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that. When you could even, it's funny. It's funny, man.
But the philosophy and the practice are two very different things, as we know.
That's it. That philosophy sounds great. The cooperation.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah,
I got to interrupt with the Brian O'Shea thing. I think this is directly related to what we're talking about. I think Brian O'Shea saw an opportunity to blow his channel up to the point where he could possibly monetize and get some money for what he's doing on his channel. And I think that's exactly the calculated move he made when he went to Anton's. And that's why I give him shit so hard, because I think that what he did was, instead of talk to Paul and have a conversation, which he could have had easily, he went and did his own thing. And I honestly believe it's basically about money. And I think that's what tells people apart. If it's all about money and that's all you care about, you're going to backstab everybody. You're going to do things that truly.
Killing me. I'm appreciating
I'll restart.
Like every third word is like burp, burp.
All right, I'll restart. I'll be back.
All right. Respect me. Yeah.
I want to jump in on the fiat part of it. Is you know, I think it's, and I don't want to pick on Brian either, but you know, these are people putting themselves on the public internet, and Lord knows, you know, I take my share of the business as well. So, you know, here I am with plenty of money, right? So presumably here's Yurt with plenty of money. Moose seems to have plenty of money. So look at the people who have the money woes, right? Even Paul, you know, part of that is, you know, he's sort of figured out a way maybe to live with less, but then he still has money coming in. But then you got O'Shea sleeping in his car, driving all around town, trying to scrape money together, and then going off into some fantasy land where he's going to somehow get rich, you know, like a get rich quick scheme, right? Like, what is this? Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that, you know, I just had $1,200 hit my bank account this morning. You know, is that a coincidence? I don't think so.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and I've said the whole time, I'm not really in it for the money. You know, I'm in the thousandaire category. I'm not hurting. I'm not, you know, it would be nice to be able to get some, you know, worthless fiat out of this, maybe at some point, but that's not really my.
Well, but sorry to cut you off. What I mean is, from the O'Shea part of it is, you know, I'm not thinking, okay, if I can get this $55 TaskRabbit job, I can put 20 bucks in my tank and then eat a sandwich. Yeah. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying, dude, that $1,200, I can live on that for 2 weeks, no problem. So now my brain is freed up for other things. And that's kind of the poverty mindset. It's like, it's this constant drain. It's this constant anxiety. And by the way, isn't that what Anton's talking about with the poor whites? That's exactly what that is. It's a draining of what the person would otherwise have to invest in themselves. It gets subverted into literal poverty.
Yeah. And dude, when you get on the other side of total poverty and you realize like just how stressful it is to live paycheck to paycheck and to be worried about that, and then when you get a little bit ahead and you realize how much the system like rewards those that have and punishes those who don't have, I mean, that is it. That is it. And that stress, that's why people turn to drugs and alcohol and all these like bad behaviors, because you're just so stressed out and you can't get ahead, man.
Definitely, man. I felt it too, because growing up super poor, I was, you know, trying to put myself through college. I got like the FAFSA or whatever, and I was working all day, you know, after work, school, and I was also paying rent at my mom's house and stuff. And we were struggling, man. And it was like we were living paycheck to paycheck. And when we finally broke the barrier, it was like, holy shit, dude, life is just so much more stressful when you're in it. When you're in the rut, dude, it is like the most stressful part of like being alive that I've ever had. I mean, every single day you're like worried about how you're gonna pay rent or how you're gonna get enough money so maybe you could have a little bit of fun on the weekend or something. And instead of having fun, a lot of times I'd be working. You know, I'd be like, oh, can I get that overtime, you know? And I get it, dude. But once you get out of the poverty like mindset, once you get one more paycheck ahead, if you can save for 2 more paychecks and then you can save for 3 more paychecks, by the time you're like not even thinking about it anymore, you're just like, okay, I can pay my bills now. Like what Ben was saying, you're not stressing about how you're gonna pay your bills. You're actually focused on how you're gonna do your next thing or your hobby or how you're gonna your new girlfriend or just you're able to focus your energy and your attention so much better.
Yeah, it's this crazy idea that being poor is expensive. That's the craziest shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
McDonald's is cheap, but the doctor bill later on is super expensive.
Well, it's like the difference between buying individual things versus bulk. Right? When I got to buy the thing that I just need immediately, it's way more expensive. But if I have a little bit of economic freedom, I can get the things I need in bulk and they become much cheaper. Or cars, right? Cars are like this, where I can't afford the nice car, but I end up paying more to keep my shitty clunker on the road than it would have been to just buy the nice car. And then I know in my family, that almost became like a sense of self, that poverty struggle, that clunker. My dad told me the other day, he went and got himself like a brand new car. And he's hated it the whole time and had all these issues. And he told me the other day, he's going to sell it here soon and go back to clunkers. I'm like, dude, why would you do that? Well, because he's been trapped in the poverty mindset. And he's actually now, you know, in respect to my dad, honor my father, but he's actually now thinking, oh, I'm going to sell that car because he's probably having economic issues. And he's going to get the clunker thinking that will get him out of the poverty cycle. But it's not.
Dude, holy moly, dude. We have very similar parents, okay? My parents actually just got out of what I would say is pretty low, you know, middle class, I would say. And they came into money through my uncle that passed away, right? First thing he did was buy a house. Paid full price for it, didn't negotiate, didn't even like look at more than like a couple houses. Second thing he did was buy 3 cars. One of them was a Hellcat with 900 horsepower. There was and then he bought a truck with every single gadget, gizmo, everything. And then he bought my mom a car for her with every gadget, gizmo. Then he bought a motorcycle for himself that he can't ride. He's to the point with his health, he can't even ride the motorcycle. He rode it home, and my mom thought he was gonna kill himself. His pride and his ego and all that midlife crisis shit came into play. But this is the thing. This is the poverty mindset. You think so long that you're working so hard to try to get something better for yourself, and then when you finally get access to those funds, you're still trapped in the poverty mindset. So you put yourself back into poverty by wasting all that money on shit that's not gonna fulfill you. It's stuff that he could have easily bought a $10,000 car or $15,000 car, and he could have went and invested the rest of that money, and he could have been not having to worry about for the rest of his life. Now they're already through their money and are already worried about how they're going to continue their lifestyle. Anyways, that's the poverty mindset. You got to get that bag and stop giving it away. I yield.
Yeah, that's a classic. I mean, is that the only way us poor whites get to the money is when a random estranged uncle dies? I mean, that's, you know, I mean, that's a little hyperbolic, but I mean, it's like, that seems to be the story. Just wait for uncle or auntie to die and write us a big check.
Why do you think grandma is always the favorite of the family? Sorry, I didn't mean to
No, that's absolutely it. No, you're good. You know, the cutting, I don't really mind, you know, in normal conversation, people sort of interrupt on an idea or something like that. So it doesn't bother me. You don't need to apologize. I know you're more just acknowledging the dynamic of the conversation, but I don't mind being interrupted that much. Really, if it's not yelling and repetitive and just bullshit, you go ahead and cut in if you have a point. But yeah, that does seem to be the thing. And so the poor whites, grandma dies or the uncle dies, and we get this money and we just do that like ghetto rich bullshit. It's the guns and butter conversation, right? We buy things that appreciate in value immediately.
Well, and real quick, people who, I don't know Moose's people, and so I'm not making this at anybody in particular, but generally, when somebody has almost no money and they're on alcohol and pills, and then they come into $100,000, I'm astonished that these people who are under the influence of alcohol and pills every day, I'm astonished that they wasted $100,000. Like, of course they did.
And dude, if you have a healthy mindset towards money and resources, that is so much money, actually. Like 100,000, not getting the big scheme, maybe it's not, but for someone who is essentially still in poverty, probably based on how much my family earns and our total number, we're probably still, maybe not. I don't know, but still, that's a
lot of money.
That's a lot of money, man. And you could have done so much with it. What about, just to tie back in a couple of these stories, move a little off this, what about like that garlic story? You guys remember people championing garlic during all that nonsense and then totally shitting all over that? And now they're just like, oh yeah, by the way, that did help. Any thoughts on that? Isn't that why just all the stories that were sort of like, don't listen to your kooky, uncle who's telling you to eat garlic? That's bullshit. You got to do this experimental tech. It's the only way. And now they're just like, several years later, they're just like, oh, by the way, that actually would have helped quite a bit.
Well, it comes back to what Well, it comes back to what I talk about. The general public is not processing data. So the fact that all of that was ridiculed 2 years ago, that's no connection to whatever's happening now. They're not processing the data 2 years ago. They're not processing the new data. It's just they just run with whatever they're told to run with. Doesn't matter what it is.
Exactly. There's no just like in the conversation, there's no continuity of thought or cross-referencing or reevaluating. It's just, and people won't even hear that story. Well, it's sort of like that phrenology story too. Were you guys familiar with phrenology at all before? I'm sure,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy that they're like, oh yeah, by the way. So how many of these pseudosciences are they going to go back and say, oh, actually there was something there?
Yeah, it's interesting, man, for sure.
When I know our friend Drew over at CBL, they like that smooth brain talking point. I've heard them say that a lot recently. I thought that was funny in reference to that article.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have wrinkles because they obviously aren't thinking. Their synapses aren't firing at all cylinders. And I actually wake up every day dreading dealing with the public. I'm nice to everybody. I treat them cordial with respect. I treat every guest, very well. But there are a lot of people in this world that are just walking through life on autopilot. And the autopilot scares the hell out of me. It really does scare me.
Yeah, especially on the interstate.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
That's the scariest part with the autopilot.
Well, they're watching TikTok videos.
Or they're streaming on panels, right?
Yeah. How many pounds is your truck, by the way? I don't know anything about trucks really, but other than I respect truck drivers. I obey, not pass them on the right. I give them, all the way. But how much does your truck weigh?
Anywhere between 33,000 and 80,000 pounds, depending on how it's loaded.
The reason I ask that is because people are really dumb to be putting their life on the line with 33 to 80,000 pounds. This is the kind of autopilot crap that scares me. You see a car, merging onto the freeway and they look over to the left and there's a truck going 65 miles an hour and they decide to go 35. It's like, is there something wrong with your brain? Do you need an extra cup of coffee? Do we need to let these people sleep in until 8 o'clock in the morning or something? Like, what do we need to do to turn this world around, to turn this country around, get people thinking again? Is it possible?
No, it's not possible.
And I hate to agree with that, Benton. We've had our discussions on that angle.
Yeah.
I mean, it does seem hard to imagine, how a mass awakening could even occur. And maybe that wouldn't even be desirable. I don't know.
Yeah, individuals, absolutely, but not collectively.
People do the way people cutting off semis is about the most insane thing.
Well, it's not even that they're cutting me off; it's that they should just speed up and get in front of me. They don't do that. Sorry.
People don't know how to pass. Actually, yeah, I won't go into the super sad story, but anyways, I was distracted for a second. But so cool, dude. So I was gonna go. I got about 20 minutes left, but I want to check in with the competition. I feel like we were just having a great conversation. I just want to take 1 minute and check in with the competition here
and
see what they're doing. Thank you all for the 26 people here, and let's just see what the competition is up to and what we need to do to improve our thing. So we'll check in with Z. See what this was talking about.
It does feel dreamlike in some way. Sometimes I often wonder if, like I said the other day,
what?
Is he talking about me again, dreaming?
That this physical existence is really the actual illusion. It's just a different way of looking at things, man. Yeah, but that's like,
how would be like, that Iron Maiden song? It's just a dream. The whole thing is just like some kind of.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, what is that?
It's funny, dude. I like heavy metal. I know you said you turned away, but like sometimes if I'm in a certain headspace, a certain mood, I'll put on like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. I really love Judas Priest like a lot.
Well, you know what that is. You heard it, chit chat.
Yeah, small talk.
It has its place, man. But I can't do it for the sake. I know you can't either. I can't small talk for the sake of small talk.
And not every day. Like a little bit, man. Or someone that I really enjoy, like good conversation with. I can kind of do that. But like for a morning show, man. Like every day, like you're just sitting around and just kind of.
Dude, it's sleepy. It's sleepy. Makes you want to go to bed, man. That's something you save for the night. Your pillow talk, man. The morning show's supposed to be full of fire and fury.
It's something to chew on, something to think about, something that you might leave and be like, oh shit, I'm gonna check that out, or that was an interesting, instead of just like, oh, life is like dreams, the Judas Priest song. It's like, well, where are we going with that? Right, let's see OTW. I'm sure I'd like to see OTW. If I don't end up pursuing this,
despite having a project that's fucked up, they have still referred us because we are diligent to continue to show the fuck up.
They show up, okay, but I think that just because they show up, they don't get a trophy. Just showing up to work doesn't give you a trophy. You actually got to show up and you got to hit it hard. You got to, like you said, give them something to chew on. Like these people are going to go about the rest of their day, right? And we're starting it off. Like if we start it off right, if we inspire them, if we get them to go do something to better their lives or just even think about something, I think that right there is way better than just sitting here horsing the dog.
Yeah, I completely agree. And respectfully to OTW, and this is something that rubbed me wrong a couple times, is like the entitlement to the conversation. Like there's a couple times OTW would be like, okay guys, say something. And it's like, well, I don't see that as my role as a host or someone, trying to communicate. I don't say, oh, I don't have anything to say. Entertain me, people who have joined the conversation. I think that's sort of the back attitude. You got to like prompt it. You got to direct it. You got to set the mark and move towards it and help everyone move towards it. Like you can't just be like, okay guys, entertain me. Say something interesting. It's like, what the fuck?
There's dynamics though about all these shows that I think we could take, and if we all brought them together, we could make a network, like an actual network, like a channel that runs 24 hours a day or whatever, and it has Benton, and it has you and me, and then it has Paul. If you can take these aspects of the show where he kind of sits back and directs from the back, there's good things about it to be taken from it. But as a leader, you have your show, and you're right, you have to direct the traffic. The one thing that I have against his show is he doesn't direct the traffic. There's oftentimes that we're discussing something that's very, very, very like intriguing to me. Something that I think is giving people real good advice, wisdom, knowledge, or something, and then somebody gets on the panel and they just totally derail it, and then for 2 hours it's bullshit, right? And then after that 2 hour mark, boom, it gets back to the conversation. So we lost 2 hours. We probably lost a lot of people that were listening to that conversation. Now we're starting that conversation over. The people that are in that conversation might not even know what the conversation started as. You see what I'm saying? So people are lost at that point. And I think that a lot of that is just, it's a shitty way to run things, but we can learn from each other.
Well, it's that scarcity mindset too, where people are just focused on like the 100-some people that sort of percolate in these panels that we're all participating in. But there's billions of people on the planet, and you really should be doing something to attract new audiences, not just sort of, that's that poor white scarcity mindset that I gotta like cling to the little bit I got, because if I let go of it, then I'm gonna lose it all. Well, that's a horrible mentality. And
there's only one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's 100 houses. Sorry, there's 100 houses in the trailer park, man. I'm selling vacuums. You're selling vacuums. All right, there's only 100 houses, man. I gotta sell those vacuums before you do, because I've got that scarcity mindset. I only go to the trailer park. See, I'm not opening my eyes to the fact that there's another trailer park down the street I could go to and possibly sell another 100 vacuums, right? And then another 100 and another 100. There's all these avenues we can possibly go if we just open our eyes and stop thinking that everything is so scarce. Anyways, I'm sorry to interrupt again. I keep doing it.
No, and don't apologize, man. I have you up because I want to hear from you and engage with you. It's a great point. And I even find myself disinclined. I see some other open panels, and it's that you're comfortable with the community that you participate in, but there are other open panels that if people really were trying to get their YouTube page popping, they should be going and clicking on these new channels, going in there, lighting the room up, sharing your stuff, and then bringing that audience back to the community. There's a dude, I forget his name, that I'm going to try to do this with. And this is what I was going to say. This homie right here, this is actually one of my homies, and he's like an OG YouTuber, the same as Patterson. And I've spoken emails and different correspondences with this dude quite a few times. I want to bring him around. He's a super interesting character on YouTube. I don't know if he participated in these panels. But, people like this that are sort of in the same thought process and all that, man, we need to be reaching out to people like this dude, and I'm going to, and get more people like this involved, man. And I want to show this dude I was thinking of who runs a panel. I think I subscribe to his thing. But people just get comfortable, and then they just kind of want to rest on whatever they think they've achieved, but they haven't. This dude, Stoned but Not Alone. He runs a panel that seems fairly active in a smaller channel, but he's running panels all the time. And it's sort of a chill. Again, it's a little boring for me chit chat. But, there's tons of people like this, man, that are doing a similar thing. That if people really want to get their channel going, we should be reaching out to people like this and showing up on their panel. Or London Man, man. I've been telling London Man I'm going to get on his shit for weeks, and I just haven't had the time. And then I'm just kind of disinclined. But those are the type of things that people are trying to build these panels they should be doing. Go to other panels and just hop on and speak your
I
shit.
gotta throw some credit out here though, where credit's due. And Jack's probably not gonna hear this, but Mr. Jack Talcott is actually one of the best dudes that's out there doing the work. People always are telling him he doesn't do anything, right? Well, he reached out to Wes Watson, he reached out to Antoine, he reached out to all these people, Jesse Howell, Aaron Gauchi. Regardless of whether you agree with these people or not, like Jack is showing you another example in the community of how you guys, I say you guys as the people in the audience, if you're a creator here, you should be taking notes about this, man. All he's doing is sending emails and just basically opening the door for conversation, and it's opening the door for those people that go to their channels to come to his channel. And dude, you got to give Jack credit. Like you may not resonate with his message, but you got to give the man credit. He's doing what a lot of you guys aren't doing. You guys are in your own box and you're not seeing that. I'm trying to get you guys all your boxes together. Let's get this sandbox big. Let's get it bigger and bigger and bigger. And then one day you'll look around and there'll be a swing set, and then there's a slide, and then there's monkey bars, and it's like there's enough for everybody to have fun.
But it can't be done just in the drama bonding way. That's not going to get us where I think any of us want to go. In a big picture, people that want to succeed at this, just doing the drama stuff, it's like a drug or something. It gives you that bump and that emotional response, but I don't think you're actually building anything doing that. Or you get a short bump off it, but it's not lasting.
It's a flash in the pan. It's like going to that restaurant where they cook on the table in front of you, and they get the fire all super hot in front of you, and it looks good and stuff, but it doesn't really do anything. It's just flair, right? And once you leave the restaurant, you're like, okay, the dinner was great, but you really don't talk about it again until you use it as an example. So those people will come for the drama, but once the drama's gone, those people are gone. You don't want those people. They're not going to resonate with your message anyways because they're there for the drama.
Yeah, and then you're stuck playing that role. Do you think, Benton, that the drama can create a successful channel just on its own?
Well, I'll take it back to your example of OTW saying, come on, guys, do something. It's like, you can't herd cats, man. So, like, not that I'm some great fucking genius of discourse, but I did 3.5 hours by myself the other day. And, dude, it's not 3.5 hours of scintillating content, but I don't have to have people come on and talk. So I don't believe it's possible to have a successful channel if the broadcaster is dependent upon that. But it can be a nice addition at times. It is compelling, and it does. People respond to it, absolutely.
Well, I don't know if you saw last night. It definitely gets attention, but I just wonder if it sustains.
Wait a minute. It's not sustainable with the same people. It's sustainable through a constant influx of new bozos.
Right. Yeah, I guess that would help, right? But I think the bozos almost start getting hit to how they're being used.
They do get hooked to that, and you got to actually like you have to keep going harder, and you got to keep pushing the bar because that's the problem when you use the same crowd. Like people, it's like Saturday Night Live. You know, when it first began, I thought there were some funny episodes way back in the day, but then you start getting hip to everybody, and you're like, this isn't funny anymore. It's not funny at all. You know, and so unless you push that bar so far, and the drama gets so crazy that people are like they can't distinguish whether it's real or fake anymore. That's where like it comes in, and then it gets really fucked up because people's feelings get hurt. Jack's feelings get hurt. You've got OTW who's getting his feelings hurt. It's like all these people are. I don't know, man. The drama is just like it's a sick game. It's a really sick game, and people don't know how to handle themselves with it. And if they did know how to handle themselves, and if you guys like knew how to like communicate outside of just the broadcast, we could actually work together, use the drama as a big hit. But people aren't using the drama as a big hit. They're using it as a flash in the pan, and then the next day it's gone. Like the Talcalian takeover could have been like an insane meme war for weeks. Like people could have made so much content out of it. But instead of doing that, they move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Now we got Anton, and Anton's the flavor of the week, and then it's gonna be some other shit. I mean, what's next? You have to go bigger than Anton now just to wow the people. You know what I mean? It's got to be bigger every fucking time, and you can't do that. Like eventually, it's gonna run out.
When with Anton, and it is just class. Well, first I want to make a point about OTW last night. And again, I like Patrick a lot. He seems like a cool dude. He seems like a super talented dude. But last night on Paul's show, he just essentially like, yeah, I'm just here to host. I don't have anything to share. And he was just kind of standing on that. And to the point we were just saying, I don't think that works. And then to the bigger point about like people cooperating and sort of the whole thing we're talking about, if they're not following like the narrative and the road signs, they completely miss the point. And that's like the Brian O'Shea thing with that Anton. It's like he could have gone in there and played an angle that, yeah, would have like blown the whole conversation up, and multiple people would have been able to, you know, make content from it or comment on it or push it in an interesting way. But instead, it just kind of ends up a muddled, convoluted. I don't know. It doesn't really pop. It doesn't go anywhere.
Well, now we're back to the lack of focus.
Yeah, and the lack of big picture. Like, you know, he's doing this poor white thing. Instead of going in there and doing that, he should have came in and said, hey, I'm a truther living in my car, drinking my own urine, and trying to gamble my money away, and just hit it and then gone from there. You know, and then engage the conversation at that level. That would have been the most interesting thing in my opinion. Instead, it's like, hey man, what's up, man? You know, it's like trying to be cool.
Well, no, he went in there like, oh, you're a piece of crap, dog. You're a piece of crap. And then he's like, Paul's your daddy or something, and put Paul's name out there. And like that was when like instantly he went from, all right, this is terrible, to like, oh, dude, this is like, dude, like, come on, bro. You know, like the way he approached it, and then to turn around and then start slobbing his knob. Like we all knew he was going to slob his knob from the get go, but you don't have to act like a hard ass and then turn around and slob the knob like that, dude. It's just that's sick.
And it's a lack of a realization that, you know, for certain people, and I imagine Anton's like this, I think complimentary to him isn't going to do anything because he doesn't really care about your opinions anyway. But if you provoked a worthwhile conversation, that would get the attention, that would get the respect. Instead, you just wandered it trying to like play nice and not even taking an angle.
Well, by the way, sorry to interrupt you. It's not a coincidence that you'll never see Benson in any of these situations. It probably won't see Yurt either. Like, because I recognize strategically, like there's no reason, there's nothing for me to gain by going into that because I'm not going to put the energy into making it into something like what you're talking about. But I also see that if I just wander into the room, it's probably going to be a fucking disaster.
Yes. I understand. And I inserted myself a couple times, sort of like with that Ian TV. But when I inserted myself, I came with a specific idea and agenda and purpose in me being there, which is sort of the purpose I play here in general, just bring up different ideas or different angles or sort of pushing back. Like if you're going to go serve the purpose, serve the conversation, don't just try to serve yourself.
Well, and that's where that's actually what I wanted to talk about today was all of these bozos going on with Anton. And dude, Flow State's appearance was just fucking appalling. Like I was just listening to this, like, am I really hearing this? Like these are some of the people in these panels. Like really? Like, I almost can't believe it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I almost couldn't believe it either. And I had a little back and forth with Flow State in the chat last night, and he said he's going to come through and give his perception on why he was up there. I cannot imagine what he's getting out of that at all. And yeah, it seems sort of embarrassing to me. I also thought with him it was interesting. He seems like a fairly competent person.
Yeah, that's a lie though. That shows you how sophisticated people are nowadays. That's a facade. It's like almost psychopathic in my. This is all my opinions. This is only my viewpoint.
He said that. I heard him say somewhere the other day that he was basically a psychopath until a few years ago.
So wait a minute. How come I can hear the guy talk twice and know that?
Yep.
Like how can I be that accurate? So of course he comes. Well, real quick, sorry. Of course he comes across like he's confident and he's competent and he's above it all. It's people believe that shit. I don't believe it.
No,
it's ridiculous. But yeah, go ahead.
No, but I was just going to add, when someone says I was a psychopath 10 years ago, that means they're still a psychopath. You don't just like that's a psychopath. You know, it's not a switch. That's crazy. It really is crazy. And why you would go up there, and I'm interested to hear what he says. Why you would go up there and share all? I mean, that's a poor white behavior right there for sure. Just here's my dirty laundry. I have no shame of it. I mean, he's talking baby mama madness. He's talking, you know, pretty ugly drug abuse thing that was going on. I mean, his wife, you know, no disrespect, but she seems sort of, I don't know. I'm not.
Why?
Why? They were definitely like, and that's what I wanted to ask him. Like, don't you see that the Anton is sort of pimping you for his purpose? And so why would you allow that?
Dude, it's too easy to see it. Like you can see it in his eyes. He makes the little like gestures and stuff on his face. Like you know damn well, like as a viewer, he's pimping the person on the panel. And I watched him do it with everybody that went over there.
Yeah, and is it just like a dislike for Paul? That's what I see. A lot of these people that are doing weird shit are people that Paul beat up on metaversally, and then they sort of harbored a grudge, and then they kind of wait for their moment they think to strike.
Yeah, but Brian has always been protected by Paul. Brian is the only one that Paul has truly jumped on the grenade for time and time again. He has misdirected the conversation away from O'Shea countless times. And for O'Shea to do that to him is like, that's even worse than what I did, in my opinion. And I've already fessed up to how I felt about all that.
This is one of my big things, What's Up says here. And I had this realization a couple months ago with certain folks. When people tell you who they are, believe it. I think that's so important in life. When someone tells you I'm this, I'm that, I'm a psychopath, I'm all fucked up, blah, 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 listen to them. They're, you know, it's
absolutely.
Yeah, and just real quick, and I got to use the restroom real quick, and then I'm going to come back and wrap it up. But talk on this point a little bit, Benton and Moose. What people do is and this, I think the sociopaths and the psychopaths know this, is that when I'm like, oh, I'm a piece of shit and blah, 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 the psychopath knows that many people are like, no, you know, they're going to immediately empathize. Broken people are going to empathize. And what do you guys think about that? I'll be back this morning.
You want to go first, Benton?
No, why don't you go ahead, sir, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, what I saw when Jack and Scott went over there was how I see most people act when they're narcissistic and they're of the world, right? Anton was like, "Oh, we need to get you guys over here. We need to get some resolution to this matter." And when he wanted to bring resolution to the matter, what he was really telling everybody in the crowd was, "Hey, we got some good shit coming up, folks. Get ready." He was basically pimping them into making an ass out of themselves, and he was making himself seem like he genuinely had a care for Jack and Scott and Brian. Whereas had they not been associated with Mr. Enslaved, Anton probably wouldn't have gave a shit. Now,
Yeah,
Jack himself is he's kind of so far into his own thing that he might have actually made an impact on Anton himself, which I saw. But when it comes to Brian or Scott, they don't have anything to bring to the table other than Paul's name.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So if I think about if for some reason I was around and Anton was trying to talk to me like that, number one, I would understand that he's flattering me for his own purposes. And number two, you know, I'm not skilled enough to get my points across in that format. I can't come to his broadcast. You know what I'm saying? So even if he was attracted to like whatever I've got going on, I can't really do my thing over there anyway. So I would know that. Like the fact that what does O'Shea think he's bringing to the table over there? Like he's not even really focusing on his own broadcast, but then I watch it. I like Brian's live stream. But like, how is that going to translate to what Anton? Like they're not compatible in my view. So why don't they know that? It's very confusing.
It's the poverty mindset where he saw that he might be able to get out of the bucket, right? And instead of grabbing Paul and pulling Paul up with him, he kicked Paul down back into the bucket to try to get himself out of the bucket, not realizing that was the only way they were actually going to get out of the bucket because he was still 2 inches shy of the top.
Well, yeah, and why don't people know this late in the game that if I tear you down, I don't go up as a result. That's not how that works. Like, what? Very strange, man.
And I just want to say, I think the 1,000 Air Morning Show is just an amazing success. We even have Z coming over here and choosing to participate and watch this show. I don't know if is he done or I think even Z wants to join the 1,000 Air Morning Show. Oh, he did wrap it up and then checked in. He must have jumped. I wonder how he saw the Lubass calling him a simp. But salute Z, and glad to see you're here. I'm not trying to shit on your program too much.
Sorry. Hey, let me finish up real quick on the flow state stuff.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to cut you off. I just had to
cut you off. But, sorry about that. So, you know, we all decide for ourselves what we're going to allow into our lives. And, you know, I think some people fall for this notion of acceptance and, you know, everybody has value because they're a person. And, you know, maybe that's true, but I don't accept people like Flow State into my life who've, you know, apparently been convicted of trafficking meth. And if you listen very carefully, he said something about forfeiting $120,000 worth of firearms to the government. Like, that's fine, man. If it's America, you can do the crime, you can do the time, you can do the crime. But, dude, I'm not involved with people like that. I'm not going to be involved with people like that. Have a nice life. You know, that's where I'm at. So that's really all I want to say about it.
Yeah, I agree too. And short-sightedness, man. Us poor whites, we get super short-sighted. You know, I think again, Flow State is a dude who's trying to have a channel. I always found him sort of a funny dude. You know, his one-liner. He's sort of one of the dudes that can come up with those quick, witty one-liners. But like those ego issues, man, where we don't want to say, you know, hey, Paul has a bigger channel. He's, you know, probably a better communicator in certain ways and has a full thing kind of going on. You know, that's what I look at. It's like I like listening to him. I like his show, and he seems open to co-creation. So why would I not utilize that or cooperate in that?
Right, but I think also like what you got to think about with these guys is
Yeah, go ahead. But I wasn't trying to cut you off. I was talking about the other one.
I think you might be breaking up.
Oh, Moose is breaking up? He's flicking in and out here.
Sorry, I got a phone call when I was trying to get my thought together. These guys, dude, they just, we got to understand that the people online, we don't know who these people are. We don't know where they come from. We shouldn't align ourselves with these crazy ass people. You know, we really got to like start doing our own things and standing on our own and not putting everybody else as a crutch and not, you know, aligning ourselves with some crazy ass people that can get us caught up. I mean, like Ben's saying, you know, Flow State, have a good life kind of thing. It's like, dude, we don't want to be online getting yoked with these people and being FBI targets for the rest of our lives. Like, we're trying to better our lives and we're trying to have a good broadcast, but these people are like legitimately fucking mentally ill, and you shouldn't fuck with those people because they you know, bad shit happens.
I want to welcome Z here. I got about 10 minutes. I'm trying to keep this in the 2-hour range, but I appreciate Z coming up. And I think you heard what I said, Z. I respect your show. I respect your intelligence and your communication. This is a bit of healthy competition is how I'm seeing it.
Hey, real quick before we go to Z, good to see you, Z. I'm a big fan, and I'm going to hang up and listen. Y'all have a good day.
Cool. Talk to you later, Benton. What's up, Z?
Hey, man, what's going on, dude? I just figured I'd stop by. Moose stopped over my place a little earlier, so I figured I'd just reciprocate. Yeah, man, I want to come up just let you know, man, that I think it's cool you're doing this, man. I feel no weird feelings towards you. I have to admit, yeah, look, the OTW thing, you know, I got a little smoke with OTW, given his presentation towards me and otherwise in the past and things like that. And, you know, it's funny, man. People want to generalize things, but the reality is it's such an immature way to look at the world to say it's like we all have our own individual relationships on some level with each other. So the point is people want to group things in, they want to create smoke when there's not. In reality, I feel in no way competition with you. I think our material here is vastly different, man. You have your vibe, I have my vibe. You know, the people are going to resonate to the material they want. They can go in and out. It's all good, man. So I just want to let you know, dude. You know, I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. I support people expressing themselves. I support people creating, and in reality, that's really what it's all about. So it doesn't have to be a whole fucking thing. I just want to come here and say that, man, because people are going to create narratives in their head, and I just want to let you know that, you know, I'm not really looking at any of it through that lens, dude.
Yeah, and I'm not really either. I do a little tongue-in-cheek and having fun. Some of my criticisms of these panels in general, I think you probably share the same thing, where it's sort of like, what are we doing? I think I've heard you express that. Not always being so stoked on what your channel's become. I thought it was interesting. We both sort of took a break, and then we have both sort of come back at a similar time. We departed at a similar time. You got a wonderful bad bitch yurt showing. I don't know if you recall that morning. That
well, you know, it's funny. That's one of the reasons I'm endeared to you is because you presented that morning in a certain way that, let's just say, brought a certain level of respect towards you, you know, in my mind, dude. Like your presentation there made me realize, you know, kind of gives me an idea of where you're coming from, you know, because the reality is, you know, I don't know why you took off, but there's a lot of reasons why I took off. And one of them was obviously my channel was under heavy cupcake attack, put it that way. And I realize now I probably didn't even have to take a break because they just all created some narrative and some thing that, you know, obviously the only weight it had was the weight that I gave it, right? So I actually gave them more credit than they actually deserved in terms of their attacks. But now the bad bitch shirt thing, you know, endeared me to you in a million ways. And yeah, dude, we kind of have different content. I'm very self-indulgent in my content. That's where I'm going with it, dude. It's really like it's going to be me going on some weird ego trip and monologues and shit. Certain people are going to be down for it, other people aren't. Maybe at different times. I don't see any difference. I don't see any problems with that, dude. I want to see people like you succeed. And when it comes to Paul, I said this on my show. I'm a fan of Paul. Right? I'm not going to necessarily come here and say I'm a fan of Yurt, I'm a fan of Moose, because that would it's not true. I'm not saying I can't. It's just fucking bullshit. Why am I going to come here and pander to you guys? You're probably not going to say the same about me. Maybe not. But I'm a fan of Paul first and foremost. It's always going to fucking be like that. You know, so that's my relationship with Paul. When I look at him, I'm always I don't even really like myself on his show because I want to fucking tune into Paul and get an experience as a fan, right? That's where I am. That's why I said the Flow State was on my show this morning. Not to bring it back to him, but he was part of the conversation. I said to him, I said, Flow State, okay, well, if you're not trying to use Paul as a come up, and if you're not a fan, then what are you doing over there other than being a fucking hater? And what does that really say about you? He seems like he should be more mature than that. I'm actually surprised by Flow State's presentation. Go ahead.
Yeah, did he give you an explanation as to what his intention was? Because we were speculating a little bit about that with the Anton thing. Did he say why he went up there and shared sort of this sordid history?
It's funny. You and I think alike on this topic is that when I pressed him for his motivation, you can tell he's not in touch with his own motivations, dude. He seems to have some lack of self-awareness. At least he's presenting as such. You know, either way, it is what it is. I mean, it's good content. See, that's the thing about the Enslaved one. He could turn anything into content. It's just like fuel for the fire. You know what I mean? And that's what I was looking at him with that Taoist. You can see the Tao in Paul. You can see his influence and where it comes. Where he's going to sit there. This is my take on Paul. You know, doesn't mean I know. And it's almost like that jujitsu concept. When you come at him, he's going to take your energy, flip it on you. He's going to make it something. And in the end, he's the one that's going to benefit. So he's always going to benefit from conflict, right? You're always going to lose because he's always going to take that standard. Because in the end, he's really not attached to the outcome. He doesn't really have an agenda that you can even participate in. So that's my take on the whole thing there.
And that's what I've learned from him, Z. I've learned that from him. And when it came to Talcott, the Talcott experience, the reason why I left and didn't want to engage with you on that is because the more I give time and space for people to say how I scammed him or whatever, the more people are going to actually believe that and stuff. Whereas the truth is, I went into the whole thing. He gave me respect and he gave me the keys to the castle with the thought that we would work together and I would be his partner. Along the way, I was doing my job. I was pulling my weight, and I think I did a lot of things in his best interest, but he wasn't liking it, right? And then he started to slip. He started to open up his narcissism, and he started to be angry with me. He started to yell at me. I don't deal with people in private like talking to me like I'm a fucking child or a fucking punk kind of thing. So I tried to bring that out into the public in front of everybody. Well, instantly his behavior changed once I hit the live button. So it went from, you know, being his normal self to being his character at that point. And so at that point, I just decided it would be better to just cut ties with him altogether and just send him some like content from the side. I wasn't like connected to the outcome of it or whatever. I've been watching Paul and I've seen how I can be a better tool to everyone and myself by not being attached to anyone. Like I'm not attached to Paul. Like I can hop into a show and I'm welcome. And if I show up at your show, like I have no expectations. If you yelled at me, I would let it go. If you wanted to demean me and stuff like that, I would let it go. I would have played along with it. I actually am learning to kind of go with the flow and enjoy that. And now I got to feed her because she wants food.
Yeah, go right on. Yeah, cool. Well, and I'll just say this too, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna try to keep this a little tighter and not just sort of ramble on and on. But Christos was in here earlier, and he said he's not gonna watch any of the 3 shows. Now, of course, he's in here on my chat, so he's, you know, I mean, he's making the comments, so he's already watching. And I know Christos, of course, you're watching all the shows, but I hope no one takes.
Christos is like a moose. You guys gotta understand. He does this to everybody. He does this to me. He does this to Z. He does this to Paul. He goes all these channels, and he plays good cop, bad cop in his own, you know, stream of consciousness. And he'll be back tomorrow, just like Jack Talcott. He's a mix of many of us on here, and he's doing it to keep our names in everybody's mouth. He's doing it to keep the controversy going, and we should all respect that and appreciate that. Yeah, I don't think his intellect is high enough to be able to utilize that as well as me. But Christos, once you get there, I will give you credit for it. Maybe a trophy, sir. I yield.
One more question for you, Z. I want your thoughts on this. What do you think is the main reason that cooperation cannot occur? We were speculating as poor whites. Is it a result of a scarcity mindset that at the end of the day we all are trying to get to the bag? And so if we all go over to ZShow and say, okay, he's the morning show, then Z's going to get the bag, and I'm going to cut myself off. Is that the bottom line? All these highfalutin ideals and principles, but at the end of the day, if we're going to start fighting over money, that's where shit gets real. Do you see it that way, or is it something else?
Here's the thing, I think that's a component to it. What I think might be a greater component is we're kind of, I've been saying this about myself, so I don't want to project on other people, but it's kind of, when you really want to do this, it's a medium for self-expression. It's kind of an artistic expression, right? So you want to come on here, and I'll just conjecture that for Yurt to get the best experience out of this endeavor, it needs to be a creative experience for you. Like any other creator, they call it content creator. So you're creating something. So if it's to be lasting, if it's something that's going to really be sustainable, I think you have to approach this with the spirit of creativity, just like any artist. So why don't we just say you're here expressing yourself in an artistic way, and so am I. And that if we just cede ourselves to somebody else, we're going to frustrate that creative endeavor in us, right? We're going to frustrate that creative spirit. So for me, if I want to come on here, I want to create. If there's collaborations and things that happen along the way, that's all part of that creative process. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe you just want to come on here and create. So you go, okay, well, I'm going to come on. I want to be in the morning and see where it goes. If he has a problem with it, well, that's his thing, right? So to me, I look at it more like that. Okay, maybe we just don't want to be frustrated. We want to use this for a certain self-exploration. And of course, there's going to be resistance to cooperation there. Because if I'm an artist, look at these bands. Look at these, like, so say I'm some great musical artist and you're a great musical artist, and then we get together, it doesn't always work, man. You know what I mean? Just because David Bowie gets together with Mick Jagger, maybe they make one great song. But if David Bowie and Mick Jagger got together and tried to create a career together, we know that would never fucking work. But maybe they get together and they make an awesome fucking hit song. Where you hear, you know, John Lennon collaborates with Queen with a certain song, 1 song, 2 songs. It is what it is. They're artists in and of their own right. They're creating. If there's a co-creative experience that develops from that, then that's even better. But it's really just about the expression. That's the way I'm looking at it right now, dude. That's sort of where I am.
I think that's actually a more optimistic and probably closer to the thing, because none of us are rolling in the dough anyway. So how can we really be fighting about, you know, nothing? So I think you're right. I think there is that element. And I feel that too. That's, that you mentioned just wanting to enjoy Paul's show for what it is and not necessarily participate. I feel the same exact way. But I just wondering one more thought, and then I'm going to roll out. Is this an example of our need for artistic expression overriding the good work of trutherism, let's call it? What about that aspect? So I have my artistic need to create, but we also have a truther message. Do we have a responsibility to serve that agenda, which maybe means we should put our artistic desires in the backseat so that we can all get on code and push in the direction?
No, I think that's dumb. I think that your artistic expression is the way you tell the truth, because someone who, like, Paul's message can't get out from Paul and reach everybody. It's not going to resonate the same as if Z took that message, articulated it in a way that people would resonate with him. We all have our artistic capabilities, and it's our job to say the truth how we, it has to be true, right? It has to be the truth, but you have to do it in your own creative way. If you regurgitate it, it's not really truth, I don't think. I don't think it is, because we're all different. We all have different perceptions. We all come from different places, and there is a high truth, but it has to be from you. It has to be from you, man. It has to be something inspired by the higher being. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
No, I like that. I can't disagree with anything Moose just said. And I would just add on to that is that, maybe within this process, Moose, we're discovering the truth, right? So to say that, are we bound to the truth in some way? I would agree with you in some ways, but in other ways, it assumes certain things. It assumes that maybe, it assumes that we know what the truth is. It assumes that we all have the same truth. And, maybe it's about discovering the truth in the process. But, much love, guys. Appreciate you letting me hear. And,
much love to you too, dude. And I'll come to you and say what up, too, because I love this conversation. And here's a man himself. What? Oh, no. I don't know if that's real. That doesn't sound like the real Paul Unslaved. I don't even know what he's saying. There.
Moose, you peas and shit on something. That's the thing, man. You can't ever trust people's different. They suck accounts, these avatars and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
no.
dude, it's all love on my
Speaking of that, wait, before you guys go, speaking of that, you guys need to make damn sure you know who's coming up on your panel, because we got porn bombed over at Larry's the other day. And so, yeah, if you see the enslaved being, make sure you just flashes that face first, or that finger, so you know it's him.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, kick out of here or remove yourself. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for coming up. I think the morning show war heat up is going to be great for everybody. I think the more that we can keep pushing our own skills, the better. And if that is Mr. Enslaved, yeah, I saw your comment, Mr. Enslaved, that the 6 o'clock time is a little early for you. I recognize that. I'm gonna try to push this back to 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Do like the 7 to 9-ish route, and maybe as you wake up, you can just come in and share some words of wisdom or touch on anything if you want to. And if you're down, but maybe go back and check. We started with the news blitz. Actually, we started with a clip from the Illuminati Aaron guy when you were on Jack Calcott. I cut that up for another piece. I shared that today. I'm gonna do more of that too. We'll open the show with maybe some highlight reels from the metaverse or things that are happening, then go into a news blitz, and then sort of work in people on the news subjects or whatever comes up, and less back and forth conversation. And I'm looking for more for people to just step up, come with some powerful words, 5-10 minutes on a subject, or if we start having conversation, I think that can happen too. But we'll see how this goes. I think I'll be back. I'll be around on panels, other people's panels over the weekend, I'm sure, or in the chat doing my typing shit. And I'm gonna try to, or not try, I'll be back Monday, and we'll do 7 to 9-ish Central Standard Time, and maybe a little earlier start. And we'll just kind of, I'm gonna try to, or not try, I'll be back Monday, and we'll do 7 to 9-ish Central Standard Time, and maybe a little earlier start, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. Thank you, man. Thank you for the encouragement. And I'm motivated, man. I appreciate the community. I see the opportunities here, and I have tons of ideas and tons of motivation. And so I want to keep using this as an outlet to share that. And I appreciate Paul coming through and the encouragement from Moose and Benton and Z and everyone that showed up in the chat. And I'll be around, man. Have a good day and do something novel today. It's summertime, and this is a season to get out there and do things you've never done before. And that's probably what I'm doing here too. So good day, everybody. That was fun. I enjoyed that quite a bit. And we will see you this weekend. But the 1000 Morning Show trial run thingamajig will be back on Monday. Peace and power to everybody, and we'll do it again. Bye.
He is a sorry pilot who lets the waves wring his rudder from his grasp, who leaves the sails to fly loose and abandons the ship to the storm. But he who boldly grasps the helm and clings to it until the sea closes over him deserves praise, even though he be shipwrecked. Welcome to Orion Philosophy, where we explore, discuss, and dissect areas of practical philosophy for use in everyday life. The whole universe sat there, open to the man who could make the right decisions. Laid out in front of each of us is our future, and the future we meet is determined by the decisions and actions we make in the present. If we make good decisions, we increase our chances of meeting the favorable future. If we make poor decisions, we increase the chance of the opposite being true. Stretched over the course of our lifetime, the ability to make good decisions can be the difference between living a life of abundance and general happiness versus living the hell we're trying to avoid. Discipline is the ability to make good decisions and act on them even when we don't have the motivation to do so, and especially when desire, fear, laziness, and the words of other people tempt us into inaction or counterproductive action. It's essentially the skill of overcoming desire, and I call it a skill because it can be developed, and we'll be discussing exactly how. Do we make a salad or do we order pizza? Do we stay up scrolling through YouTube Shorts and TikTok, or do we meditate and get a good 8 hours of sleep? Do we watch porn or do we go for a run? Do we click next for another episode of Stranger Things, or do we spend that hour working on our business? The impact of each of these decisions in isolation is probably negligible in the grand scheme of your life, but when we're making hundreds of decisions each day, over the course of decades, they not only build unconscious habits, but they alter the entire course of a life. In his journal Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work, as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for? The things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm?" Discipline seems to be something we all want, but as we get older and develop habits and patterns of living, it seems to get harder and harder to develop. I've noticed recently that there's an increasing number of months allocated to creating more constructive habits. We've got things like Stoptober, Dry January, and No Nut November, all of which gather people together and promote the discipline to abstain from various destructive activities, like drinking, drugs, and porn. I personally think these kind of things are great. More importantly, they imply that more and more people are trying to build the discipline to change the pattern of their lives. However, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that habit change is much easier said they've done. How many times have you made a plan, committed to a goal, or promised yourself to change, only to stop after a few days or weeks, give in to your impulses, and return to your old self? This happens a lot. Discipline, and I'll be repeating this a lot intentionally, is your ability to overcome your short-term desire. And short-term desire is the death of lasting habit change. So it follows that to change habits, we need to develop discipline. The Stoics were advocates of self-mastery. They promoted self-examination, self-control, personal responsibility, and objectivity, important ingredients in understanding where we need to change and then going about changing it. Stoicism teaches us that without discipline, we are destined to float through life as a passenger. They use the analogy of a dog tied to a cart. We go where the cart goes. However, with discipline, we are able to plot our own course. You become the captain standing at the helm of your ship. You develop the ability to choose your direction and leverage what's within your control to get there. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once wrote, "He is a sorry pilot who lets the waves wring his rudder from his grasp, who leaves the sails to fly loose and abandons the ship to the storm. But he who boldly grasps the helm and clings to it until the sea closes over him deserves praise, even though he be shipwrecked." So if it's not clear already, why build self-discipline? Whatever goal we have, whether it's losing that extra weight, building our dream business, or becoming an incredible musician, we need to put in the work. And to put in the work, we need to be able to overcome our impulses. That's discipline. Again, the ability to act despite the temptation not to. This doesn't mean that you won't feel the desire to slack off. That whisper will likely always be there. It just means that you develop the ability to resist that feeling, to turn the volume down on it. The more you act in spite of your impulses, the better you're able to do so. In this way, discipline develops much like a muscle. Given that achievement, habit building, and goal reaching requires us to show up and work, discipline is one of the most important life skills required to be successful, whatever success might mean to you. Again, it's like a muscle. Start too hard and you won't be able to be consistent. But start small and increase the load over time. And before long, you'll look back and see how far you've come. Often in our life, there comes a point down the road where we look at where we're going and the path we're walking. And there may well be times where we're not happy with how it's going. We're not achieving what we want to achieve. We're not getting closer to the things in life we value and the targets we set for ourselves during those personal little conversations we have internally. These moments of reflection give us two choices. We continue to do what we've been doing, staying on our phones too late and sacrificing sleep, eating poorly and sacrificing our health, pressing next on Netflix instead of training for that 10K, or jumping into another war zone queue instead of working on that paper. Or we work on discipline. We find the smallest positive step to go from 0 to 1. We make our bed every morning. We set an alarm and be strict when we wake up. We go for a jog before breakfast and buy a calendar to mark off the days in which we completed the task. We write 500 words before bed, meditate before going to sleep, or any other thing to start down the new road, forking from the one that's led you to question what you're doing. And we start small. Do that one thing until it becomes a habit, not a choice. Then add something new and repeat. After a year, you'll be surprised what changes can be made. After 5 years, you might have turned that 10K into a marathon. You might have turned those 500 words into a book. You may have started that business. But what you do know is that walking the same road that made you reflect and think, that road will probably keep you where you are. And in a year or so, or 5 years, you'll have those same reflective thoughts. The mind itself likes to conserve energy. Doing the same things that keep you fed, safe, and warm are low energy if they become a pattern. It doesn't require anything new, and that pattern will keep you alive and safe. The mind wants to be here. It wants to be comfortable. Trying to change its course will require energy, and as a result, it will meet with resistance. Resistance will keep you under the warm covers in the winter. It will sit you down on the sofa and tell you to relax. It will generate stories and narratives that will make you believe that you deserve that chocolate bar, you deserve that comfort and that lion. It will tell you that you'll work hard tomorrow and you can relax today, but tomorrow comes and it says the same thing. The difference between discipline and motivation. Motivation is a great fuel to get stuff done, but it's inconsistent. It comes and goes. So if you rely solely on motivation to get things done, it's easy to fall back into old habits or procrastinate. Discipline is different. Discipline, when it's developed, is consistent. Discipline takes up the slack when motivation doesn't show up. It keeps us moving forward towards our target even when our body or mind doesn't want to. When it wants to stay warm, it wants to stay cuddled up on the sofa, eating Doritos and watching movies. Don't get me wrong, I'm an advocate of having lazy days every now and then to recharge. But I think it's important for this to be a choice, not a crutch. When we rely on motivation, our performance comes and goes, and we risk falling back into old habits. When we build discipline, our performance remains steady and consistent. As Jocko Willink says, discipline equals freedom. Why does it seem to be getting more and more difficult to build self-discipline? Well, discipline isn't easy in the first place. It's an uphill hike, and the hill doesn't have a summit. Not only that, but if you stop climbing, you won't stay where you are. You'll start to slide back down. I personally think that discipline is getting harder to cultivate, and the simple answer for why that's the case is that life is getting easier. An easier life creates two conditions that make discipline difficult to cultivate. The first is temptation. We're surrounded by more and more sources of temptation and distraction that make it increasingly difficult to overcome our impulses. Things like our phones, TV, social media, video games, ironically YouTube, are all competing for our attention, and many of them are designed specifically to draw us in and keep us hooked. This increasing noise makes it more difficult for us to overcome our desires not to work. Even so, this is not an excuse. It is still our responsibility to learn how to manage it. The second point is the lack of resistance. An easier life also gives us less opportunity to practice discipline. And discipline will atrophy like a muscle if it's not used. And in our world today, it's easier to get by without having to use it. Amazon offers next day delivery. Netflix lets us watch what we want when we want to. We no longer have to wait a week to watch the next episode of something. Facebook and Instagram give us little dopamine hits whenever we need them. And for most of us in the Western world, we have things like delivery where food can be delivered in about 30 to 60 minutes. And the list goes on. This instant gratification is slowly removing opportunities for us to practice discipline and patience. As a result, we're becoming impatient, entitled, expectant, and our attention span is reducing. Unfortunately for us, the world is removing sources of resistance, the same resistance that's needed for discipline to grow. So instead, we have to make our own, which is easier said than done. And it also seems a bit crazy. Why would we volunteer to make our lives more difficult if they can be easier? In reality, we don't need that much to survive. However, the body craves comfort, it craves satisfaction, it craves instant gratification, and it craves more. And as we said, discipline is the ability to overcome these feelings. Regarding your mind's desire to want as much comfort as possible, to quote Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. Many people believe, including me, that excessive comfort hinders you. Your body will crave it, and it will draw you in like warmth draws people to a fire. A baseline level of comfort is absolutely fine. It's probably necessary for a happy life. However, too much will shrink your comfort zone and will dissolve your discipline. Too much comfort softens us. Like a muscle that isn't used, we weaken. And resistance is uncomfortable, but resistance is a catalyst for growth. As we overcome it, it gives us a feeling of development, fulfillment, and achievement. It shows us the boundaries of our ability and allows us to surpass them. The psychological impact of knowing that you can do something is profound, compared to only thinking that you can do something but not knowing. And you can only find this boundary by pushing yourself through resistance. No one finds their limit sat on a sofa. So in a world that's removing sources of resistance, what can we do? Simply put, we just make our own. Some examples of this is regular exercise, events like 10Ks, 5Ks, charity runs, mud runs, obstacle runs, martial arts like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and boxing, learning a new hobby that you're interested in, building something, whether that's as small as a table in your shed or as big as a house, waking up early, having cold showers, continuing your education like your degree, accreditation, or PhD, starting a passion project or side business. Some of these things do require money, but some of them are also free. So how do we build discipline? I said before that discipline is like a gym. We need resistance to grow, and that growth will depend on the resistance we apply. If we're new to the gym, we don't go balls to the walls and try and deadlift 300 kilograms. We start small with light weights. The same is true for discipline. We start small, we make our bed, we do the laundry, we tidy a room, we write a page, we read a page. We don't eat that chocolate bar, we walk at lunch, we put down our phone, we don't open that incognito tab, we go to bed early, wake up early, have a cold shower, or any other number of things that we can use to add a bit of resistance to overcome. Basically, anytime we hear that little voice calling us to resist an action, or validate our decision not to do something, this is an opportunity to develop resistance. And this is the resistance needed to grow. Regarding that voice, once we're aware of it, we can notice it. When we notice it, we can catch it. When we catch it, we can use it as a tool for growth. To end, we will always have the pull of short-term desire, trying to drag us away from the long-term things we want. However, we can develop the ability to more easily say no to that pull. This is discipline, and it's our responsibility. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius was an emperor of Rome, and he still had the same struggle with discipline as you and I. We covered the very start of this quote earlier in the video, but the longer version he wrote was, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for, to huddle under the blankets and stay warm? But it's nicer here. So you were born to feel nice, instead of doing things and experiencing them. Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants and spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best they can? And you're not willing to do your job as a human being. Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? But we have to sleep sometime. Agreed, but nature sets a limit on that, as it did on eating and drinking, and you're over the limit. You've had more than enough of that, but not of working. There you're still below your quota. You don't love yourself enough, or you love your nature too, and what it demands of you. People who love what they do wear themselves down doing it. They even forget to wash or eat. Do you have less respect for your own nature than the engraver does for engraving, the dancer for dancing, the miser for money, or the social climber for status? When they're really possessed by what they do, they'd rather stop eating and sleeping than give up practicing their arts.
Greetings, gentlemen. How are you?
Hot as fuck.
Well, we played that one not specifically for, but it applies to Jack Talcott, of course. Jack, how dare you tell these people you're taking a day off and be on day 5 now with no show, no call? This is what happens when you fail to discipline yourself and show up for yourself and others every day without fail. It's one day leads to 2, leads to a few, and now we're completely off our purpose and meaning and structure. So this is why the metaverse is populated by loser failures. Okay, and I don't know if, well, the toilet bowl earth person has been rather pleasant lately, so I won't project anything on him. But it seemed, because the spirit does this thing with me where I don't watch any of these people, but like 11:30 last night, I see a live pull up, you know, when I'm listening to something else, and it's EBT Slave. And I go over there. As soon as I go in, they're doing my rap as a joke, right? They're not saying it's me, but they're doing right freedom principles, and it's all a big joke, and we're gonna mock. And it's like, do you guys ever stop sucking my fucking dick? It's like so uncomfortable. Every time I tune into one of these panels, they're doing me, like one way or the other. They're either trying to fuck me directly or they're building like a straw man of me that they can fuck. It's very bizarre. And the man was wearing a Jewish mask too. I don't know what that was about. They're doing some Andy Kaufman like bit, or they're singing Hava Nagila Hava and talking about right freedom principles. And yeah, it was very. These are twisted, drunken, sodden and addled slaves. And this is what we're dealing with. You know, it's these folks need more discipline.
Yeah.
So it wasn't dope, and I really didn't like it. So Brian O'Shea, I was just pulling up the Brian O'Shea morning show from this morning. So it's fantastic that Brian showed up here just as I was pulling it up. So let's hear a little bit of the Brian O'Shea morning show. It seemed like you had a new energy, have a new rap. I almost felt like it was going somewhere for a second. Here, check it out.
Yo. What's good in the hood? We got Paul and Slade over there on OTW. I'm just making this real quick. Gotta go work. Gotta leave here in about, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. So I just wanted to bang something out, see what I can come up with. You guys are pretty cool. Yeah. What you guys want to get into? Tribe, what's up? What's up, big dog? Yeah, we're just gonna wing it. We're just gonna fling it. We're gonna sling it. We're gonna slap it and flip it. We're gonna knock it down. We're gonna tip it up. We're gonna spin it around. You know what I mean? We're gonna do some shit. And once it's done, we're gonna fucking you know what I mean? We're gonna I don't know what the fuck. We're gonna do something with it. You know what I mean, Tribe? But yeah, it's wild. Seems like there's a leak heating up, beating up. You can treat it up. You know what I mean? Put your feet up. You got some shit to do. I don't know about you, but sometimes you get beaten black and blue by the boys in blue. You don't know what to do. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. You know what I mean? You don't know what to do. What's next? They hit me in chat on the ZShow because they move sound like a unit. Yeah. You get hit by anyone. Come at you. Speak the truth like that. Fucking unit. Fucking puny.
Oh, Brian.
Imbecile. You know what I mean? So yeah. So it's all good. It's all correct. You know.
Don't quit your day job, Brian.
And you gotta move like an alligator. You guys are all right, man. Yeah, that's got. Sorry, Paul right now over there in OTW's. Yeah, he's just chopping it up, stopping it up. You know, like Scott's drink, stops it up, box it up, stopping the flow. That's why we gotta get flow state. You know, we gotta get flow. We gotta green light go. Stop acting like a hoe. Creeping into the back out. You know what I'm saying? Not playing. Yeah, it's rhyme time for some reason. Rhyme time.
This is Ryan version of Pimpin' and Mackin'.
So, topic of today is morning wood. Talking about owners, talking about owners.
God damn.
Talking about spiritual growth, talking about what you do. We're talking about Howard Stern, his ethic. You know, like I said, the question is his morals, his work ethic. You know what I mean? Staying consistent with this shit, staying on the grind, not losing your mind, one day at a time. You just don't get morning wood. Yeah, try. You got a big beef with with Moose, you should do like a separate stream. Just do it on your own channel. You know, just do a full expose of how much Moose sucks. You know what I mean? Just go full retard, dude. Like, you remember before when I called you out for not being in the light? You know, you were withdrawn, hidden in the dark. That's what we're doing. We're all learning to, as the man said, like, be ourselves at all moments. So don't hold that grudge, that resentment against Moose. Just let it express. Just get that shit out. See where it goes. You know what I mean, at the end of the day, it's probably not gonna be too many consequences for it. You know what I mean, not gonna have to fool at any moment. You know, you take me as a prime example. You be a stumbling, bumbling dipshit for a minute or two, for a while. You know, yell, freak out. At the end of the day, not much consequence, really.
I don't know what the fuck Brian O'Shea's talking about, but it's good to see him working today. He's making a living, honest living. He's not pretending to be a broadcaster, and that's good. He had something going there with that rhyme team, I think, maybe, possibly. He might be able to take it. Right. I don't even know how to get out of this hole. That's the thing, is you never want to like go cover someone's content, as they say, and then feel like you just dug a huge hole for yourself that you have to get out of. So you guys got any thoughts? You guys are cool. It's a cool panel. You guys
knows how to get out of a hole with you, Paul.
Right. I mean, again, I lived in one at one point, so I've practiced. Whoa. You guys got any thoughts?
There's not enough thoughts to describe what we just witnessed.
I agree.
Brian O'Shea, you got any thoughts about your grand reopening?
Well, I played some of the open mic, and then after Katie came, I gave Martin a little more. I didn't get to see the whole open mic because I fucked up the audio at one point. But like I said, leave Martin more. You only show him a piece of the open mic. And then,
yeah, that's usually not due to incompetence, though.
Right. That's why his digital reel. He shows you an open mic where it's muted the whole time. Yeah, keep him wanting more. All right, I'm gonna let you just move that furniture. It's good to see folks like I was a couple years ago moving furniture. Okay, so you get back to what you're good at, moving shit around the room, while I do what I'm meant to do, which is be a broadcaster. And if you work hard on yourself and on your content of character, then you will succeed with some people at some places sometime. So I have faith in that process. So stay at it, find a way to enjoy whatever it is that you do, work on yourself and your ability to communicate, and then bring that to the venue. I'm not telling you to stop what you're doing either, broadcasting. Just you got to prioritize. That's the bottom line. You have to prioritize.
Very good. Thanks, though.
Thank you, John. Cool. It's John. Cool. Well, folks, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's a pattern emerging. Yes, Russians are in the border region, and there's new attacks. Okay.
Oh God.
Yeah. You didn't have something to be afraid of until you came on here. Well, now I'm going to give you something. We need a healthy dose of fear to spur some kind of change.
Yep.
So let's hear about it.
The Russian strikes on Kyiv. Ukraine says its air defense system 36 missiles and drones over the capital city.
Oh yeah, no, we thought it was some airstrikes. Turns out they were like airdropping Scott's lunch. He was on vacation. It was a complete mistake. It was just a miscommunication is what it was.
At least 2 people were injured. Meanwhile, multiple explosions.
Folks immediately now just the calls and the messages rushing in, wanting to know how Scott gets an air dash service. Well, you have to order a certain amount. It's only a certain amount, right? Anything over a certain amount of food, what someone would consider maybe like enough to feed a family for a while. If it's over a certain bill, they have an air dash service, but folks are not likely found out about it. Most people.
Russian occupied port city in southern Ukraine. The Ukrainian official there says Russian positions have been hit, and this comes as Russian border regions are struck by fresh attacks. Sam Kylie joining us. Sam, a new wave of these hits towards Kyiv. Many of these missiles intercepted, and frankly, a lot of activity in Russian occupied territories as well as what we're seeing.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? This is why Brian O'Shea never gets TaskRabbit jobs. He goes, I don't know, man. I don't know about this app, man. Something's up with the app. Maybe I'm shadow banned. Maybe you're fucking moving furniture with a damn phone in your hand. Like, you know, what is this? Gossip Girl? You're who? You Mariah Carey? Brian O'Shea? You're doing outfit changes. You're showing everybody your crib. Put the damn phone away and move that damn furniture. You know, that African-American man, this is how we get a bad rap with Antoine. He's going to call up Antoine, say, I was just out with some piece of shit white lowlife who was making me do twice as much work and dropping shit because he was trying to record some footage. And say, was that Brian O'Shea? And he says, see, I think it was. You're going to be all on Antoine's again, being made fun of for being a disempowered white person with horrible work ethic. Look at him. Who moves furniture one-handed with a dolly while filming? Seriously. Why is this acceptable to you and that African-American man there? I can tell that man's dressed for success. He's not one of these street people who gives African-Americans a bad name. That man is in tip-top shape, and he's ready to rock and roll, and you show up filming shit. This is some kind of a fucking show and tell. What is this? Let's go, Brian. What's that man's name? African-American man back there. If you can hear me, you stay on this caucus like beast. This is the problem. White people right, sir. You see what I'm talking about. White people used to run the world, and now look how the mighty have fallen. You can't even take a fucking drawer out of that shiffer right there. Yeah, going back to Gregory Peck lingo from Kill a Mockingbird, where the African-American came in and had to bust up a shiffer robe. And then, of course, they went to go put him in prison and kill him because he dared look at a white woman. But this is what I'm saying. Folks have come so far with this position. This African-American man is ready to work. He can fuck all the white women he wants. He's living on top of the world, and he's successful. You, Brian O'Shea. What was that, sir?
I said my wife was actually Mexican.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Even there.
He's basically got a Caucasian woman who has better hair and better skin, better tan. So again, African Americans are at the top of their game. They're on top of the world, and we see what's happening with white folks. Now the mighty have fallen. Rob Cleveland on this horrifying event, the decline of white men.
Brave new world.
Brian O'Shea is like that guys. If you ever do construction, they'll by the end, when they're done with the room, there's just various bottles of dark urine hidden around the room, and it's like, who's pissing in bottles and leaving it around here? Brian O'Shea. Too fucking lazy to walk the 2 flights down to the porta potty. He's too important, too fucking lazy. So he pisses in a bottle, and then there's 3, 4, 5 of them by the end of the day. Just fucking leave him there. This is what we're dealing with. So it's all got to stop. It's got to change. And that's why I'm here, to hold him accountable. And that's why that African American man's there, to hold him accountable. All right, any other thoughts before we move on here? I can't even look at him. I'm disgusted.
Yeah, I'm sure Brian O'Shea has a few gallons of those in his truck right now.
Disgusting.
Dark urine.
let's continue with the Russians in the border region. Although I don't know how much I can take of this.
I'm not scared. This week, there's been so much activity.
Yes, Eleni, what we can see now is very obviously a new campaign conducted by the Ukrainians or on the behalf of the Ukrainians inside Russia. They're not taking any direct responsibility for the invasion or raids being carried out by Russian nationals who are badged effectively to the Ukrainian armed forces.
No one's taking any responsibility. That's one thing we learned here,
They've
Trisha.
done with local authorities in Russia saying 2 people have been killed in bombing or mortar attacks in frontline villages. At the same time in Smolensk, another Russian city north of Kyiv, the oil refinery.
Sounds like where Brian O'Shea's family is from, Smolensk. All right, a little bit. Okay, is there Smolensk in Ireland?
Has been hit by what is assumed to be a drone attack similar to the one that in Krasnodar, south of the country. So there is a pattern emerging here on top of the pattern that is long pre-existing, which is the systematic targeting, particularly of Kyiv, particularly of civilians by the Russians inside Ukraine. Now, this is having a strategic effect, the campaign inside Russia, with Vladimir Putin coming out today saying that, essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, we mustn't get rattled, we mustn't allow them to destabilize Russia. But that's exactly what these relatively small-scale attacks inside Russian territory are intended to do, to destabilize the Russian effort, with Ukraine making all kinds of claims about the movement of Russian special forces into that area, which are unverifiable, but again, are intended, whether they're true or false, to sow unease, discomfort, and dismay among the Russian forces as they continue to threaten to prosecute a campaign, a counteroffensive inside Ukraine to recapture lost territory. But I think we should see these campaigns inside Russian territory as the early stages of their counteroffensive.
Yeah. Sam, great to have you on. Thank you so much.
And we're now joined by Timothy.
All right, I'm over it. What's all that? What? Can I get a translator here, please? Where's my African American? Rob Cleveland? Rob Cleveland, are you there? I need a translation, please. All right, it's pure insanity as always. I'm working with what I got here. If anyone's watching me and thinks that I could be a really good broadcaster, just remember, this is the venue I'm working with. So like if you just had like a normal situation, I do like really great. It's just this is what I'm working with. This is what I'm dealing with. So just keep that in mind, you know. Try me out somewhere else, see how we go. Who does this? Who could work with this? It's beyond children and animals. All right. There's my African American. There he is, my African American. He's right over there, down over there. He's very well behaved. Cleveland, you got anything before we go on here?
No, I don't got nothing.
Yeah, this is gonna be a quick one. I can feel it. So this is from a couple days ago, one day ago. So we're a little late. We're late on the job, but better late than never. That's Brian O'Shea's motto when it comes to showing up to work. You know, better late than never. You wonder why they won't hire him again. The bus driver shootout, Charlotte. So some slave got uppity, right? And you know, bus driver wouldn't have it apparently. I haven't seen it yet. We'll watch it together as always. I tell you folks, you better watch it out there. Your body up against the wrong person, you're gonna have yourself a problem. So let's get to it.
Most of the action happened while the bus was in motion. The ride was uneventful until the man with the hoodie got on. 22-year-old Amari Sharif Tobias
Disenchanted youth
without pay. Words were exchanged with David Fuller, the driver. In the video, you hear Tobias ask Fuller to get off. Fuller said no because he was not at a bus stop. The men continued to argue. At one point, Tobias made several threats. Tobias walks behind the driver, and here you can see him pull out a gun. When he walks back to confront him again, Fuller opens fire. Shootout is captured on multiple interior cameras. Passengers duck for cover while Tobias makes to retreat. He's next to the rear exit. So is another passenger who is positioned slightly under him. The driver continuing to point the gun at Tobias. He then fires 3 more shots at Tobias and tumbles out of the bus along with the other passenger. Fuller gets off the bus. From the interior camera, you can see him fire one last shot. From this exterior camera, you can see that Fuller spots Tobias by the side and fires that last shot. Fuller was shot in the arm and is recovering at home. At some point during the exchange of gunfire, Tobias was shot in the abdomen. He's out of the hospital and in jail on numerous charges.
See, they're putting your black ass in jail. You're getting shot on the bus and put in jail as soon as you wake up. So you better cut it out. All you people around here running around acting tough, trying to start problems with the bus driver because you think he's pussy. No, he's disciplined. He's making a living. He's showing up for himself and others every day to do service and dealing with folks like Illuminati. So he's had it. Right? Much like me. I'm driving this bus. I'm dealing with folks like him all day, every day. Be disturbed, mentally and emotionally disturbed. I've had it. Just like that bus driver. So, you know, get a little too close to me. It's not going to go well for you. And there you see, he even did like Metal Gear Solid on him. You know, ran out, spun out, chased him down, shot him again. You're really not supposed to do that, but they said, fuck it, he's black. You know, you pull a gun on a black man, he's going to hunt you down and finish you right there if he can. You know, so we kind of put that to the side, right? You know, that was dope, right? So yeah, I mean, you know, black people can get emotional at times. Don't play with them. You pull out guns on them. Don't expect them to just do like white folks do, pull a gun out a little bit, shoot it once or twice, put it away. No, they're emptying the gun on you just like policy enforcement. They're not playing. Yep. So stay away from them if you can't deal with that. Your thoughts on any of that expert panel? We're moving quick today.
Plowing ahead.
Right. This isn't a public school, right? It's not a safe space for criminals to come and do harm. So you play in certain areas, and you're gonna get your comeuppance quickly. All right, what else do I got here? Kind of a slow news day. I don't write them, I just report them. Senate passes the debt ceiling bill. Well, that's good news, huh, Cleveland? You might get some stimulus, more benefits and privileges. You never really have to be accountable and responsible. No one's ever really got to pay their debts. I mean, what is that anyway? What is money? It's obviously not. All right, well, sorry. I didn't mean to bring up the whole bad credit, debt situation. I know that bothers Rob Cleveland sometimes. He considers himself one of the clean and articulate ones. And when I bring up the whole bad credit thing, it just kind of hits close to home. It's an African American problem. All right, Senate passes the bill. The debt ceiling. I'm losing my mind.
The Senate giving its final approval of this debt limit deal overnight, sending it to the president's desk just days before Monday's deadline. NBC White House correspondent Peter Alexander joins us now. Peter, good morning. Walk us through these final moments.
Hey, Savannah, good morning to you. That overnight vote just before midnight actually showing just how quickly the Senate can get something done when it wants to. The final tally 63-36. Notably, a lot more Democrats backing the final bill than Republicans. President Biden
raise the roof.
Expected to sign it right away. And then tonight, for the first time of his presidency, he's going to deliver an Oval Office address about this bipartisan effort. After weeks of negotiations, deal making, what they call the Fiscal Responsibility Act will raise the nation's debt limit. It'll put caps on federal spending for the next 2 years. And this really was the urgency here. It avoids a catastrophic default that would have wreaked havoc on the economy. Federal government had run out of money to pay its bills.
Oh, again? Wait a second, again?
News, by the way, top credit rating agencies reaffirmed its AAA.
This is why I laugh, because it's not 1980 anymore, okay? Antoine Montana, you ain't Scarface, and it's not 1980 anymore. The fucking debt ceiling wouldn't even reach its limit once every 20, 30 years at one point. Now it's every 5 years. It's raised the roof. Whoop, whoop. So you get to all that bag you want. The currency devaluation is at an all-time high, which is why there's so many more millionaires. That's why everyone and their brother's now a millionaire, apparently, because it doesn't mean anything to be a fucking millionaire anymore. Go look at the statistics. There's more and more every year because you're going to need to be a millionaire just to afford to live like a regular slave. So at one point, I hope at some point you folks get it if you haven't already gotten it. That doesn't matter how much bad you get to. If you can't secure your rights, property, freedom, destiny, women, and children, you ain't got shit because you're in debt and you don't own that. And the more the currency's devalued and you can't get to that money and where it's worthless at some point, you're fucked. I'm not. I'll still be a gorilla in a trailer with solar power doing what the fuck I was doing. I might not be able to broadcast, in which case I can always go find a rock of Gibraltar and stand up on that motherfucker. And I'll do a broadcast from that. So pretty much as far as my gorilla voice can reach. If I feel compelled to do so, I may not. I may just retire back into relative obscurity, on the ground leadership position. So where are we at with this? All right, debt ceiling.
Its top credit rating in the US, suggesting that it sees no reason for a downgrade like when this happened back in 2011. And I think it's about most strikingly.
Oh, here's a tip also. Rolexes and funny hats are not a viable investment long term. So you might want to get your head out of your ass with the depreciating assets. I just hope you guys have land, gold, silver, guns, ammunition, commodities, I guess you could call them. You know, like heavy metals, sources of food, different things that hold their value and increase in value. So again, properties you don't own that you're indebted to, electric cars, funny hats, and jewelry, not the best investment.
Throughout this process is how the political middle won out. A coalition of lawmakers from both sides, progressive Democrats and more conservative Republicans, opposed. Savannah.
All right, Peter, of course, there's another headline coming out of the White House. The president tripping and falling at an event yesterday. It looks serious, but what do you know?
Well, we'll show it. He returned home from Colorado last night. He actually even jogged a little bit into the residence. Aides say he's doing just fine. And there's the moment after shaking hands with hundreds of graduates at the Air Force Academy. The president tripped over a sandbag that was holding down on the stage there. As you see, he was quickly helped up by Secret Service, by his Republican critics, including the Donald Trump. They were quick to pounce. The fall is drawing some extra scrutiny, of course, because of voters' concerns about the president's age. At 80, he is the oldest president ever to serve. But the president was in good spirits last night. He joked about it with reporters, saying he got sandbagged.
All right, Peter, thank you very much.
It's important to have clever, witty retorts when you expose your senility. You know, if you're a senile old man, pedophile, some might say, he's the oldest pedophile to serve, respectfully. So, you know, if you're going to expose your Alzheimer's in front of the world, it's good to have a witty comeback for that. You get up, dust yourself off. Looks like I got sandbag, folks. Right. So we get Grandpa Walker. Where are we at here? New Mexico woman finds cocaine on a Sonic hot dog. Uh-oh, hot dog. Remember that one? That was Jack Harlow's favorite. He said his favorite comedy bit ever. This is what makes someone like I or Brian O'Shea want to commit seppuku. I forget what the or seppuku. I forget what the moose person referred to it as yesterday. Another butchering of the language. What else? From the illiterate. So yeah, his favorite comedy bit when I asked him was Bobby Lee doing "Uh-oh, hot dog." So you go figure it out. He emailed me again the other day, Jack Harlow, and he's completely insane. If I don't think it's proper to divulge these communications, but you know, let me just tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, I know insanity up close and personal, and I'll tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, he's got it. He's definitely got it. Long, rambling, incoherent messages, paranoid claims of people from the panel following him and trying to kill him. Just very bizarre. But favorite comedy bit, "Uh-oh, hot dog."
Something very surprising in their fast food order in northern New Mexico recently. Police say when a woman just bit into her hot dog, she was also biting down on a bag full of cocaine. Breaks down what else investigators are revealing tonight.
Yeah, this is what's going to spark now a manhunt by Brian O'Shea to go to every Sonic in his local area and bite into countless hot dogs, hoping to find some cocaine. Brian O'Shea, stay focused. He couldn't have that kind of luck, right? To bite into a hot dog and come up on a bag of cocaine without having to pay for it.
A bag of fast food hot dog. Police say Selena Gonzalez got that surprise Tuesday. She was doing something many of us enjoy in the summertime. Just going out, getting a hot dog. Got it at the Sonic in Espanola on South Riverside, took a bite, and realized she'd bitten down on a small plastic bag filled with a white powder, officers say. Police claim testing confirmed it is a gram of cocaine. In their report, officers say Gonzalez spit out the bag, but didn't say whether she ingested any of the drug. Around town, it's still open, and many people got food while we were here.
I think that's pretty scary.
For some reason, Chip, a whole bunch of new customers started showing up at 3 or 4 in the morning saying they really love hot dogs. We don't know what's going on. Here's Luma Tommy, our on-the-ground correspondent. Okay, so I don't want to ruin the scheme here because these white people, I guess, don't know what's going on. So I don't want to break down the fourth wall, but obviously the guy who's like at drive-through is selling dope. Out of the so, every third person who comes when they order a hot dog, really not a hot dog they're ordering, and they probably have some kind of code, and then he gets a hot dog with a little something extra, and then the money's exchanged. Pretty simple stuff. So yeah, I don't mean to get somebody caught up dry snitching and indicting them, but they probably would know by now to either stop that, you would think, or just quit that job. But you never know. So yeah, whoever the person was working the window, the guy behind you, he's got something going on. So if you could just keep your hands off all the food and let him kind of give it out, he probably told you that. He said, hey, just tonight, let me just give the food out. You tried to be helpful and make it go quicker, and you gave the fucking cocaine hot dog to the wrong person. Now we're on the news. So just do what the fuck you're told. Let the manager handle the food. I'm sure it's probably a manager, right? He's been there a while. He knows the game, and he's making a few extra bucks on the side.
First of all, we come here to get food and for our families. And if a child found that, it could have been pretty bad or deadly.
Kind of crazy. I mean, cocaine in a hot dog. I mean, it doesn't sound right. But I mean, I just got an ice cream. Hope we're good.
Police say the cook is responsible. They charged David Salazar with cocaine possession, a felony. Police say they watched surveillance video from inside the Sonic and claim after making Gonzalez's food, Salazar looks like he's frantically searching for something he lost. Officers say he admitted to them that it was his cocaine.
Wait a second. They were onto this the whole time? He's not even dealing dope? He just lost his cocaine under a hot dog? Man, you guys are really fucked up. See, this is what I mean. I give people way more credit. I go, there's got to be a whole organization in the Sonic. Turns out it's Brian O'Shea, the cook, who dropped his cocaine in between a hot dog and a bun. What the fuck is your problem? See, some people are not meant to do anything. Well, not even cocaine. If you can't hold on to your cocaine and not get lost in a hot dog while you're cooking, you got serious problems.
Okay, he says he bought it from someone in the Sonic parking lot. And Espanola, I'm Tommy Lopez.
Oh, yeah, right.
So we did speak over the phone with somebody who says they're a supervisor at that Sonic location. However, they would not comment or answer any questions about what exactly happened there.
Good job.
Right. We've we're covering the important stories here. We're answering the tough questions, like where can you get a hot dog with cocaine in it? So, Georgia gun dealer. These folks are up in arms. I don't know what's going on lately. I think I'm a little bit intimidating. Folks are intimidated. I can't get anyone up on the panel anymore. Everywhere else I go, these horrible panels with nobody watching, and they fill them up. Just cycling it out. I can't get that anymore. These folks they're intimidated. So yeah, I guess. Yeah, right. Wink, wink. Everybody's working. Have you seen this panel, sir? I see you working every day on the panel. I've never once seen any of these people work.
You're right.
Let's not get into it. So, yeah, I guess go hang out on the Dirty Larry show, produced by the Moose. That's where the panel tends to fill up. Yeah, the Dirty Larry, where Larry pretty much sits in a dark hole and just meanders and mumbles about anything that pretty much doesn't go on in his mind. It's a lot of dead silence. If you're into that, if you're into dead silence, that's the place to go. How are you, Mr. Wizard?
I am good. How about yourself?
I can't complain. I probably will anyway, but no one will listen.
I hear you. Been up all night downloading videos. It's been terror.
Well, sir, I told you to stay off those websites. You're gonna get yourself put on
my videos.
Oh. I told you a little bit of sort of extracurricular nighttime adulting.
No. We don't do those.
Okay.
Not my style. I want nudity. It's gonna be firsthand.
Yeah, you don't want to see these videos I got of Jack Calcott with cooking oil. I'm not gonna get into it. Kiddie pool, cooking oil, and just various household implements. I'm not gonna say too much. Family broadcast. It's not for everybody. So yeah, apparently the Talcott one will be back. He went from 1 day off to 6 days off, and he'll be back in 42 hours. Is the last time I looked. He said a broadcast for 42 hours from the time that he put it up. I feel like I'm at a bank here with all the sound effects and shit. So would you like to receive with that?
Well, I just turned them off.
Right. So you folks got anything? He's pressing.
No, sir.
Man, this fucking wait.
I thought it was pretty neat. I lost track of my smoke every once in a while back in the day. But when I was doing the other stuff, the expensive stuff, I never lost it. Nope. How do you take it to work with you? Lose it on a fucking hot dog.
Well, it was almost like the time that Brian O'Shea was a cook and he misplaced a hot dog and they found it in his rectum. And it was an honest mistake, right? But everyone kind of wondered, how does that happen? I'm going in on Brian O'Shea today. It's just for some reason, everything is Brian O'Shea. I could substitute pretty much a whole bunch of names, but I'm just going to go Brian O'Shea on every one of them today.
Apropos.
Right. Scott was part of a great humiliation ritual this morning, as it's been characterized, and he doesn't understand. He's doing it all himself. So I'm just facilitating. He's doing the humiliation ritual, and I'm observing and reporting. So that was great stuff. We didn't get coverage of that over here, but the OTW slave had all that. He got all that. I gave him all the good stuff this morning. I just had to fucking go off on that fat pig again, like always, because he keeps running his fucking mouth like I give a fuck about him and his life and what he thinks and feels about me and what I should do. If he could give me a reason to care, I would, but I don't. So I can't.
Yeah, I missed it all, but like I said, I was up late doing downloads on videos. I might have to go back and check that out.
Yeah, you need to.
Okay, so Razvan's here today, and he's expressing that he enjoyed the bit. I love that bit you did with Brian O'Shea's mother, the white goo bit and squirter. Hey, Razvan, can you do us all a favor and come up and read your comment? Because I just want to hear that accent of yours. And I want to hear you read this comment word for word. Now I understand dishonoring father. Like that, but why do you do that? I didn't do that to O'Shea's mom. He decided to do that. I fed him a couple concepts because he's desperate for attention and to do something funny, right? He's got 6 months, hasn't done anything funny, and calls himself a comedian. So he was trying to do that, and I fed him a couple lines, and he used them with his mother. That's his prerogative. It's free speech. Okay, are you upset by that? That's dishonoring her? That she's so naive, gullible, goofy, and or so desperate for attention herself that she's willing to go along with that? Seemed to me she kind of knew what was going on. She did the whole wink and nod, knew but didn't know what was going on. So, I'm not going to sit around and contemplate how we're all going to hell because Brian O'Shea I came up with a makeup line called white goo because I knew what Brian O'Shea would say to his mother with it. Something along the lines of rubbing white goo all over her face. But it's a makeup product, right? I don't even know what your problem is. So if there's a makeup product called white goo and she goes, I love to rub white goo all over my face, you're going to hell for that? It didn't even go anywhere. There's nothing before or after. There's no preface. So your inference, right? Your dirty mind and your inference went to something blasphemous. See, this is your problem. Can't even infer anything without the slaves projecting and taking it and running with it and creating a situation where everybody's damned to hell for dishonoring. I don't think that's the biggest form of dishonoring that was done with Brian O'Shea and with himself and his mother. Very low on the list. What was said in jest to do a bit. There you go. I agree. O'Shea is bigger white trash for doing that to his mama. You just went along with it. Okay. Well, Razvan now being reasonable. Thank you, Razvan.
Yeah, the whole thing was rather odd and awkward and cringe.
I 1000% agree. So this person needs a friend? Well, I'm here for you, person. I don't know if I could call us friends. We could be friendly with each other. Little brother died today. And would you like to come up and speak about this? Because I'd like to know. I get a lot of odd fellows here, let's say. So I don't know what to take as real and not. So if this is a real situation, well then, I'll approach it that way. But if this is somebody trying to get me to do a bit and not a bit, I also don't want to jump out the window and then this actually be a real situation. So forgive me if I'm not as tactful as I would be if you were up here and we were speaking about something that could be perceived as tragic. But like I said, I have a lot of strange folks who come here. So I am here for you in the event of some tragedy, as much as I may be in this forum, in this venue. So it's good to hear if something is going on that you're sort of finding some value here, some refuge, I guess you could say, a form of insulation from that tragic event, if it is the case. I'd like to believe that folks wouldn't make stuff up like that and purport it to be true, but I've seen, way worse than that. So Slinky Zoo says it's real. Well, Slinky Zoo, blessings to you, peace and blessings to you. Our care goes out to you. I guess this is life, right? I'd like to know more of the circumstances at some point if you'd like to speak on it, but I've almost gotten so comfortable with death. I don't know if it's me just coping in a way and not being aware of the deeper beingness, But it would seem to me, as I said, I've just reconciled death as part of life, and therefore there's not much that goes on internally when folks take on that transition. I guess usually where the feeling may come in is based on the event, how it happens, but even that dissipates rather quickly because I just, I guess, have come to have to believe, whether it's true or not, have faith that everything kind of happens for a reason. And even if it doesn't, we can turn it into something. We can create reason out of it, right? Purpose and meaning out of it. So through that process, I just sort of reconcile it. I surrender it. I don't live in regrets. I don't live in sorrow. As I said, death is part of life. This is a bigger simulation arena. It would feel to me, it would seem to me. And I don't hang on here, and I'm not uncomfortable by folks who are not hanging on here or who are let go from here at some point, right? I don't want that. It doesn't have to be that. I don't look at necessarily as preferable to be quote unquote dead or have moved on or changed form than to be alive. I just, again, reconcile it. Life is life. And then there's that transition and we move forward and we surrender what we cannot control. And then whatever's left over with energy and motion, emotion is used to honor those beings while we're still alive. Usually in our thoughts, emotions, and actions, right? What we do and become and create. That's the best way to honor those folks and to do something with that energy and that intention and those feelings. Your thoughts on any of that, panel?
That's dope. I agree, man. That's how you got to do it. A few years ago, yeah, a few years ago, my grandmother passed on, and everybody around was sort of in that low space, and I just had to remind myself that she's in a better place, and and I had to prepare myself. I saw it coming beforehand, and it just made things a lot easier.
So Razvan's like on a hating binge. It's been weeks now. He went from hating me to loving me again, giving me money, and then hating me. And he's carried on with the hate for weeks. So why be here, Razvan? Because I could just block you. I choose not to. I let you stay here and continue to voice your opinions, but it's never anything except direct attacks at me from a chat box. You don't even come up and speak your truth and the truth. So what's the point of playing this game like a little boy? If you don't agree with me or you think that I'm whatever I am, you've spoken that over and over again. Go create a channel, put a video up, and then take it down when I go to talk about it again, like you did last time. It's embarrassing to you. It doesn't matter how young and hot your wife is, as you say. You're a fucking embarrassment and you're a punk ass coward too, right? Get sending me money to apologize to me. I said, bro, you already said you're sorry and we move forward because you were being a hating ass bitch. So then you try to pay me to stop being a hating ass bitch. I said, you don't have to pay me for that. I already accepted your apology. Move forward. Now you're back to being a hating ass bitch again. So what's it going to cost you this time when you realize you're a hoe and we're wrong again? You can pay me double, triple this time to like absolve you of your nonsense. Like that's what your religion teaches you. Not absolution, but would it be called? What is the term that they have for? The term is escaping me. Folks would pay the contribution back in the day to the religious right in order to be absolved of their sins, right? For some reason that
tithe.
Say again, sir.
The tithe.
No, it's not a tithe. There was a certain term. No matter. You get what I'm saying. Slow down, Paul. Don't bring our faith into it. There's no hour. There's no you're an hour. You're either an infidel or you're not. Okay. You either understand the living God and God's law of creation or you don't. You either live it and uphold it or you don't. I don't give a fuck about your faith that you think is separate from mine, that you don't even live, but want to talk about and get scared of me talking about. That's not how that works. So I live the faith. I've shown it over and over again. I communicate that with the energy of the Holy Spirit, as you would say. And that's why you folks are continually attracted to me. And you want to argue with me to make the facts clear and presently known. And you realize at some point you don't have the facts the way you want it to be perceived. Okay. All you have is feelings about what God is and what your journey is, but you can't substantiate any of it or show the cause and effect. You can't define it, explain it. It's because you're not experiencing it. You're just talking about it. That's the difference. Stop seeing. Who's the word wizard number 2? Hello? Can I see the word wizard number 2 in the back?
Yeah, because it's not me.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I was aware when I put the being up, but we're going to just flash pictures of some other Captain Kangaroo or something to say that, wizard looks like Captain Kangaroo, whatever the game is. So, right. So now he left. Okay, that's good stuff. To be honest, there you go. Well, that's why you don't do what you regret. When you have discernment, you very rarely do what you regret. So that shows you didn't have discernment then or now. To be honest, you don't regret it. Okay, that's my apology. I read it quickly. I thought it said, you still don't have discernment, but I misread it. I don't regret giving you money. Same way I would give money to a homeless bum and notice he just buy alcohol or drugs. Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't do that. Right? You consider cannabis drugs. That's the best argument you have that I use cannabis. Much of which, other than recently, for a week or two, at times I will use the cannabis that is provided through certain service providers. But the majority of the time, the cannabis that I use is cultivated, by myself or folks close to me. So you're wrong again. I don't use contributions and donations to buy alcohol and drugs, and I'm not a homeless mom. You fucking lied again. You made a bad faith claim, and you don't even care. You guys do that like dozens of times a day, and then claim yourself to be righteous and godly, and don't even understand that the creational force knows your heart and knows mine. I can say whatever I want here because I've given a caveat, and the creational force and the people knows my heart, my intention, and my actions. You show who and what you are on here, and then you get the benefit of getting a challenge, a test, or a learning experience from the universe. So, Razvan, I would just appreciate if we could do this more on panel because I actually kind of like you. I really don't care if you don't like me or hate me or think I'm an antichrist. I can't help but to be entertained by your face, your voice, your perspective. I just fucking crack up. Right. So, it entertains me and I think everyone else. And, if you can get past the hate and vengeance and retribution, which is so godly, that you have for me, we could bring some value to this place. Something you may not be used to. Bringing value to different presentments. All right. Georgia gun dealer. He shut his store down because he said he's fucking tired of all these damn children being killed by guns. So how do we solve children being killed by guns? Shut down your gun store. Seems reasonable. It's like something Razvan might do. For God.
Ballistics, you have guns, ammo, and John Waldman.
I opened the shop in March of 2021.
A business which is pandemic proof.
I didn't want to get locked down anymore.
Gun sales have spiked since the pandemic, so has mass shootings.
The fact that it keeps being kids after kids after kids, that's the thing for me.
2023 on pace to be a record year.
There's not a way to cast a huge net. There's not a magical and it's fixed. There's not. It's one of those where the community has to come together, both sides.
Come together. They always use the same buzzword in Lincoln
until now in Duluth
for their weakness and inability to control their life.
I just can't
come together.
like this to people.
Closing his gun shop.
I'm not saying you shouldn't.
I'm a hero.
I'm just saying that I can't sell something that could be used.
Something like this.
This is an H car. 230.
Well, shut the fucking Home Depots down, because if the slaves ever figure out that they could take some fertilizer for your lawn and blow up the whole school with it, they're gonna get to doing it, right? So just because they can do it and they do it, we better shut that down, because that's gonna be even more destructive than these fucking one-shot, single-shot, 30-round deals. You know. So anything, the guy says, stellar logic, anything that could be used to do mass murder, I won't sell it. Not even fertilizer for your yard. Great job, dumbass.
You got 6.
It's legal if you pass the background check.
Just because you pass that doesn't mean you should have it.
Right.
For what
That's
goes
even
in.
better logic.
So these are armor piercing 30-6 rounds, 500 of them. And you can get a gun that just put it in, rack it, and it doesn't stop until this is empty.
Wow.
The issue is that there's no training.
As a father,
what stops us from being used against?
Nothing. It's called freedom.
And that's the problem I have. Because you never know the person getting it. Just because they pass.
That's it. He's
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel.
Their fear runs their whole life. Well, who's to say someone's not going to take this and do harm to someone? There's no guarantee. It's called a free fucking world. You know?
Hammer.
Right. What happens when a guy drives a car into 15 people? Should we fucking ban that too? We're really still. It doesn't amaze me that they're still running propaganda. What amazes me is someone somewhere still saying it honestly and listening to it. I'm fascinated by that. Because I don't doubt. Like, I watch them on these online things. They'll post like, "Oh, here's me cutting a gun up to be a hero," because the TV told me to. So they're still. I mean, maybe it's just way less than they want us to believe. Like maybe a third of the country is just completely retarded in mind and heart control. Everyone else pretty much gets it. Doesn't seem like that, but maybe that's what it is. But there's still some people out there, a pretty large amount of them, who believe any of these narratives, and that the answer is to take the guns away from the people. I'll never stop being fascinated by that. These folks cause and effect, problem-solving skill. Your thoughts on any of this? Same fucking looping insanity nonsense day after day of propaganda, mind and heart control.
They should ban pools too, because it kills so many kids, you know, during the summertime. Why don't they do that? There's way more drownings, I'm sure, than there is fucking kids getting killed by guns.
I just want New World Order, man. Can we just have complete New World Order? Like, why do we got to drag this out another 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Let's just have it all now. Bring them in, bring the UN in, parachute Scott in. Like he says, he drops in from 30,000 feet. If he drops in from 30,000 feet, you know what the impact is like? It takes out the whole state of Texas. All right, I'm not going to do any more fat jokes. It's not right. So, yeah, what kind of parachute is that, right? All right, I just said I wouldn't continue. So, Wizard, it's your fault, right? You brought that guy here. He kept saying how great you were, right? And turns out he's retarded. So, you got a retarded guy doing promotion for you for weeks and months. So, I hope you're happy. I don't know. I'm almost speechless. What's been going on here the past few weeks? I'm just fucking almost speechless.
Yeah, I can barely keep up. Well, I was going to say from what you said before that the secret to a full life and a long life is actually not fearing death at all, which takes us back to the guns control and that kind of stuff too, because everyone's terrified of dying, even though we know we're all going to die. But from personal experience, once you let go of that fear, your life becomes very full, your decisions become easy, and you actually avoid death by not fearing it, because you don't fall into the traps.
Right. In order to live fully, you have to learn how to die with dignity. This is what all these bag chasing comfort freaks don't get either, is that your comfort zone, as the video said, is so small that when you don't have all those comforts you've now enslaved yourself to, you don't feel quite at home. So the idea is to expand your comfort zone to where you're more comfortable in any situation, even the uncomfortable situation, comfortable with the uncomfortable. No, you think that there's power in every place you lose it. Oh, I have all these comforts and all these nice things, and look at this and look at that. If you don't really have that internal space to weather any storm, and you don't have that ability to be comfortable in any situation, those things you have and those things you're doing are owning you. You think they're giving you power and success. They're taking away from your journey to growth and development, as I see it. So it's one thing to give everything up and be given everything back based on rising and falling on your own merit. It's another thing to live beyond your means thinking there's power there. All it's showing is how small your comfort zone is. Then they come and tell me, Paulie's in a washroom or trailer, right? Because I'm so comfortable in any situation, standing for rights and freedom principles, going to jail if I have to. Doesn't mean I'm not uncomfortable or afraid. I've learned to accept it and become okay with it. Have you? Probably not. So it's a different level of understanding of self and empowerment within self and inspiration. All I got to show up with is me, maybe a laptop. See, you got to show up with all these people, titles, extras, people you pay to come on to boost numbers and all the rest of it. You take that shit all away and all them clothes and all that houses and all the rest, and ain't that much power and self-knowledge there no more. See, that's the difference. You put me in a box with 5 other people, I may facilitate a transformational experience for those beings. It's not that I'm doing it, I just may facilitate it. How do I know? Because I've done it. I'm speaking from experience. Let me move forward. One more here. We got Watson, and then we're out, unless you folks want to take over. So Amazon is going to pay $30 million in settlements over Ring Alexa violations. So I didn't hear this yet. I can only suppose they're tracking and tracing all of you and taking videos of you fucking to give them Bezos and Billy Boy, because they want some late night entertainment as well, much like the Wizard. They're downloading videos too, but they're downloading your Ring camera footage and your Alexa footage and your webcam footage, and watching Rob Cleveland pipe down your wife while you're at work. So let's get into it.
Amazon is paying out something like $30 million in settlements for maybe violating the privacy of you and your kids. First, the Ring doorbell. You know the Ring doorbell. Maybe you have a Ring doorbell. Turns out Amazon has to pay nearly $6 million as part of the settlement with the FTC, which says the company let workers and contractors access people's videos when it wasn't totally necessary for.
Right.
Also, Alexa. Amazon has to fork over something like $25 million to settle allegations that Alexa violated the privacy rights of kids. The FTC says Amazon kept voice and location information of younger users for years. Amazon, in a statement saying to NBC News, while we disagree with the FTC's claims regarding both Alexa and
let's talk to Razvan about how I dishonored my father. You know my dumbass father went out and bought an Alexa to fucking talk to it like a dumbass. So now when I'm on the phone and sometimes he's talking to this fucking robot, Alexa, do this, do that. I go, you are such a bitch. You're such a dumb bitch. Like, you not only talk to this fucking dumb robot now, it's tracking and tracing everything you're doing and recording you when you're talking in the room. So you're a fucking liability again. Because you know you're in there gossiping and pillow talking about all your business and letting Alexa fucking suck it all up. Why did you need a fucking Alexa? Why? Why does a grown man need a fucking Alexa to ask it what the weather is outside, to put on the right jacket? Is this where we're at? To get your umbrella? Hey, Alexa, what's the weather out? Because I just can't look out the fucking window like people have done for thousands of years. I need the right umbrella and the right hair product. It's fucking pathetic. Don't tell me about dishonoring when these motherfuckers dishonor themselves, the truth, this lineage, and humanity as a race, and where we come from and where we're going. Please save it.
and Ring and deny violating the law. These settlements put these matters behind us. I want to bring in legal analyst Danny Sabalos again. These are things that people all over the country have in their house.
Legal
Right?
analyst, bro.
Ring doorbell, Alexa, like stuff that is used all the time. Talk to us about these FTC claims about violation of privacy.
We'll start first with Alexa. The allegations there were essentially that Alexa and Amazon violated federal law that prohibits the recording of children's voices and keeping those recordings indefinitely. But moving over to the Ring allegations, which are much scarier, the FTC alleged that Ring employees and third.
Oh yeah, it was accidentally, I'm sure. It was also allegations. Well, you know, when Alexa was telling their children to kill themselves and their parents, it was all allegations, right? Like we don't have the fucking video apparently and audio. They say it's doctor. I don't believe it. So I know you're gonna say, oh, it's doctor. No, I don't believe it. I've seen a couple people do it, and Alexa tells them bizarre things. Is what the report is at times. So yeah, I'm running with it. If it's a fake story, go ahead, sir.
And just so you know, a lot of these Ring things here, they're connected directly to your police departments and stuff, just like your cameras on the corners. They connect them right downtown.
Okay, I don't even know how does that even work? Is it a Wi-Fi system? How they?
Yep, it's all connected to the Wi-Fi.
So that's that data over power line system where they got all these power lines hooked into each other and they're running data through everything back to a centralized hub. Matrix is what you call it.
Yes, it's all data.
Hive mind. Yeah, well, you know, again, these are these fucking weak ass, goofy, disempowered white people that Antoine talks about, and my father's one of them. He's probably got a ring, filming his ring, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, his brown ring. He's got the white ring there, filming his brown ring. They got all this technology stuck so far up their ass, they don't even know who and what they are anymore, and wonder why everyone keeps interfering with them and causing them problems. It hasn't occurred to them they've lived this long without it. They don't need it. You know, I'm already like an old man. You know, I've lived so long without all this bullshit technology, tracking and tracing and toxifying everyone. I don't need it. Like I already have too much technology. I got a smartphone 3 years ago. Before that, I had a flip phone. They all laugh at me. You got a flip phone? I don't need it. Right? I'm not at work like Ryan O'Shea playing fucking Angry Birds. You know, I'm not playing the gem game. Right? I don't need it. So I originally got it once I started using it for you know certain things, having to record motherfuckers and collect evidence, shit like that, and then it turned into this. So you know these folks have already been on a decade of having this shit in their pocket, tracking and tracing them. Now the doorbell's doing it. Now their fucking weather system in the room is doing it. And then the more I keep talking about it, like yeah, censoring Dan him, he's theorizing, and slaves like my father are going to keep buying it, keep enslaving themselves in me, and keep voting for masters or right it all. You know, how long do I have to loop on this before you become the crazy people? Because I've been the crazy guy since day one. How long do I have to speak this and it become more and more true before we switch positions? It's happening now, and you folks become the crazy, gray-skinned, dark circle-eyed Voldemort slaves of some matrix system. Just completely avatared by some kind of spirit. That's like otherworldly. It's not natural.
Party contractors, including one maybe in Ukraine, had unfettered access to customers' Ring feeds and video and images, and they could just view them whenever they wanted. So there's some pretty scary allegations in there about security in the Ring devices, because some people not only use them at their front door, they may use them inside the house as well. So a lot of very serious security concerns here.
You know, can I see you, sir? Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I don't have any bizarre activity. Is there anything that I can help you with, sir? Anything you want to talk about? I can't hear you. You got to mute.
Oh, sorry, no worries. You're always asking people to join, and I've done a little bit of work with Keith over the years, so or Wizard as you call him. But I don't know, so I jump on. I don't know if I can offer anything.
All right, no doubt.
He's a good man, brother. Lion of Judah right there, brothers. He doesn't actually know quite, but he is always willing to step up to every challenge for what's right. God bless you.
Thanks.
Unlike Scott Too Big, who is only willing to step up to the next picnic and or buffet. Yes, you saw where I was going. So they write themselves. You know, old hacky material off the cuff. It's like it's off the top of my head, but it's all old hacky material when you really get right down to it. Scott is morbidly obese. That's just the bottom line. And he has the nerve to come here and call me out and tell me to stand up on camera. I'm sick of him. So unlike him, this man has a certain energy already, and his voice doesn't come across like Scott. Doesn't, you know, just right off the bat, there's an energetic signature, you know, a difference there. So we'll see how that plays out. But good to have you, Dino. You know, look forward to hearing from you, your perspective, and seeing where that goes.
I'll offer what I can.
All right. So you're not going to tell me about any albums you've written, books you've written, any kind of like celebrities you've ever met. You don't want to like start that now?
I got nothing to sell, man.
Okay, well, that's all right. So there you go. I mean, you know, if I said the first time I met Scott, you know, could you tell me about he already went down a list, but he went down a list of everyone he ever met and everything he ever did. So that's a good sign. All right, let me get back to this and finish it off.
And even if Amazon may have settled and says in a statement they're putting things behind them, one wonders if the people who may have been captured on those videos and their information is out there somewhere, whether they can truly put it behind them if they don't even know that they've been recorded and maybe viewed by Amazon employees or maybe even third parties.
So to this point, like, just to be totally honest, somebody here I was talking to has 9 Ring cameras, like in their house, inside, outside, whatever.
Oh yeah.
The story, like we're gonna report on it tonight. It just
Ring
happens.
camera in the bathroom.
At least it means it'll be fixed, right? In other words, they'll figure out the security issues and stop it. Is that happening? Is that going to be the case here? In other words, is this alleged security issue going to be addressed?
Yes, at least that's what Amazon is promising, that they, going forward, will look backwards and delete all of the offending.
We're like totally going to delete all that footage of you shitting and masturbating on
recording of children's voices.
Totally going to delete that.
Delete that information. As to some of the customer video information from Ring, they're going to go back and address those concerns. But those promises are just that, a promise. People whose identities or their facial images may have been compromised really don't have any way of double checking on that. It's just an assurance by Amazon at this point. Although there appears to be an additional promise to notify those who may have had their security breached. Whether or not or what form that will take remains to be seen.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's.
All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. They're not going to delete it, and don't be surprised if there's various OnlyFans started from all that footage they got from your Ring camera. So good job. Don't complain about it. You're going to be famous. Thoughts on that, Donnie Hill and panel? Well, I mean, you see how much these folks are willing to embarrass themselves and their whole family for any kind of attention, numbers, promotion. So, you know, a couple Ring camera videos and photos. What's the big deal? Am I right?
Yeah. What's the big deal there?
My privacy is my privacy. Fuck the road.
Yeah, it also highlights the legal side of it. You know, the brave new corporate freedom with their statement that we don't accept any responsibility. We didn't actually break the law, but we paid these fines. We paid the fines for the law we didn't break, so now we can leave it all behind us. And that's exactly how Google operates. They spend billions of dollars. They have literally hundreds of legal cases against them, either fraud or.
So what you're saying basically is, if you got a big enough bag, you feel empowered and free because you could basically commit any crime and know you can just pay your way out. Hey, what's the bill for like murder? Oh, you know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like maybe not a body like that, you know, but what's the crime for, you know, international money laundering or whatever else? What's the fine I'm gonna have to pay? Oh, $1 billion for you guys to get off my back. Well, I did 10 billion, so that's a business loss. It's a write-off. So yeah, that's the mentality. The more money I have, the more crimes I could do, especially white collar, because I'm just gonna get fined, and I got endless money. So I just pay to commit. Oh, speeding. I want to do 150 on the highway. Most slaves can't do that because they'll take your whole month's check. You know, these guys, they send an attorney down, never appear at court, and write them a check and say, I'm gonna do as fast as I want because I don't give a fuck. And then that's when I say you're still not free and empowered. In the world you are, but spiritually you're not. Because if I took away the things you have, you wouldn't move like that and live like that. I do that. If I'm going to do that and live like that, I do that. I don't speed, quote unquote. I don't see the benefit. But I'm just saying, if I decided that was necessary and proper, I just fucking do that, and I show up with nothing. Right? My offer is this, and or nothing. I'm not giving you a fucking dollar because I'm man in this realm of the people, and you serve me. So that's how that's going to go. But again, folks like Antoine and others think the bigger the bag is, the more they're free and empowered in the world. And they can pretty much do whatever they want and get away with it, and just pay their tab. Well, I don't accept that. There's coin of this realm and there's coin of the other realm. Right? There's price and a final cost, one way or the other. You're not getting out of the simulation dynamic.
Yeah, and a big example of that was Bill Gates stating that he has more power than all of the nations put together purely for the cash he has.
He doesn't have more power than all the people in the nations, and that's the key.
Yeah,
right? The power is in I am that am.
Yeah, more power than all the governments put together.
Right.
It's all about cash.
All right, we get to Watson, and I'll turn it over to you guys. And if it's dead weight, then I'm going to call it.
You're shocked still? You're still shocked about this. Get ready.
Whenever they wanted. So there's some pretty scary allegations in there about security in the Ring devices, because some people not only use them at their front door, they may use them inside the house as well. So a lot of very serious security concerns here.
You know, can I